All right, we have Jim in. What's up,
Oh,
Jim?
Howdy, boys.
How you doing, dude?
oh,
I'm doing well. I'm looking forward to an entertaining evening of dumper pumping.
the dumper pumping.
Yo,
It's time.
when you hear
It's
some of these
time.
stories, bro, you're gonna go, "What?" Like I was losing my mind last night. It's gonna be really fucking good. Jaden said
Oh,
he's
I'm
on
I'm
standby.
excited. I'm
Yeah.
excited for what this is
We're
gonna be
all
like.
excited.
Yo, and Nick is not focused right now on his debate, unfortunately. Oh wait, here we go. We have
Jaden? Is it Jaden
Jaden.
Gang? Jaden Gang!
Hey, guys.
Yo,
shit.
what's up? Hold
Hey,
on,
man.
Jaden,
hold on. How do I? Why is my
those
camera?
aren't
One
cat
second.
ear
Sorry, I'm
headphones,
not a.
are they?
Wait for it. Maybe.
No, you're good. I think it was. Yeah, this thing's a little bit weird, but
Hold on. Sorry.
Oh,
This is very. Okay, there we go. What's up?
there we
Hey,
go.
man.
What's going
how are
on,
you?
Jaden?
My mic sound
Welcome.
all right?
Yes, it does.
oh yeah.
All right,
Welcome,
okay.
everyone. Welcome, Jaden. 07's in chat. For Jaden Gang for life. How you doing,
Yo,
Jaden?
5,000 viewers. If we were on Cozy, you'd be breaking 10.
Well, we'd be at like 20, 30,000
Yeah, literally.
if we were on
literally.
Cozy.
Sick.
They wouldn't ever let us surpass the Catboy Fuhrer, though, Jaden. Let's
Yeah,
get real,
definitely.
dude. They put the hard cap, the glass ceiling on. Oh, fuck, brother. You feeling good tonight?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Feeling
You
great.
ready
know,
to
I
get
got.
sued, Jaden?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I'm taking a real risk to be on here. I'm gonna lose 100K according to Nick. So
Whoa, he's not happy.
yeah, he's not at all.
But he's been taking shots at you non-stop, right? He keeps missing the fact that he's been doing what 6, 7 streams about you after
Yeah,
y'all
so
split up.
two Telegram posts of me resigning. Totally, cordial. I would say not aggressive at all. And here we are, a week later, 7 streams. He's been on 7 streams about me. So there you have it.
Oh,
man.
shit!
You look so free, Jaden. It looks like,
Yeah,
like,
here I am. I just moved into this new apartment, so I don't have really the best setup in the world, but we're getting there. It's good. I'm feeling good. I really am.
Is all the furniture at your new place normal people sized?
Yes,
Like,
yes,
it's not like
I am-
Hobbit furniture. You can sit
Yeah.
down comfortably like a human.
I am normal size, believe it or not. I may have surrounded myself, but that was just like a confidence boost thing.
that's
Surround
right.
myself
You
with
just like we're
small
mogging
people.
these manlets, the Lollipop Guild, Beardson, all this. Jaden, were you the only member that was above 6 foot tall?
I believe so. Well, no, Jake. Before Jake left. Yeah, I think so.
all the
I think so.
What would you estimate the average height of the average Groiper is now that you've left, Jaden? Is it
Are we saying like Groiper, big like Groiper generals or like
Yes,
average?
Groiper Generals, the leadership, the cream of the
yes.
crop.
Yeah, probably like 5'7".
Okay. Yo, how tall is Beardson for real?
I don't know.
Come on.
Probably like I don't know. I don't see the
He's
thing
4'9".
about it is
He's 4'9", right?
He wants to be nice. You got to ask him in a more
yeah.
subtle way.
I'm being nice because Beardson has only attacked me behind the scenes and he's postured himself publicly as an ally. Like, oh, I love Jaden, but I've seen all the messages where he's already the Beardson stream's incoming, so I don't really feel all that bad making fun of.
I have another face check on what Nick is looking like right now, bros.
Are there tears
just
involved?
sent it to- it looks like there's almost tears in his eyes, Jim. Like it's
The
amazing.
salsa's pouring out right now, and the fucking bucket's
He's
full.
like pulling on his cheek, and his eyes are dead, bro. It's like 1,000 Catboy cock stare.
Why? He's about to make 100 grand off.
Are
of
you
it,
able to present this to everybody?
Yeah. Let me present it 1 second. Oh, let me open it over here. I haven't really used this system too much, but
Oh, here
Thanks,
comes
Daddy.
his porn collection. This is gonna be great, guys. Screen cap this.
yeah.
This is
There it is, folks.
like, look at him.
Is
Ah.
he bitching himself? What the fuck is that?
Hello, darkness, my old friends. I've come to talk with you again. Like, that's bad. Like,
That
look
looks
at
like
his left
despair.
eye.
That's
Like
just
that
despair.
is
Jesus.
despair. Oh, Jaden, what have you done? This was your best friend for life, brother.
I mean, he says that, but he hasn't been acting like too great of a friend, if we're being
Well,
honest.
he talked shit for an entire week. I
An
mean,
entire
nonstop,
week for 2
nonstop.
Telegram posts, and I texted him. I said, I'm out, but hopefully we can still be cordial. Thanks for all you've done for me. It goes all the way back. He's not only been talking about me for a week, but he's just been straight up lying, and hopefully we can get into that. That's really the whole point of me coming on here, because I wasn't like planning to come on here initially, but as the week progressed, he's threatening me. He's doxing my biggest donor. He's threatening to dox other people through his little proxy of minions. He's I can't really defend myself on anyone else's stream. People are like, why don't you go on Beardson's? Well, I've seen the screenshots there. He's not really an ally.
Well, you speak your truth here, King.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate
Yes,
that. Yeah,
King.
I'm here to speak my truth. So,
But I did
yeah.
want to ask one question, because the height question really does get to me, and I know he doesn't want to specifically tell us how tall Beardson is, because that'll make him throw himself off a bridge. How much money would you say you spent on Icy Hot to soothe your neck from looking down when you're around them? Like just a general dollar amount.
Well,
Tiger Balm, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I don't know, man. I'm not used to the.
Right.
I need to get out of my. I'm not used to attacking these guys because they've been my friends for so long.
I know. I'm just a little light entry.
I get it.
Let's warm him up.
We have to warm it up.
Sure.
Okay.
Jaden, you seem like a somewhat like chill, relaxed, like almost normal guy, which
I like
is
to think of myself that way.
So how did you end up in the Catboy cult in the first place, Jaden? Like, explain, your relationship to Nick and how you first started off and everything like that, just for people who might not know.
Sure, yeah. So for those of you who don't know, I was involved with like campus politics way back when. I was a chapter president of my Turning Point USA at Kansas State. I within 6 months had the largest chapter in the Midwest. Charlie Kirk was talking to me. I was getting invited to Mar-a-Lago. I had a pretty cozy deal in Con Inc. basically lined up. Within 6 months to a year of just doing campus politics, and at CPAC met Nick. And that's CPAC 2019. Sorry for the timelines all over, but CPAC 2019 met Nick, and from there I started watching his show. I got red pilled, and I was willing to throw away everything because I thought that it is a lot of the stuff, the truth, the right thing, Christian, right wing, like those are things that I am, and I wanted to push these policies and make a difference. And initially I thought Nick was doing that. 2019, I thought he was doing that. I helped with the Groyper War. He even will admit that. He admitted it on the Sweat that I was a pivotal role in that behind the scenes and pushing that and making that a thing. And I was willing to sacrifice everything for America First, for this movement. And I was really there, as you guys know. Like, I was there for everything. I was his right-hand guy. And that's why it's kind of upsetting, not really, but it's just, I guess, laughable. It's really laughable that he claims, he's so giving, he's so generous. He's done everything for me. And it's like, he's helped me, but I've obviously done a lot for this guy as well. And to say,
we'll get into that, but it's honestly, it sounds like, you went all in on this movement. I mean, you have a Wikipedia page now saying you're a white nationalist. You're on the SPLC watch list.
Right.
You've sacrificed a lot for this movement, including a really cushy gig with Charlie Kirk. You'd probably be even more financially well off than you are now if you had went in that direction, but you sacrificed all that for the movement. So where did it start to go wrong, Jaden? Why have you ended up, leaving Nick? What was the main impetus behind you leaving?
Sure. So there's I don't know which you prefer to go into first, but there's obviously two branches to this, and it's like a lot of personal issues and like dealing with him as a character because he's a fucking tool bag, but also just dealing with him in like a professional setting and seeing the kind of shit that he gets up to and that America First is doing. And I kind of got to the point where I just was like, I want nothing to do with this. And it's been months. It's been months.
Is there any separation though between that? Because it seems like
Not really.
it's kind of sloppy. Like the personal
Sure.
and business seems to be
Yeah.
so intertwined.
I mean, look at the last week. Look at the last
Right.
week this guy's been spurging out. And, you know, I have all of his claims listed just because I wanted to hit all of them eventually. But to say, first of all, if anyone thinks that this is about a girl, maybe he's convinced himself that, but that's like retarded. That's like fucking retarded. Everyone's like, why would you throw your life away, Jaden? You were doing so well for yourself with super chats and stuff. Why would you do that for pussy? And it's like, that's not the case at all, you fucking retard. And everyone has been watching me for years. These groypers have been watching me for years. To think that like that's my character, it really just goes to show how deep Nick has brainwashed these young men, and I was one of them, obviously. And
what did Nick mean on Telegram when he said that she texted me first? Is that what this is all about?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think he's trying to insinuate that he's talked to her or something.
Do you think it was like preemptive damage control? He knew you were going to come on here to talk about some stuff that might be embarrassing, so he's trying to offload it and say, "Oh, it's about a chick, guys. Don't pay attention." It's
no,
just
100%. But that's the thing that honestly confuses me is it doesn't really make any sense to me. And I tried to leave amicably. I let him know, you know, well, I don't want to turn this into a big thing. I put my statement out publicly for a multitude of reasons, which, you know, I could get into now or get into later. But I put the statement out just, you know, I'm breaking free. I wasn't going to attack the guy. I was just going to do my own thing, still stream on the side, try to do something professionally, figure out my life. But he had, and if he would have just been like, hey, you know, thanks, whatever, the first statement, that's fine. But that's not how Nick is. He has to always be on top. He's the dominant one. You all submit to me. I'm Stalin. You're my bitch.
Is that your confession? You were the bottom, Jake, in the relationship?
We'll get into that as well. See, I knew that would come up. Believe it or not,
we have to.
The contention here is that I was talking to women. I don't know if you guys have been
like, this is insane.
That's
like,
been
okay,
a thing.
Jake, I just gotta ask, like, what sort of political movement is based around like you can't have pussy, you can't have a girlfriend? Like,
well, not a
was
right
it
wing.
like this when you first joined?
Not a right wing Christian one that wants young men to have families. Well, that's funny because everyone keeps saying Jaden got a girlfriend and this is what happened. And it's like the truth of the matter is I have had a girlfriend or have talked to girls since I got involved in this. I had a college girlfriend for years that was in this thing. I was talking to people throughout. Like, this is not a new thing. So people, I like to keep my personal shit off the internet, believe it or not. And my hands kind of been forced here, sadly. But this isn't like a new phenomenon of me talking to women. It's always been a weird issue with Nick for some reason. And we've gone back and forth on the incel thing.
The only one that believes in that? Because I mean, I know Beardson was married. I know Dalton is in a relationship. Bake seems to date a lot of women. You said you had a college girlfriend. It seems like, you know, all the Groiper generals are out getting their dicks wet, and Nick's the only one they're talking about monkey love. So it seems kind of like a weird disconnect.
Well, it is odd. I don't know if it's. I think it's honestly because I was as close as I was, like in proximity to him, that it was such a big deal. Because I mean, you guys already know that he was living in his building, whatever. I was living in the basement apartment, which I can explain.
You were on the bottom.
No, the whole thing is fucked up because he put out the whole apartment thing yesterday. Now we're off on a tangent, but I feel like I should explain that.
We have a lot of time, dude. We have all night.
We have all night. So, Jaden, do you want to explain how you came to live with Nick?
Yeah, that's a good way. I think that's a good place to start. So basically, I just put out the George Floyd tweet, whatever, stupid. And I was getting a lot of pressure from school. COVID was going on, so I'm not at school. And I was getting kicked out of school. And Nick's like, you know, you aren't really doing anything. You're streaming. Why don't you come out to Chicago? I bought a building. You can live in the basement. It's the basement apartment. It's its own unit. Okay. So we didn't see each other. People were like, oh, you guys are interacting every day. I haven't seen this guy, but a handful of times for like 6 months. So he said, you can live in the basement, you can stream there, not pay rent, and you can produce my show through OBS, whatever, super easy job. And I'll pay you on top of that. So you'll have a salary plus your streaming thing, and you don't have to pay rent. Pretty good gig. I'm like, yeah, sure, of course. While I'm figuring out what I want to do professionally, I'm 20 years old, whatever, that works for me. So leave my family, leave the GF, leave all the things I had going on in Kansas, whatever, and drive out to Chicago.
Was this your first time away from home? Like, was this your first time out on your own, doing your own thing?
I mean, I was in college. I was in like dorms and stuff, but
you were close to. Were you?
Yeah,
close to
I was within a few hours. Yeah, a couple of hours.
So he separates you out in a new city, puts you in the basement, tells you he's gonna take care of you.
Correct.
It sounds a bit like
financially.
This is
It's
scary.
a grooming.
With a job, nothing sus.
So what happened? Did he ever pay you, Jade?
Yeah. So that's the thing is, with all of that, I every single month it was a thing because I was like, yo, when are you gonna move in to your new apartment so we can build the studio? You're doing your show there, and then I can produce it because he was still doing the show from his mom's house. And he's like, next month for 10 months, all the way up until October of the next year, because I moved in November of 2020. October 2021 is when he finally moves in. I believe, around that time. And give it or take a month. And that's when he told me basically that actually it was a month afterwards that, actually I don't need you to produce the show for me. I'm just going to do the green screen again, whatever. And initially when he pitched it, he was like talking about doing a co-host thing. He was talking about doing the Tim Pool thing. And that's whatever. It is what it is. Like, I'm not that salty that, the job didn't happen. But when he's sitting there like, he lived rent-free in my building. And
Jaden, it sounds like he tricked you into being a house sitter until he could move to his fucking new place.
I mean, honestly.
Pretty much. He just
You're like on-site security. You're on-site Catboy security.
Just to be clear, Jaden, he never paid you for anything that you did there.
He gave me $1,000 to film the 17-day road trip.
The White Boy Summer
So
trip,
17 days on the road.
Correct.
$1,000.
Correct.
Less than $100 a day.
What the fuck?
Did he cover the hotels? Because this.
He covered the hotels.
Okay.
Did he cover the meals?
No, not the meals.
Whoa.
So, like,
just
the reality
the hotels
is he got a meal stipend
and the gas
for 7,
and that's all you were paid.
Days.
That's all you were paid.
That's all I was paid the whole time ever. Yeah.
What?
Isn't he a millionaire, Jaden?
Yes.
Oh.
And he can only pay his supposed best friend.
Well, I mean, you'll hear
his
this
right-hand man in the movement
$1,000. You'll hear this
over
later.
all those years.
You'll hear it later. It's. I'm not like that. I wasn't really that worried. I wasn't necessarily doing it for the money. Because I had the streaming thing going on, and that was what I was making my living off of. So this was just like helping the movement. I saw myself as being a part of the movement, so I didn't really care that much about if I was making money doing that stuff.
But I want to ask you, you were the treasurer of America First, right?
Correct.
So what did that entail, and were you not paid for that?
Well, so initially when he pitched that to me, it was before I moved to Chicago, and he's like, I just need 2 basically docs people, because it's all public records. Of people that can be on the board. Essentially, you're not going to have to do anything. So me and Michelle were on the board, Michelle Malkin, and he told me, you don't have to do anything, whatever. When I moved out there, because I wasn't doing anything with the show, it was always constantly like, you're living here for free, you're not helping with anything. And I was always like willing to help. I tried to book his college tour, and he was very like, yes, you do it. No, you don't do it, off and on there. I was trying to help with a few other projects. He never once told me, I want you to do this. And like, I didn't do it. That was never the case. But with the treasurer position, it was him and his assistant that dealt with all the money. And it was basically like, I was just.
So they gave you papers to sign.
They did. There wasn't too many. Like, I will say that I was like, I know I sound like a retard.
Patsy?
I'm not a
patsy. You sound a little bit like a patsy.
Yeah.
Here's his paper, sign it.
I was obviously reading through stuff.
Did you read like any of it, or you?
Yeah, no, I did. I did read through it. It wasn't like anything super sketch or anything that I saw. It was basically just I was signing off for the registrations to raise money in certain states. It wasn't anything like crazy. So
Not a big deal. Do you know if Michelle
Yeah.
Malkin was she heavily involved, or was this really just
No,
we just
it-
need two people and that's it, and
Yeah,
me and the
it's-
assistant are gonna handle it?
Yeah, it was basically just Nick handling everything, him and his assistant. I was basically hands off. And that's really why I came out with the resignation to begin with, is because I didn't have anything to do with it. I saw some, so I heard some things way later that I had no idea was going on inside the organization that like dropped in a couple of hit pieces. I didn't even know about that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I want nothing to do with this. Obviously Nick's like insane. And he has all my information. And I just wanted to step away. I just wanted to put it out there publicly. Like, I have nothing to do with this because I don't know what the fuck's going on behind the scenes there. Nick didn't tell me a lot of things that were going on behind the scenes while using my name. He obviously has like all my information, like all of my information.
And one of your concerns about this is that you're being threatened with your social security number being released.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, I was hinting at that. Yeah, it's so. He has my social security number and other stuff like that, and I don't know what he gets up to with the finances of this foundation, but I wanted to basically.
Are you concerned at all, Jaden, with the legality of any of this? Like, are you concerned it might come back on you?
I mean, not super concerned, but also I know how Nick operates. I don't know how much I want to get into it because he is like threatening lawsuits.
Can you give us an idea of how he operates?
Stuff,
when you say you know how he, when you say I know how he operates, so that does make me a little concerned. Can you give like a general idea of like what?
Yeah,
you mean?
I mean that's kind of the whole reason I'm leaving. I'm all over the place with the timeline. I had it laid out.
That's fine.
You good, bro.
Yeah, I was. I mean, one of the reasons I left is because so he claims that it's not a cult. Well, actually, he claims it is a cult. But everyone that says it's a cult, he kind of laughs at. You cringe. But I don't know if you guys have noticed, anyone that has any sort of clout, high-profile character within this organization, you can't really leave. You're kind of stuck in it. And Jake Lloyd obviously walked away, said nothing. He's ruined. There's myself. I put out one statement, 2 Telegram posts, by the way, 7 streams about me, and like all these personal things that aren't even true. And then in the one case that this is what really woke me up, and we're going to hear from one of them later.
Yes.
There's an employee named Simon who Nick has known since 2017, like back to Charlottesville, basically. Like, and he's worked for Nick. He's done his merch designs. He's done his video stuff. He's done all kinds of stuff for this guy on basically no salary. And it's like a full-time job. And he saw what was going on behind the scenes as well. And I kind of want to get into that eventually.
Let's go into go into the Simon stuff because I think this was really compelling. So you said this guy worked for 8 months for Nick. Nick paid him minimum wage to do all of
this. That's what Simon said. He'll confirm that, but that's what he's told me. Yeah.
And then for 4 months, Simon didn't get paid at all.
That's what he told me.
His story. And now when he asked Nick for the money, Nick said he was going to go after him legally, right?
Well, it wasn't so much asking for the money. It was the fact that Nick talks about on the sweat. He says in November there's a falling out. So he keeps talking about girl. I didn't start talking to or dating any girl, going on dates for 2 months after November. So just here's the timeline. In November, there was the New York rally. Total disaster behind the scenes. Total shit show. We were there for 9 days, supposed to be doing all this content. Nick's throwing a bitch fit, as he usually does. And all the interns are fed up with him. I'm fed up with him. Everybody behind the scenes was sick of this guy. And it just like, and we can get into details if you'd like. But long story short, after November, after that rally, me personally was like, fuck this guy, basically, on a personal level.
Tell us about what he wanted to wear to the rally, just quick. What did he want to wear to that rally?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. You mentioned it before. He wanted to do like the Donda face covering thing, where he wears like a black mask, and I'm like, yeah, probably not the best idea if we're trying to appeal to like 6-year-old Trump supporters wearing a black mask and black Doc Martin. I don't know, but not important. Not important.
It is to me.
It is to me
What-
too. Yeah.
What is important about
Can
the
you
New
imagine,
York
like,
thing?
you want to like meet up with all these old grannies and you dress up as Donda, like
Yeah, you're gonna go out there. Go ahead.
No, but the fact that you have to give him that reality check, like, the
Yeah,
fact
I mean,
that you're
you
not
have to
there
tell
anymore.
him constantly, like, I don't know, dude. You know, you have the cult following thing going on. I mean, the numbers are fake and botted, but you have like 1,000, 2,000 core following there.
Wait, hang on. I want to ask you. Okay, so I hinted.
We are all over the place.
No, I know. I hinted at this on Twitter though. So on the back end of Cozy, tell everyone what Nick has access to.
I'm.
It was the
are you
multiplier.
No, yeah. So yeah, the views for Nick show's fake. Like everyone knows that. Not surprising. The movement's been dying for a while, and I've been, everyone's gonna say, "Oh, Jaden jumped ship." This is like the worst time for me to jump ship on anything, and I've been with this guy through like January 6th. Him getting subpoenaed by the feds, everybody leaving him. I've been there. I've stuck around, and
You were his skater.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I guess.
Yeah, you're his
I'm not a
tar
Ralph.
wrangler,
I'm not a
basically.
Ralph head, but
Andy.
I mean, sure.
We're going to let Jaden get back onto the Simon track there, but I just want to pull up on screen. I just sent it to you. This is the Donda mask.
Okay.
This is what he wanted to wear
Okay.
to the Vax rally. This is fucking insane. It's worse than I thought. It's like a gimp mask, man.
What the
It's
fuck?
like some shit like a sex slave would wear, bro.
Here, let me share it for everyone in this call.
Jaden, did he have like a lot of ideas like this? Was he like,
Yeah,
I
I mean-
want to wear costumes? and-
Yes, it was like I told them yesterday. He had an idea. He really does think he's Kanye West. It's one day he's Stalin, the next day he's Kanye. He was telling me that
why
he was
would
going to get TR Sarter to design him shoes, and he was going to sell America First shoes.
Why would he
And
wear this?
like he's Kanye. And
So I'm an old boomer. Okay,
Sure,
so
sure.
is this guy robbing a gas station? What the fuck am I looking at?
it's the Kanye
So
aesthetic.
You go out to meet grandmas and little kids, and
Correct.
hey everybody, give me your fucking wallet. America
Yes.
first.
Yeah. Instead of wearing that, he just wore the the cucks like surgeon mask, the blue mask,
And
all around
remember,
the city.
he wore
this-
he wore the lifts, Jaden. He had the lift boots.
I mean, he wears the Doc Martens. He tries to get the big ones.
Wait,
yeah,
I want to say it's a bit off topic on the Sam thing, but I want to bring this up real quick. So when you lived with him, right? He was hype about showing you a certain television show.
we are all over.
can you-
like,
can you-
We're gonna be
please-
here for hours.
can
Let
you
me,
tell-
We
No,
will. We will be
let
for here
me
for
get to
hours.
the like actual meat and potatoes. 'cause this
Wait,
stuff is,
wait,
like-
No,
please,
this is the
please.
meat and
This
potatoes.
is,
But this
this is,
stuff's
dude.
funny.
Please
but it's
tell
like
us,
there's
bro.
things in here that are
Tell
like
us about
damning.
Please
I
tell
know,
us about
but-
the TV
Yeah,
show.
Okay, and then we're gonna
And then,
talk
yeah, I
about
promise. I
him
promise.
like
Simon,
threatening to
okay.
dox people and
Yeah.
go to the feds with information.
Yeah, 'cause that- I wanna hear that
actual
stuff.
damning
Yeah, yeah.
stuff.
But
Yeah.
hear this. Go. What?
Yeah, Nick. He binge watched Euphoria and he tried to get me to watch it. And I'm like, dude, like with the first episode, there's like a fucking dick right there. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm out. And he's like, dude, it's a good show. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Went back downstairs, didn't watch it. And he's like,
So he called
dude,
you
I've
upstairs
been
to the
watched
litter
the
box to
whole
watch Euphoria.
series.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said he called you upstairs to the litter box to watch Euphoria with him.
Yeah,
as a
I mean,
big
he
cock on
tried.
screen.
He tried, but unlike Trey Politics or UX Groiper, I never really participated. I never participated.
No means
in
no.
that. Yeah, exactly. I was like,
Is it?
it was like the Turning Point groomer thing. I was like, why is this black? No, I'm just playing. But I never picked up on any of like that stuff.
Is it
but-
I know.
Euphoria about like trannies, like black?
Yeah, it's a
trannies?
trans show.
Like, yeah, and they show like the feminine penis and everything. This was Nick's favorite.
I mean,
show that
I've
he-
never watched it, but
I've never
that's-
even heard of it.
He binged
Yeah.
it. It was like an HBO or Showtime or whatever the fuck it was. It's a tranny show. That's his favorite show.
I mean, he was a big fan of that. He would watch like there's another one called, they talked about like the sex life of college girls or something. I don't know. You guys can look it up. But
That sounds
regardless,
unlike
this
him.
isn't the point of this. I'm here because
No,
like
well,
this
let's
stuff
bring it.
is
Let's bring
funny.
it back to
Sure,
the interesting
the
stuff.
things that
Yeah.
actually matter.
So
Um,
can I just sum it up?
sure.
So
Sure.
you move out there, you're
Yep.
working at the place, you're
Sure.
underpaid. He has you sign up as the treasury or whatever. You give your personal information. It seems like other employees are kind of going through a similar thing where they're not getting paid a lot, or information Nick kind of has access to. So
I mean,
is there a feeling that when you're working with him, like if you step out of line or if somebody walks away in a non-bowing manner, that he's going to just unload and shit's going to get leaked on you?
Yeah, and that's what I'm getting to, because he
Sure.
actually so Simon, he's like a year older than me, wife, 2 kids, like just born children. He wanted to walk away essentially because Nick's he's a faggot, you know. You're dealing with him behind the scenes, and you think he's awful to the public eye. He sucks behind, like he's even worse behind closed doors or whatever. So he sucks. He wants to step away. Half the interns, the heads of the political intern team, like everyone that basically did everything politically for this guy in the year 2021, maintained the GOSAR thing, was helping with, made AFAC 2 what it was. Everyone wanted out. Assistant Groiper, myself, and I didn't talk, like me and Assistant Groiper, me and the interns, me and Simon, none of us really were that close. We had a working relationship. We'd see each other at like events and stuff, but Nick would do the whole thing where like, you know, Simon said that I should fire you, Jaden, and you know, you're on the outs. And then he'd pull the same thing with Simon and say, you know, Jaden says that you're a loser. So we never really got along.
Was this fracturing by design, do you think? Was it was this like organization designed in such a way where Nick kept everybody so separate that you couldn't commiserate with fellow employees, right, or interns to understand, I mean, like, oh, I'm not the only one going through it?
Yeah, definitely to a certain degree, because obviously if you talk about him, there's always the fear of, oh, if I talk to Simon, he might run to Nick, and then my head's on the chopping block. So definitely to a certain degree, but my point is, I didn't even really talk to these people outside of the events and stuff. And I went down to Florida with a fellow friend, or with a fellow Groiper friend, whatever. Like a month after New York, I hadn't been talking to Nick. I hadn't talked to him in like a month because I was fucking fed up with him. He had just gone to Texas to do the Elijah Schaefer thing. I went down to Florida for a week with another buddy. And when we were down there, we met up with Simon. And he told me about the interns quitting and himself and how he was like fucking done with Nick basically. And I was like, I had no idea that was going on. And we felt the same way. And when I got back from that trip, Nick was going off because he had called Simon when I was down there. And like, Simon's like, hey, you know, I've decided I want to quit. And he's like, no, you're fired. Fuck you. And I'm going to ruin your life basically if you like do anything, say anything. And Simon had told other interns, you know, like, this guy's fucking nuts. Like, you should get out of this. And that's really the reason I came on this show to begin with. That and the fact that he was doxing people close to me. Because this guy, it's not just like a haha funny, he watches a gay show. It's like, this guy is a sick, like, person who sees no problem in like destroying young.
How long did it take you? How long did it take you to kind of come to that conclusion? I mean, I know you had a relationship and you worked together, and things probably didn't turn sour right away. But like, how long into the relationship did it start to become? I mean, just, you know, friendship. Did it start to become, you know, apparent? Like, you know, shit, maybe this guy's not on the level like I think he is.
Yeah. So I called Jake Lloyd about just things that I was like questioning about it back in April of last year. But when I officially was like, I'm done with this, was December, when I got back and talked to Nick for the first time in a month, and he was going off and he was like, I'm reporting Simon, or I'm going to sue Simon. I don't even know if I can win, but I'm going to sue him just because he's poor, and I'm going to like rape him in legal fees. And this guy, like, he'll tell you he is not well off financially. Nick didn't pay him anything. He has a wife and 2 kids. Like, he's in a not like the best scenario. And then when he also was, when Assistant Groiper left, he's like, I'm reporting this guy to the fucking feds. And it's like, this is when I was like, okay,
Wait,
So
did
he's
he
gonna-
did he
Said
did he
that?
did he literally say we're to the
He
feds?
100%. Yes, he wants. Yeah, and
What a
that's
piece
what
of
it,
shit.
that's what I'm saying. It's like this guy doesn't
and
give a
Jaden-
fuck about anyone, and everyone's expendable. I mean, I'm his best friend in the whole wide world, and I tried to do this all behind closed doors. I tried to, and he pretends publicly. It's an olive branch. I'm offering you an olive branch. You know why you rescinded the olive branch? Because I left the side door unlocked for 2 hours while I went to pick something up from the
Wait.
store. And while I was moving all my shit out, I left the side door open for 2 hours. I have the text. He's like, "You left my back door open? Fuck you." I can read it to you if you
Yeah,
really want
yeah,
to.
please
He's
do.
like,
Read it to us.
"You're
Yeah.
blocked." Yeah, okay. Well, let me pull it up.
Yeah, he also claimed that you trashed the place when you left.
Yeah,
We'll
which
get
by the
into
way, I
that
took a
too.
video because my lawyer said to do that. I took a video. I can send it to you if you want.
Okay.
Nothing was trashed.
I don't want to blow up Simon's spot, but I think it's important to know Nick threatening him with that legal action.
Sure, yeah, bring
I
him
believe
in.
you said Simon's daughter has cancer.
I believe it's his son. Bring
His
son.
son.
He has the link. He's if you want, he's willing to
But
come.
Yeah,
on.
just
tell him to hop in.
Yeah, give him the
Cool.
link because like the shit with Simon just blew me away because Nick's mother has cancer. And he's very glib with jokes about cancer with Metokur and this and that. And then he's going to try and sue and bury a loyal member of his organization.
Well, wait, Ashton, it's way different. I'm like, I'm fine getting shit about it, but like, if you've got a kid, right, that's sick or got something like that, and you're going to use lawfare to try to fuck with somebody, that's really sick shit.
It's fucking distasteful. Like, it's disgusting.
It's dark.
It's disgusting.
It's
disgusting.
fucked. All right.
Here
we go.
Yeah, I didn't know about any of this. This is all
But
new shit to me.
but we're a moral fagging, right?
Yeah.
The Catholic leader. Hey, Simon.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Yo, what's up, bro?
Hey, it's good to be here.
Excellent. Can you lower your mic just a smidge, bro?
Absolutely. Give me just one moment.
Thank you so much. I don't know how this Hangouts thing works too well. This story gets dark. The Euphoria thing was pretty funny, but like this is getting fucked. All right, hang on.
All right.
Hey, is this better as far as
Much better.
quality?
Excellent,
Okay,
excellent.
great.
Okay, well, go ahead and tell us the story, Simon, of you working for Nick and what happened, brother.
Hey, well, thank you guys for having me on and let me tell this story. Like Jaden said, I was threatened back in December. So I've kind of kept quiet about this for a long time. And a lot of people close to me have encouraged me to keep quiet about it because it's fucked. You know, I don't have a lot of money. As Jaden kind of alluded to earlier, I was being paid minimum wage or by some adjustments less than that if you consider the amount of hours that are being worked throughout the year. And if you take the 4 months that I was denied payment because, Nick got his money stolen by the feds, which we'll get into later. So I've known Nick for 5 years here, and I can pull up these pictures on my cam. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
So these are some photographs of me and Nick together. It's kind of a little slideshow. I met him in 2017. I actually met my wife through his Discord server. Kind of ironic with the way he discourages, getting married and like talking to women or whatever. That's me crouching down so I could be at the same height as him. He asked me to because he's like, "You're 6'4", you're gonna make me look small," So there's the picture of the the reception of the wedding. You can see this is him giving the best man speech. You know what I mean? So we were very close.
This is
for a
your
long time.
wedding?
Yes, yeah. This is.
He was the best man at your wedding.
Oh.
Yes, this is him giving the speech. You can see the. So that's. Just wanted to make sure that was included so nobody thinks I'm bullshitting here.
Yeah.
Me and this guy were incredibly close for a long time. You know what I mean? And I did care about him a lot. And I think in the beginning, he had a good heart. I just want to get that out of the way. In the beginning, what he was doing was, in my opinion, noble back in 2017, 2018. Things started to deteriorate along the way. But I, started to work for this guy and go as hard as I possibly could, spending less and less time with my wife and my kids, unfortunately, and spending less time with my family. So I could just pour as much energy, as much time, and sometimes my own money, however little of it I had, into trying to build up a political organization around this guy, Jaden, mentioned that, as the treasurer, he was kind of like a little bit separate from what was going on with the internship. But I was one of the core members who set up the entire internship program and kind of built the political and the, whole, like for instance, AFPAC 2 and the events, I was the guy behind the camera at Stop the Steal. If you watch Nick's lobby show every night, that's me, you know, behind the camera on each of those clips. You know, I dedicated everything that I possibly could to this guy. And in December, you know, after he acted like a total fucking faggot in New York City, when we were supposed to be like, you know, confronting leftists and getting like epic footage of owning the left, he's putting on a little mask, and, you know, I flick off a leftist guy when we're out in Times Square, and he's like, Simon, you're going to get me killed. You know, what the fuck is wrong with you? And he's like crying to the other people who were there, you know, just a kind of a little taste. We'll get into New York later, what was going on there. Like Jaden mentioned, I was like, look, this is hurting my family. This is bad for me. I need to do something else. I need to like actually make some money and, you know, support myself here. And I can't do it with this fucking, you know, psychopath as my boss. And so I and a number of other people, very important, like Jaden said, people decided to step down and walk away in December. I think it was December 9th or December 10th. And I told Nick on the phone, like, hey, man, we've been friends for a long time, so I'm going to tell you straight up, what you're doing here is fucked. Fuck you. I'm open to like having a discussion sometime and working through this and helping you hopefully become a better person. But, you know, if you do this, you're going to push everyone away from you. And, you know, in 5 months, we're starting to see that take place. But after that phone call, as Jaden mentioned, this is, I'm sure, what we're really going to get into. Nick is talking to all these people in the internship, and he's saying, and he's talking to Jaden, he's talking to others, saying, I'm going to sue the shit out of Simon. I'm going to make sure he doesn't have any fucking money. I'm going to make sure that he has like $100,000 worth of debt over his head, you know, that kind of thing. Just to summarize, saying it to multiple people. And I get, you know, I talk to my people, you know, advisors, whatever, try and talk to some people who know the law. And they kind of said, look, you know, this guy, he's a millionaire. He has more money than you. It doesn't matter if you were in the right or in the wrong. You have to just do what he says. And I want to bring up, because this is a very important part of the story, Nick demanded my NDA, or non-disclosure agreement.
Who's this?
And
Sorry.
just to kind of illuminate that, when we set up the internship, under the guise that this was going to be a serious political organization like a Turning Point USA or like, you know, CPAC, that type of thing, you know, we created these non-disclosure agreements or work for hire forms as well, because we were under the assumption, okay, all the people we bring in are going to be paid employees of a real political company. So it makes sense to go through the legal rigmarole that you would expect when talking about a political organization. But towards the end of the year, what we find out is Nick was holding these NDAs as basically blackmail over people's heads. Like, hey, you know, you talk about me, and this is what was said. If you keep telling people to leave this internship program and to leave the movement and causing all this damage, I'm going to sue you for breaking your NDA, for defamation and all of that. And Nick and some of these faggots close to him, and as Jaden has alluded to, and we can get into those people later,
actual faggots, by the way. It's
like the Sussy Squad?
Like real
yes,
faggots.
The Sussy Squad, yeah.
We're going to get into the Sussy Squad, folks.
Oh, we're going to get into the Sussy Squad.
There's a Sussy Squad, a real one?
Well, that's what Nick calls his new streaming group. But, I mean, there's also, like, a high-up intern that's, like, an actual fag. But, yeah.
Yeah, he literally sucks talk, and there's the 4'7" Asian homosexual. But we'll get into all of this.
Yeah, we'll get into all of that.
I'm actually, can I ask you one question? I'm really curious about this. It sounds similar to what Jaden's saying, and I'm guessing probably an experience everybody else had. It seems to me like Nick wanted everybody to share the risk, but not the reward. So put in the work, do the hours, you know, burn your reputations down, get articles written about you, maybe screw up your work future, your college. But maybe I'll pay you a bit, you know, basic minimum wage. And if you have a problem with that, well, you're not dedicated enough to it. Is that kind of accurate? Would you say?
That's exactly right.
He would always say, you know, we're all a part of this, man. We're all a part of this. So I'm making all this money right now, but in the future, you guys will also do well. Eventually, if I don't cast you out like I do everyone else,
it's the old
talk about casting.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it was like
exactly.
What he said. I remember, like, oh, you know, getting in on this, you know, after January 6th, it's like, oh, this is like our AF coin is at like its little dip right now. Getting in, buying in right now is like buying it at Bitcoin at like $100. You know, it went just you wait a year, and this is going to explode and go up and up and up and up. And it's like, okay, the only thing that we've been seeing going up is the number of people getting doxxed and having their lives ruined by this fucking maniac. So, you know, yeah, you're exactly right, Jim. It was definitely, I don't think it was intended to be a scheme. At least, you know, myself and the other people who worked on the internship program, we did not intend for this to be basically a honeypot, which is what I believe it is now. But Nick, being the leader of this whole group and this organization, that's what he decided for it to become. And so we were talking about the Sussy Squad, some of these people like Black Swan hiding, these fucking deranged sexual degenerates are taking, people's doxes, and they're like just, in group chats saying their full name here. Oh, I'm hinting that I'm going to dox them there. Like, oh, and if you, and they allude to this to any of those people who are leaving, hey, if you say anything about Nick, not only can we sue you, at the time, I had already been doxxed. My name's already been out there. That's how I'm able to appear on this stream. These people who were in college, a lot of these guys were 19, 20, 21. Some of these guys were working for political campaigns. Some of them were working, in pretty important jobs. So some of them were in Fortune 500 companies, if you can believe that. And they're saying, hey, if you do what Simon did, if you leave with him, and they're alluding to, those NDAs, maybe we're going to have to look at those. Maybe we're going to have to, put your name here, put your name there. And I'll just say this, there's people who've been doxxed since the leaving in December. And we know with certainty who was behind that. It's not a coincidence.
Well, what about Ultros, right? He was one that was doxxed, right?
Yeah, that's my top donator. Nick's mentioned him. He mentioned him like 3 times on the sweat, and he did a whole tweet thing about him. He's like Ultros 666, which isn't even real. Trying to like attack this guy, and then he knows this dude because this guy was kind enough to give me and Nick baseball tickets, and he knows this guy's name. And then Ultros is just minding his own business. He supports me. He doesn't support Nick. That pisses Nick off. He wants to cut off my money, basically. So he tries to scare him off by sending all of his little goons. Max Keeble, who's Max Keeble-Groiper, who's a head intern, is following him around in the chats, dropping his docs. And,
so this, just to be clear on this Sussy Squad, these kind of people you're talking about, are these people that are working for the organization? Are they friends of Nick? And do they have access to the information? Like when you guys sign employment contracts or work for hire, NDAs, is he like, hey, take a look at this and go fuck with them a little bit?
Yep, that's exactly right.
What the fuck?
Does anybody have the artwork of the Sussy Squad on hand?
I can pull that up, actually.
Can you pull that up of the artwork that Nick had commissioned of his Sussy Squad?
Oh, and can I ask, is there a gentleman by the name of Big Tech in the Sussy Squad?
No.
He's a dangerous motherfucker, so I just wanted to check.
He's trying out for the Sussy Squad, but he hasn't made it yet, Jim. Maybe a few more bro jobs and Big Tech will be there, but...
It's just ironic because, Nick, his whole thing since the beginning has been, don't join groups. This is a Fed honeypot. And, that's been his whole MO. And then he's at the same time threatening all these underage people, young men that are willing to put their lives on the line, their identity on the line for him. But if they do anything he doesn't like.
What is this artwork I'm looking at now?
So this is the profile picture of Black Swan. He uses the Katamari Damacy character. And then the other profile picture is from Nick's new right-hand man, Hiding. I'm not going to say their names because I don't want to engage in the boxing stuff,
of
obviously.
course.
But,
yeah.
Those are their online handles. And Hiding uses that like the bear character, from 4chan is his profile picture historically. So it's an image of them making out in front of the gay flag. And I don't know if it's reversed on the stream or if that's just on my camera here, but it says, I hope whatever leaker doesn't spread this around. That would be so embarrassing if this was public. And you can see that's from Black Swan. He sent that to a number of different people.
Isn't there an artwork of the members of the Sussy Squad on their knees before Nick?
I'm sorry to interrupt.
On their knees.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I think the link may have been shared.
Well, they can't get in unless you allow them. So
yeah, but it's going ping pong. So just to let people know, I apologize. If it gets out of hand, I'll make a new hangout. Okay? And then
I'm not hearing it. Do you guys hear any ping pongs?
I don't hear it.
The chat
don't
here.
hear
The
it.
chat
The
will
chat
hear it.
hears
The
it.
chat will hear it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll make a new meet, and if it's out of hand, I'll just send you all a new a link. All right.
All right.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry for interrupting.
Oh, yeah, one last question. With the Sussy Squad, how long has Nick been using them? Has that been something the whole time, or is it new?
Recent.
Yeah,
because...
so go ahead.
Jaden. No, you go ahead.
Okay. All right. So basically, I said this on my stream initially when this stuff was kind of breaking out, but it wasn't like all public. But I said at one point you actually had to do something to be like a face fag in this movement. Like you had to be a streamer in the movement. Patrick was the AIM guy. Jake Lloyd was the InfoWars guy that got Nick involved. I interned for Elijah Schaefer and got Nick on his show. And I was a Turning Point guy. But now it's basically like if you suck off Nick hard enough and you're a Groiper, you're a Minecraft YouTuber in a duck suit or VTuber in a duck costume or a Fortnite player that doesn't show your like none of that matters. He's gonna just AstroTurf prop you up as one of his new streamer guys in the movement. And I think it kind of goes to show just how far we've fallen. We went from like Patrick and Jake and other like respectable people, Scott Greer, to like Veda and UX Groiper and people that no one even knows who these people are. Like, it's obviously this thing is a joke. It's not a political movement. And that's why everyone, like, that's another reason I wanted to come on here, because everyone wants to be like, well, Jaden only streams games and Nick is saving the white race. And it's like, I get it. You don't have to like my content. That's fine. But to be like so disillusioned, to believe, drink the Kool-Aid that this guy's doing anything at all other than making content on the internet, like,
it sounds like he used a lot of your guys' connections or the stuff that you did kind of coming into it to get a boost for himself. And then 100%. Once that usefulness was used up, just kind of tossed you to the side because he figured, fuck it, I'm not going to pay you. And what are you going to do about it?
100%. He did that to Jake with the InfoWars thing. He did that to me with the Elijah Schaefer thing. And in fact, he actually said that to me himself, because with there was a whole drama. I'm not going to get into it with a TikToker, but he was like, in a way, we're replacing me with this guy. And I was asking him, like, what's going on? And he's like, well, he's young and handsome and not for nothing, but what have you done for me lately? And I was
Isn't this Trey? Isn't this Trey?
That was Trey. And I
Trey,
was like,
the pedophile, by the way.
Yeah. Confirmed.
Who's
confirmed.
Openly like about underage girls and shit like this. Nick said he wanted to replace Jaden with him because he's handsome
and tall,
young and tall. But very sussy there from the sussy squad.
Sure, and that was always lingering though. And that's really the crux of it. Is it's like you, like, without him, you're nothing. That's what his whole thing is. You want to be like Patrick Casey, you want to be a loser like Jake Lloyd. If you don't do, if you're not 100% loyal, if you speak out, if you tell me I'm in the wrong here, I can get rid of you at any moment. And he would always threaten that. I mentioned that to him before. And then we'd be cool. I'd be like, so what was up with the whole, because he would talk about, hey, we're in this together. I'm like, well, a month ago you said, what have I done for you lately? And you don't need me. And he would be like, oh, that was just a loyalty test. No big deal, whatever. And he's done that.
Yeah, tell them about the shit test.
Shit test, basically.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what that was. And there were multiple occurrences of that, I have messages throughout my phone. I don't know. I can find them, but it's like basically it messages along those lines of, you're mad at me. Well, that doesn't really matter, but me mad at you, that's a big fucking problem for you, buddy. And just random stuff. And throughout the whole thing, he'd tell me, he'd be like, hey, I have an idea on how I can get Steve Franson out of this thing. It's like, well, why do you want to do that? Well, he's not a Stalinist like me. Okay.
Because Franson wasn't a Stalinist. Franson wasn't a communist, so he's on the out.
Yeah, and he's a boomer and he doesn't really get it. And Beardson's a loser and he doesn't, he's a bad look. Maybe I should get rid of him, but he is loyal, but he's a bad look.
So the internal view on Beardson then from everybody is that he's a loser, right? And
I mean, now I was trying to be nice to the guy, but now he's saying he's going to shit talk me. Dude, I already have the screenshots of you shit talking me from days ago. You can pretend to take the high road, but we all know.
Does Nick like anybody? Because it sounds like he shit tests everybody and talks shit about everybody
until they're no longer useful. Just like the John Doyle thing that you guys covered before. John Doyle, please, I love you. Behind the scenes, fuck John Doyle. John Doyle sucks. So that's usually how it goes. He's the guy. He's the guy. Anyone in his way, he'll crush.
And you experienced this too, Simon, with the shit test? Did you ever do that too?
Yeah. Oh yeah, like I remember vividly when we were in New York, at the Springfield event, which we'll get into later. I was there with Beardson, and I loved. I'll say this: I loved Beardson. Me and Beardson went back to 2017, and he was somebody at the time who was exposing the alt right for the fucked up shit they were doing. Kind of similar to what the casino does.
Yeah, do you notice how it was okay when they did it, but it's
Right.
not okay when we do it? Isn't that
Right, and I had a
funny?
lot of respect for them because a lot of his arguments kind of convinced me to move away from the alt right, and we'll go into that later. But the point of the story is in Springfield, I was with Beardson the whole time. I spent a lot of time hanging out with this guy. I thought this guy's like a good friend, a true friend, and I thought he was, he's telling me behind the scenes, like in private, like, oh, I love Nick. I would do anything for Nick. Nick's been really good to me. I love Jaden. He's my great friend, and blah blah blah. At New York, Nick is, at a dinner table with me and Jaden, and he's talking about Beardson, and he's saying, he's like, oh yeah, and Beardson and his wife, and he's talking about how like Beardson is probably cheating on his wife or something like that. He's kind of like making jabs like that. Beardson is infidelious, and I'm like saying like, Nick, that's not true. That's not true. And I was talking to some of my friends afterwards, and I'm like, this is not this is not right. You know what I mean? Like whatever you want to say about Beardson now, and he also said a bunch of nasty things about me after I left without ever messaging me or talking to me about it. So it is what it is. But you don't treat your friends and associates like that. And he would do the same thing to me. I was tasked to work on a documentary that was being made about Nick over the last year, and I was editing some of these scenes together, and if you remember during Stop the Steal, he had a documentary and following him around.
Simon, I hate to cut you off, but you were in the Louis Theroux documentary, right?
Yes.
Saying that Nick was the greatest.
Yes,
you were
yes,
that
yes.
guy, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife was in there too. She was the one who said she doesn't want to talk to journalists.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, and so anyways, with that documentary, that was not the Louis Theroux one. It was a different one that was internal that was being made. I was reviewing the footage with an intern who was working on the doc with me. And there was a scene where Nick is about to meet up with me because, I'm going to be helping him do security for the event and hold the flag and make sure nobody attacks Nick because I'm, so big and tall or whatever Nick was saying at the time. And he's rolling up to the event, and in front of this camera, which I guess he's forgetting is rolling or whatever, it's like, oh yeah, Simon is a big fucking oaf, look at this guy, like he can see me from like across the street, and he's like, oh yeah, look at this retard over there, like, oh, what are you doing drinking a water, like you're supposed to be getting ready for the battle or whatever the fuck.
So he's saying this to the camera, filming it, and then you're watching it, editing it later on.
I'm tasked with editing the damn video, and I'm like going through, and it was embarrassing too because I'm supposed to be like a director over some of these interns, and I'm working with my my intern team that I was doing the video editing with. And I kind of like pause the video, and I'm just like, looking at it. I don't even want to say anything. The other guy's embarrassed for me. And I'm like, I just keep on doing my thing and just kind of try and give Nick the benefit of the doubt or whatever.
So is loyalty just a one-way street with him? I hear him bring up loyalty a lot. Loyalty. 100%. But it sounds like he just will shit talk you guys in public and private, subtly or openly. It just doesn't matter to him.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, he was threatening me 2 months after the GoStar thing, and I was the one that had that contact because of my Turning Point USA days. Like, I knew some people behind the scenes and got that contact rolling. 2 months later is when he was threatening me initially to kick me out. What have you done for me lately? Well, 2 months ago, I got you the GoStar connection, and people behind the scenes will say as much. So, it's 100%. The loyalty means nothing to him, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, the loyalty thing is more of like a religious test than anything. I've become somebody who considers myself a traditional Catholic, and very close to the Christian faith over the last 5 years, especially. And one thing that was always like kind of I felt uncomfortable about, was kind of teetering and back and forth on, was the way that Nick would always compare himself to Christ, and all of his fans, they'll make art where on one side it says like the Father, the other side it will say like the Holy Ghost or whatever. Then in the middle, Nick will be there with this big face. And it's like, okay, what are you trying to do here? And I think that art and some of the stuff around that, how when anyone betrays Nick, they're immediately Judas. Well, who did Judas betray? Jesus Christ. A lot of people have a almost religious belief that Nick is supposed to be the leader or the savior of the white race or of the Americans or whatever. And so when they give him loyalty, like they would give loyalty to a god, you know what I mean? That's.
And I just want to quickly interject, Jaden. what you told me last night. Does Nick attend church? You lived with him. Does he get up early on Sunday to attend mass?
I mean, I can tell you that I could count on one hand the amount of times I know that he went while I've been there. I'm not even Catholic, and I know that I've
And
attended
on
mass,
one hand in 2 years. So less
Yeah.
than 5 times in 2 years.
No, as far as I know, I mean, I'm obviously not in the, like, I don't know what the dude's doing
Yeah,
on
just
Sunday,
your
but
personal experience.
I don't
yeah.
think
Yeah.
he's ever woken up before, 5 o'clock ever. So
Does he? Did you guys, when you guys went out for meals in public, did he pray? Did he bless the meal?
no.
Did you ever see him pray? Did you ever see him, talk
I mean,
about?
Simon can actually he can talk about that with the whole white boy summer thing, actually, if you want to take
Yeah. Well, real quick on the meals thing, I remember I would be, I have a habit of always praying before meals, doing the sign of the cross, and saying the quick meal prayer or whatever. And I remember, we would be at like McDonald's and Nick would be like rolling his eyes and kind of making fun of me. And he would even tell other
Really?
people, yes. And he would tell other people behind the scenes, like, oh yeah, is this guy really going to pray again? That sort of thing. And at White Boy Summer, we were at Baked Alaska's house. And some of the guys all got together to do a rosary, prayer, like big group prayer. And we invited Nick to it. They brought along extra rosaries for anyone who didn't have one to follow along or whatever. And we're like, hey, Nick, you want to join or whatever? And he kind of looks at everyone getting ready, kneeling down and praying or whatever. He's like, he kind of throws his hands up. He's like, and he goes and he sits somewhere else in the room. He basically sits on the corner and goes on his phone.
You said this was at Baked's house?
Yes. We all went to Baked's house for the 4th of July.
Was Baked a part of the prayer group?
I think he was, or that might have been. Gene, do you remember if that was when you guys were going in?
That was when I was at the airport and
Yeah,
all
and
the drama was going down because I didn't.
Well, it's just
invite
mind
Nick.
blowing to me to
Mhm.
think of Baked Alaska as being more devout,
More
right?
pious than Nick?
More pious than Nick Fuentes.
Well,
Baked
I
Alaska
think,
would have
Case?
been with me. Baked Alaska would have been with me going to pick up Lowell's.
yeah. So I don't think he was in the prayer circle. Now, I can't speak to Baked's personal piety. I didn't know him well enough to speak on that. You know what I mean? But a
Same
lot
with
of the people,
Nick, for the record. I mean, I don't know, what's in his heart of hearts. I'll tell you what he's been doing with the whole threatening of young people, threatening to
Mhm.
ruin everyone's life over trying to walk away. Doesn't really seem all that.
Well,
I
I
mean-
think that's
Pushing
the. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think that's a really important thing, Simon. I know that Jaden had brought this up, and maybe we got some of the
Mhm.
details wrong, or it's accurate, and you don't have to talk on it if you don't want to. But
Mhm.
Nick wanting to engage in lawfare, sue you, come after you if you ever open your mouth. Do you have a child that's sick with something?
Yes, and and we can get into that story, and that's exactly accurate.
But he knows it though, right?
Yes.
So he's not unaware of it. So he wanted to hurt you financially and screw with you, knowing
Mhm.
you have a sick kid.
Yes, he was born in July. He was actually it's a terrible story, but the day he was born, July 10th, was actually the day Nick was doing the White Boy Summer speech in Dallas at CPAC, and I was on the phone for 10 or 12 hours the day of my son's birth, trying to organize the event and get all the interns to get the cameras right and get all the equipment ordered or whatever. Nick knows about the kid. You know what I mean? I asked him to be the godfather of my son Joseph. After that whole thing with the White Boy Summer thing, I asked him to be the godfather. He agreed, and we had him baptized, and he's listed as the godfather for Joseph. And yeah, my son was he was diagnosed with an issue in his left eye where the doctors weren't sure if it was a form of ocular cancer or if it was something else. Now, by the grace of God, it ended up being something else, but for a couple of months, it was unsure what it was going to be. And, even though it was thankfully something else, that he's healthy now, he's not going to have correct vision in that eye.
Thank God. Yeah, that's
anymore.
amazing.
Yeah, but
That's
Well,
hard, dude.
I don't know why there's even a question of if this guy's pious or religious or not. I mean, that's really
That's
bullshit.
not what you
That's
would
really,
do.
yeah.
I mean, there are non-believers who wouldn't fucking do that. Most people have some level of fucking moral conscience. At a certain point, they would be like, that's fucking disgusting. I can't do that. He seems to not have that boundary. Is it because his ego was injured by you guys questioning him? Is that what it is? Because he said like Jaden doesn't give me enough compliments.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
the
all-
opposite was true with me when he sent his message back to me after I challenged him on December 10th, and part of his voice message, he was like kind of schizophrenic, like going from one side of like, oh, well, I thought you were my friend. And the other side, like, oh, I've always hated you, that sort of thing. But one thing he said about me was like, oh, you were always trying to suck my dick. You were always trying to give me so many compliments and kiss up to me or whatever. And, it's true that I was always trying to be respectful of him because, once I joined on in the role professionally as somebody who was directing parts of this political organization, I did want to put some elements of the friendship aside and just look at him as a political leader and as a boss, you know what I mean? So oftentimes, even when he would do something I didn't quite like, I wouldn't tell him. When he would do something that I thought was good, I would say, you know what, Nick, you're the best. You did a great job here, et cetera, et cetera. So he was right on that. It's kind of funny, with me and Jaden, it's almost, opposites, where apparently I complimented him too much, Jaden complimented him too little.
Oh my fucking god!
And
So
you were
it
there
really
when he
is
was
like
constantly
Joseph-
attacking, like it was a constant battle.
It really is
Yeah.
some Joseph Stalin shit, isn't it? Like this is the way that he would command his people. Like too many compliments, not enough. Like some cult behavior shit. Jaden, you said that Nick says like God talks to him. Is that?
I mean, he
like,
said that on his show a couple nights ago, but it was just I thought it was a funny example because he was talking about how the guy, he saw some guy in like a restaurant from his chat or something. But I mean, he does believe that to a certain extent, that he's like chosen by God to lead this movement and whatnot, which, I think all of us kind of thought at one point, more or less ourselves, that
I'm just a little fucking blown away by this because it
Sure.
sounds like the fucking plot to a movie called a Face in the Crowd with Lonesome Rhodes. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's about this little guy in the middle of nowhere who rises up through politics and goes crazy and treats everybody underneath him as pieces of shit, and then eventually implodes in a spectacular manner publicly in front of everybody.
Well, I mean, you guys saw the last week 2 Telegram posts, by the way.
Hey, Jaden, didn't you tell us last night that he believes that he's the reincarnation of Stalin?
Well, I wouldn't go that far. He definitely thinks that he looks at himself as Stalin. He reads like multiple books and like tries to emulate his day to day. He's talked about, Stalin did this day to day, and when I would confront him about certain things, he would be like, well, I'm like Stalin and this, and it's like, you're not Stalin. You're crying online about, me and you having a falling out as friends and whatnot and making the whole thing. I don't know.
From
that
what I
Joseph
understand,
Stalin
Stalin got pussy, right? Like Stalin was actually.
I don't know,
Chad.
but the fact of the matter is like the woman thing has nothing to do with it, and that's really everyone has been going after me all week about that, and it's like,
well,
yes,
yeah, it's a little bit,
married,
it's a little bit
but,
funny, but it's weird that like everybody we're talking to and hearing about, you all have normal relationships, married, dating, socializing and stuff. But then Nick really pushes that incel thing, and that kind of creates the catboy gay jokes.
Well,
yeah, no.
What I think
I
this
get
is
it. From an outside. Sorry, I need to stop cutting you off. I'm sorry.
No, Jaden, I cut you off.
You're good.
Yeah.
All right, I'll quickly just make this point. What it seems like to me is that Nick wants to he doesn't really want a mainstream political movement anymore. He wants a hardcore cult of followers that are incels. And so him like painting you, oh, he got pussy. It's like an appeal to the base to make you the other. Like, oh, well, Jaden's with girls, guys. Like, we're in an incel death cult together, right? Like, that's to me what it is, like a desperate appeal to the base and to make you as the other. But it's insane to me. Like, this is like some Jonestown tier shit.
Well, I want to ask you, when did has he always been on the incel rants? Like, or was that like
as far as I remember, yeah.
Again, I watched his content back in 2017, and like I said, I met the woman who, I married in his Discord server. Back in 2017, 2018, incel was like literally an ironic thing. It was like, okay, what was the half Asian guy who shot up a college and killed himself or whatever?
They're like
there
10
was
of
a lot of
It's hard to keep track at this point.
there was like the incel king guy, And there was a lot of like funny jokes about it. Like if you guys remember, like the rapper Eggy, he had a lot of like funny songs about being an incel, and it was like kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing. But like everybody wanted to have a girlfriend, and more specifically, not a girlfriend, but a wife and children. And that was a huge part of Nick's message back in 2017, 2018. You go back and watch the shows, and you'll see he's talking about the American family, the Christian, the Catholic family. How if you want to save yourself from sin and be closer to God, you need to be married young and have children. If white people aren't having enough children, then they're going to die out, and so on and so on and so on. To the point again, like he was, always very publicly supportive of the fact that I was getting married, and said how amazing it was that America First could bring two people together to get married and start like a Christian family. Now, over the years, though, that incel thing, I don't know where this started to change, and I don't know if maybe Jaden knows. I honestly have no idea. Started to kind of morph into like just a spiteful, hateful sort of thing, where it's like, I hate all women, I hate everybody, and it's like, yeah, okay, most women are pretty bad, you know what I mean? Like we have a problem in modern society with liberalism, feminism, etc. You know what I mean? But it turned into like a totally different issue than it originally was, and you'll notice like the talks about how you should get married and have children, and how that's like one of the best things that a Christian man can do, especially a young man, etc., have totally, started to be suppressed, gone to the back burner, and then kind of, pushed away. It's the point, like you guys are pointing out, when Nick's talking about having a wife, he's like, oh yeah, having a child, that's a chore, I'd rather spend time with a monkey, that sort of thing. It's like,
yeah.
I could not imagine Nick of 4 years ago saying that on his show. That would have been, all of his supporters would have laughed him out of town, because.
Well, this transition with this message from have a family, get married, have relationships, into girls are gross and icky.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys, either of you, notice kind of in the organization or just the group in general? Was he bringing in? I mean, is this like this perspective brought in from outside consultants? Are we talking about people coming in and changing his message because he thinks it's more marketable?
I don't think so, honestly.
No, I don't think
mean,
so
it's not more
either.
marketable.
A lot of people have theorized that Milo had a big influence on this sort of stuff. Do you guys know what sort of influence Milo had on the organization?
I mean, I think now is basically all that he's all Nick has left with the MTG thing, because he's managed to burn every other political bridge or connection that he had, from the Ghostar disavow to Homan running out of AFPAC 3.
They lost their keynote speaker, yeah. Like, they talk about AFPAC 3 like it was a victory, because they got Marjorie Taylor Greene to appear on a stage that she didn't even know where the hell she was, when their keynote speaker, and those is a tangent, is supposed to show up, right? He's, this is the guy they're hyping up or whatever. He comes into the room and it's like, oh, okay, I need to get the hell out of here, and ditches, before the show even starts. And as we all saw, the article came out, like, yeah, I didn't know what this organization was. They kind of told me it was a youth conservative thing. With AFPAC too, we didn't have to lie or deceive people about what we were doing to get people to come to it. Whatever you guys may want to say about AFPAC 2, nobody immediately disavowed after. Nobody was disavowing each other on stage. Our keynote speaker showed up in person and gave a speech,
But
yeah, go ahead.
All right. No, I mean, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I wanted to. Sorry, go ahead, PPP.
No, we got to migrate to the other call. We're getting too many fucking dings on, so we're gonna migrate to.
And
that
the last
call.
guy's an asshole. Whoever you are, that was genius. He put his name as the link.
Oh, well played, sir.
That was I just DM'd Ash and I'm like, yeah, we have to move. I have the new link. I'll send it over to you
All right,
guys.
I'll be right over there in a second. Hold on.
All right, chat. They won that round. All right, we're good though. We're good. Let me delete this link right now. Just to, just set that up. Sorry about that, chat. Let me send this to everyone too. Here we go. I'll send it to Jim. Whoops, that wasn't supposed to happen. All right, we're getting everyone back in here. Very crazy fucking shit. Hang on. Send it to you. Okay, the next ding dongs are gonna be fucking real. So, and to you. All right. All right. There we go.
Oh, I think we're back.
We are back. We got everyone. Okay. I just sent it to Jaden too. So, all right. So,
I gotta say,
Well, we're
guys,
going- yeah.
I'm kind of blown away. I know you've used the term cult and shit before, but like it's ticking the boxes. It really is ticking the fucking boxes.
it's
Yeah.
really fucking insane. In fact, some of this like Simon stuff I didn't even hear about yesterday.
Well, that with his kid being sick is that's just fucking reprehensible.
Well, that's when when Jaden was telling me about that yesterday, I said,
Oh,
"Holy fuck, man, we got to get Simon on." And Simon thankfully agreed to come
hang
on.
on. I might have fucking leaked that one too. I'm sorry, guys. All right, I'm sorry. I might have. But did I show it? Yeah, I did. Oh wait,
You showed it again.
I think I showed it again. It was me sending it to fucking Jaden. I'm sorry.
Ashton,
Okay.
Ashton, you gotta bring Gator in to run your shit.
Yeah, I think it's time for it's Gator
or,
time.
or we use fucking Discord, but someone doesn't want to use it. Yo, let me just resend this link over to you. Okay. Hang on.
Okay,
Shit.
so we're all dropping out to go into a new one.
We're all
Yes.
dropping out again.
We're all dropping
Bro.
out again. I'm sorry.
Save me, Daddy Jim. Save me.
Like, I don't know if it was leaked, but just in case. All right. Yeah, someone. Yeah, no, that was definitely leaked. Shit, it was me sending it to fucking to Jaden. All right. Join. Okay, I'm gonna make sure. I'm gonna make 100% sure that nothing is being shown. I promise nothing will be.
I'm gonna have a fucking mental breakdown, man. I'm gonna have like a.
It's like,
mental
how about me? I hear bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong,
Yeah, I
bing
know,
bong.
I know.
Like, holy fuck.
I know.
All right, there we go. I'm not gonna share anything until everything is sent. Okay.
All right.
All right. I'm gonna close this. Delete that. All right. We are good. We also have an absolute shit ton of donos, but sorry everyone, but we'll read it when things are
the flow of it is going too well, I think, to
Yeah.
interrupt for donations, and I think people understand that.
But we will
We
read
wanna
them all.
hear-
We will read them all.
Oh yeah, I agree, Ashton. I like this is really good shit. Like I want to hear more of it, you know.
Yeah,
It's-
no,
it's
no,
cap-
100%.
it's captivating.
I'm sure
It's
everyone
captivating.
understands. I'm sure everyone understands.
And I'm sure you know both Simon and Jaden are putting themselves out there with Nick being this litigious and threatening.
Yes. And we have their back 100%. At least I do.
I do too. Yeah.
Whatever they need in terms of dealing with this bullshit, I'm gonna try and help them as best I fucking can. Because to be honest, I'm fucking disgusted. I'm fucking pissed off. Like, I'm not happy with the way Nick conducts himself. It's basically like my worst fears are being confirmed. Like some shit I thought I would say, I'm playing it up, hyperbole. This is my speculation. A lot of that is being confirmed today, so it's fucking crazy.
Can I ask you guys, once you're cast out into the wild, right? Like once you kind of walk away from this, and he's done what he's going to do. Does he continue to keep taking pot shots? I know Jaden, like for the last week, he's been kind of shitting on you, but does that continue for months? Like, will he just
look at
randomly throw
Patrick.
shit?
He hasn't stopped talking about Patrick. He still talks about Patrick in private. Like, dude's obsessed, and I feel like I'm probably gonna be the number one guy at this point because he's like, oh, he was my best friend, even though we like barely hung out. Really, if we're being honest. No, I honestly don't see him ever leaving me the fuck alone, if I'm being honest. Like,
that's part of why we came on here, is because I wanted to walk away cleanly. I mean, I wanted to tell as many people as possible initially, because there's real danger. It is a honeypot trap for people who are getting involved in this internship at this point in time. However, with the legal stuff, I was like, okay, well, I'll say a prayer. I hope these people just see through it, and I can walk away. Over the past 4 or 5 months since we departed, there's been, basically they have a chat called like Reaper Intelligence, or like Intelligence Agency or whatever. And in the internship program, they've turned it into like a gay ops program where they have all these guys, conducting reports on where I've been working and where other people have been working, what sort of jobs that we've been taking up in the meantime, and sharing around like
seriously?
That's
yeah,
fucking
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
that's crazy ex-girlfriend shit. You know what I mean? It's really weird.
Yeah, it's like, so even if you're not a public face like Jaden, behind the scenes, they're going to ask interns like, oh, what's their new Twitter account? What's their alt? Oh, they're working at this company. They're working on this project. Let's keep an eye on that. Let's see if we can do anything to that. Let's see if we can get that shut down, whatever they're working on. And I didn't want to believe it at first. This is somebody who's known Nick for 5 years. I mean, I've dedicated almost half of a decade to working with this guy and trying to prop him up. Like, I did not want to be on this show. I never thought I would be doing like the equivalent of what I did to Richard Spencer on the Weekly Sweat those years ago. And by the way, if you guys didn't know, I used to work with Spencer back in 2017. Was volunteered as like his security. I would drive him around, et cetera, et cetera. And I saw disturbing things come to light. He brought in his Israeli Mossad agent journalist to a house full of again at that time, right-wing young kids and Identity Europa. I went on the Weekly Sweat to expose that back then. I didn't think I'd be having to do the same thing with Nick, 3-4 years later from when that was, but
well, with the Catboy, with the Catboy intelligence agency shit. Because I know Nick did a stream. I can't remember how long ago it was, but he had like audio or video of Richard Spencer having a freak out. And at the time, I thought, everybody must have a Spencer tape. It just kind of seemed like everybody's run into this guy. They've got a recording of him spazzing out. But like, is this more deeply ingrained in that? Like, are these, is he sending out interns to kind of keep watch on people, get audio and video on people?
100%. I don't know if he's done that to Spencer anytime recently because that guy's irrelevant now, thankfully. But some interns who were hyped up and how much they hated the traitors who left the organization did it on their own accord. I don't think Nick told every single one of them to do what they were doing with sending around the videos and looking at our Twitter accounts and trying to get whatever things that I was working on or other people were working on shut down. Some of that was just these people who were sycophantically, they betrayed my leaders. I'm going to make sure they can't have a job. I'm going to look into them. But Nick was encouraging it and directing it as well. I mean, to give you a little taste, the night after I left and a couple of other interns left, one of the interns who had done tremendous work, and I'm not going to name him here because I don't want him to get heat, had posted a message saying like, hey, I really hate to have to say this. I love all you guys. You guys are some of my best friends. I've worked with you for this entire year. Here's a Bible verse. Here's a piece of scripture. And he said something along the lines of, it was a Bible verse saying like, don't put your hope in men, but put your hope in God, and say, I really like Nick, the direction he's taking right now. I can't support it. And I hope you guys are all the best or whatever. Nick came into the chat and saw that message and the intern chats, right? And he said, delete that trash right now. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? He's going to post a gay little Bible verse, And all these people before Nick came in there were saying, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to see you go. They're putting like heart emojis on his thing. Nick's mod team deletes the post inside of there. And all those people who have those messages like saying, oh, I'm so sorry, goodbye, their posts all get deleted and then they completely change their tune. Nick gets in a Discord call with 40 or 50 of these interns, like almost half of the program, and starts, attacking me, attacking some of the other guys who left, and, saying like, oh, I knew this guy for years and he's a piece of shit. He's never done anything good in his life. There's a reason he's poor. That's because he's a piece of shit. There's a reason he's homeless. It's because, whatever.
Does he really think it's like the hand of God that's given him wealth? Like I get that feeling, like if you're not doing well, that's God punishing you. And since he's doing well, he must be a good boy. You know what I mean?
That's some Westboro Baptist Church tier fucking shit. Like, if you get hit by a car, it was God's plan and stuff like this. But I heard him say to Kai this week, I don't know if you guys heard this, he was like, well, Kai, you're appealing to the Bible. Like, how dare you, appeal to the Bible? Like, my word is better than the Bible. Like, that's the stuff he says.
Well, that David Carlson guy got canceled for saying, he said something along the line of, loyalty to... I don't know. What did he? I'll pull up the tweet.
Loyalty to ideology or loyalty
it's like
to God is
disloyalty
more
to God,
important.
and he was getting Dalton and crew has been running this guy through the mud. Nick did a whole segment because he said that about how he has Down syndrome or something.
Mind you, this is the guy who's talking now about no brother wars and optics and all this. Meanwhile, he's directing Dalton to do 6 hours in a row shitting on APU. Today he did 2 hours shitting on Jake Lloyd. And I just got to ask, how is that productive to building a unified right that he tells us he wants?
None of it is. That's the thing. Nick is totally politically.
They're going to unify
ineffective.
against him. That's what they're going to do if he's shitting
Yeah,
on
I mean,
literally
if
every
anything,
person.
literally, yeah, exactly. He's
Well, the problem is
ineffective.
people are scared. They're scared of Nick's fucking bullshit tactics.
that's
They've
true.
heard behind the scene what
That's
he
true.
does. And so they're afraid to criticize him. But I think after tonight, people might not be as afraid.
Well,
And it's very important.
that's my
That's
hope
the
and my
hope.
prayer.
That's why I kind
Yeah.
of came out, because
That's
I mean,
why,
I'm
yeah.
fine, and I'm sure I'm still gonna get all the hate, whatever. I'm gonna get the backlash, but it got to a point where with him threatening the feds, threatening the legal shit, doxing people close to me, Ultros, my donor, other people that I'm close to. It's just like it gets to a point. Allegedly, I'll throw that in.
Well,
I
we
got a
have a
lawsuit
man
pending.
stream sniping us who has a problem with stream sniping, Mr. Ethan Ralph.
Mm.
Now, guys, what was the internal feeling in America First when Ethan Ralph was now somehow appointed a Groyper general, the junkyard dog, the attack dog? What was the feeling about Ralph in the movement?
If I could take this one, Jaden,
Sure,
myself, one of the other lead developers, and one of the main lead developers on the streaming platform, all were telling Nick, "Don't bring Ethan Ralph." I kid you not. Like, we were all saying, like, okay, we have America First Live. We know that you want to build something that can be like a platform so other people could come on, but this is a political movement, and so what you do is going to be seen as political. So we shouldn't have people with terrible reputation who are like the definition of bad optics, being front and center on this platform that you build, even if they're nice to you. I haven't had too many experiences with Ralph when I've met him. He's been nice to me or whatever. However, everybody sees the kind of reputation that he has, for better or for worse. Why would you put that front and center at something that is ostensibly a political product? Cozy
So
TV.
you guys
is
had
the
to
product.
actually sit him down. You had internal discussions, and maybe had to sit him down and explain maybe a poop eater isn't the best optics for a fucking brand.
Maybe a revenge pornographer isn't the most
Right.
Christ is King choice. Maybe a
Right.
guy who's had restraining orders against him by Adrian Blair for harassment isn't the best choice. Somebody who doxes Adrian Blair's employer, tries to get her fired, talks about, ruining Gator's life, putting up posters exposing him as a white nationalist.
Well,
I mean-
Ashton, I said this yesterday when we were talking, but hearing all these stories from Jaden and how Nick actually acts behind the scenes, him and Ralph are like two sides of the same coin. Just very different presentation styles. Like, they are the fucking same, basically. And now Nick has to sit there defending shit eating to Mr. Metokur, like, on a stream on Michael
that was
Alberto's
Yeah, I mean,
stream.
I do find it interesting how he's gonna come after me as like he talked to a girl and he's a simp, while he has Baked Alaska, who has like the whole Cassandra arc where he's like driving back and forth across the country trying to get
Yeah,
this
right.
chick. He has Ralph, who has like two baby mamas or whatever, and again, I've never fought with Ralph, whatever. I know he was taking shots too. But it's just like interesting how this stuff works. Beardson, who's like going on stream constantly talking about updates with his girlfriend search or his divorce or whatever. But me, I have something totally offline. I'm talking to a female, which, by the way, has nothing to do with the fallout of all this bullshit, as you've heard. And for whatever reason, this is what he's going to use as his main attack vector against me.
Wait, just hang on. If that was the reason, that's still fucking retarded.
No, I agree.
Wow, you
7
hooked up
days,
with a girl?
7 days.
Holy shit!
Well,
like
how long do you think it's going to be, Jaden, until Ralph is posting your social security number?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean,
Because that's his
remember-
job now, is to do the dirty work, right?
Well,
To do
him,
the
Max
dog things.
Keeble, UX, any one of his little proxies. Yeah, I mean, I anticipate that. But
Mhm.
And I just want to let Ralph's audience
Sure.
know that Ralph has given more money to an African guy in Gambia than he's given to his own white son. So I just want to point that out for his audience as well. Just for you guys to hear.
Well, it's to
since,
troll
he's
us, though.
decided that stream
Right.
sniping is based,
No, it's to troll
mean-
us. It's to troll us.
He's trolling us so well. I mean, we're making so much money. Like,
Well, with you two guys coming forward, because I mean you're both front facing, right? Like you interacted with Nick. He knows who you are.
Yeah.
He's got your information. I mean, you're kind of your ass is already in the fire.
Sure.
With the interns, how much of their information is exposed? Like, what's the level of risk they're sitting at? Is it just a name or an address? Is it a social security number? Is it a work history? What is it?
Now, I don't know everything that Nick has, to be completely frank. But everyone was supposed to give over a name, provide a photo copy of their license, if I remember correctly. I think an address. And it's a non-disclosure agreement, so there is a threat that oh, if you talk about what happened in the internship, it's worded in such like a vague way that the scope is so broad that okay, saying that Nick did X thing, okay, well that's technically giving away secret information for the company. Now, I'll say this, we've had people with legal experience, lawyers, etc., look at this NDA. It's complete bullshit. It wasn't even written by a real lawyer. I believe it was written by a law student. And the scope of it is too broad to actually be legally binding. Now, does Nick have everyone's doxing information if they do try and leave? He very well might at this point. I think he does. However, I mean, I'll say this: like, if there's anyone who's trying to leave and they're getting doxed by Nick, I know I'll be doing everything I can to support them. And do not be afraid of the legal ramifications, because there are absolutely none. And on that point, as far as Nick's legal threats against me that he made back then, I'm sure he's going to be threatening me now. He's already said the same thing with Jaden. I'm not going to be accepting any sort of communication from Nick as a legal threat. In that situation, you don't talk to the other party who is threatening you legally. So there'll be no communication there. And if anyone else is threatened legally, do the same thing.
This is fucked.
Advice.
This is incredible. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say good advice. It's so weird, the level of control. It just seems like he's malicious. I remember watching him in 17, 18, and 19. I thought, and the stuff like Groyper Wars and stuff like that. And I thought, oh shit, this is funny. It's entertaining. I thought if somebody in kind of the online world could break off and maybe do like a television thing or a radio thing, maybe not politics, but he'd have the opportunity to. But like the last year or two, it's like somebody hit a switch.
Yeah,
and I can't figure out, is that outside influence? Did he go on a trip like Ralph did and get beat with pipes in Portugal? Like, what happened exactly?
Is he on drugs or something?
No, I don't think he's on any drugs.
Yeah,
no.
That's the thing. I've wondered the same thing. Simon and I talked about it. Like 2019, Groyper Wars, 2020 with Stop the Steal and stuff. Like, it seemed like we were on the right side, and then something changed. I don't know if it was.
What was the internal feeling when Nick brought Catboy Cammy over to the States and streamed the date with Catboy Cammy? Was the internal feeling that was a smart move, or?
I didn't really know him all that well. I barely knew him. I was still at college. So Simon, this is.
Well, at that point in time, Nick was very good towards me and towards other people. So I didn't have any reason to think that he was lying when he said that nothing weird was going on there. I mean, the guy, Catboy Cammy, is a weirdo. I mean, everyone's seen that. Like, it's not a mistake. You can't mistake that from a mile away. However, I remember, him talking about, because he went by Lolly Socks, I think, before Catboy Cammy, this guy. Like, oh, well, this guy has a lot of viewers. Maybe this is a collab that could add more viewers to America First, etc. And I think it was a miscalculated move. That was what I think everybody was thinking at the time. Now, there's been a lot more, let's just say, questionable stuff in the last couple of months or years. I think that the Catboy Cammy thing is far less egregious than stuff he says on his show daily now.
Yes,
being real.
Yes.
Yeah, wasn't Catboy Cammy? Didn't he get disavowed for giving like a tongue-in-cheek Hitler speech? But then Nick goes on stream and says he wants to be Hitler 2, 3, and 4.
Right, and he compares Putin to Hitler at his premier political conference. And this is what I do want to, if you guys are comfortable, kind of get into the political side of things, because a lot of people follow this guy because they think he's going to be a political force, like you mentioned, Jim. At the premier, the headline political conference of the movement, he's up there in his keynote speech talking about, oh, well, they compare Putin to Hitler. And like, that's a bad thing. And, he's laughing and the crowd is cheering. It's like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I mean, to me, it kind of comes off as the same thing, maybe not exactly the same as like the Hail Trump, Hail Our People, Hail Victory, like the Spencer moment from 2016. It's like, what are you really trying to do here? If the goal is to build a political movement, who is the political voter base? The vast majority of right-wing voters are older people, boomers. I know it's such a horrible thing. A lot of Gen Xers and millennials. I don't think Zoomers are voting nearly as much, and the Zoomers that do vote are far more on the left. So if you're trying to appeal to Republican voter base, the people who elected Trump, first of all, I don't think it's a good idea to, praise Putin as like as like the savior of America. When he's a Russian politician, whether you like Putin or not, I do like a lot of his policies. That's just not something you do politically. That's not the point. Tucker Carlson's a great political leader, and he doesn't even do that. But then to take it a step further and say, not only is Putin good, they compare Putin to Hitler, and that's a bad thing. Like, you don't want to be compared to Hitler because you do want to be compared to Hitler. And it's like, anyone with a brain can see.
You go through any mainstream conservative talking point as well, and he's like the total opposite side and tries to justify, and maybe like we know maybe it's right, but also it's like, are we trying to win here and like get normal people involved? And I know you've touched on that a lot, PPP, in the last few months, like the free speech thing, obviously with the Metokur debate, which he was really upset that I didn't say that he won. And like, I know he's anti-gun in some.
Yes, I've heard him say he's anti-gun.
It's very Go ahead.
This week he justified the Louis Theroux documentary. He said it was a good thing because it made him look like Hitler.
Nobody even knew that was happening, by the way. I heard about that the first time on the way to AFPAC. I'm like, probably not the best idea to have the BBC like filming people. But he's like, but think of all the exposure. And Simon can say the same thing. No one knew about that. It
sounds so attention whore too. Like when you guys are talking about stuff he does, it's exposure, numbers, views,
100%.
Networking. But I'm confused as why is this guy who I remember who would like shit on the idea of Wignats, right? Now want to be them.
Yeah.
Like it's fuck these guys and the white ethno state stuff and the Hitler stuff. That's cringe. But now he's like, I want to be Adolf. And I don't get that. It's a weird thing.
Maybe it has something to do with, this is just total speculation. I don't know, that the GOP, Charlie Kirk's kind of adopted some of the old talking points. So maybe he's just trying to be a contrarian, pushing the
100% right. Well,
Master Kaufman's awesome because he's having sex with his cousin. Like, that's indefensible, but he tries to justify it in some way. That's like his political ideology at this point. I have no idea, but
because Kirk embraced a lot of his positions, so now he can't distinguish himself from Charlie other than just going full Wignat, I'm Hitler, like put women, white Sharia, put women in chains, slavery, like.
Well, why wouldn't you have owned that either? That's what I'm confused about. Why wouldn't you have said, hey, look, I was so convincing, and what we were saying for 2 or 3 years, Charlie Kirk now is on our side. He agrees with the shit we say.
He should.
Well, that's exactly the thing. I mean, if you were a serious political actor who, you're taking in hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of donations from donors to the foundation, you're taking in hundreds of thousands of dollars of donations from super chats, people who want to see political goals achieved, you would think, right? Why would it be when we do get the political goals at least somewhat achieved? You have mainstream political figures saying there's a war on white people and talking about, that feminism was bad. I mean, they've been saying that for a long time, but they're going back to, first wave feminism, there were issues, we should do these things with the family, white people are under attack, et cetera, et cetera. That would be a huge political victory, that Tucker Carlson's going on there talking about white genocide, Charlie Kirk talking about the war on white people. This is, what we were dreaming of back in 2017. But
and a year ago,
here's the thing. Oh, sorry, Jaden, but I was going to say this really quickly. No political goal is good in the eyes of Nick if it's separate from him. If Charlie Kirk doesn't come out there and say, well, Nick Fuentes convinced me there's a war on white people, then it's bullshit. Then it's like, oh, no, that's no good. Charlie Kirk may say these things, but he's secretly not on our side. Secretly, he just wants to, yada, yada, yada. Like he said on the Elijah Schaffer show. I mean, Elijah, I think, felt at him, to borrow a term for you guys, pretty well when he asked, okay, well, if you're saying that Charlie's taken up a lot of your positions, why are you so hostile to Charlie and all these other people in the conservative movement? And, for the first time, I think in that interview, Nick started to stutter and go, well, here's the thing, Con Inc. and just ramble on. And because there's no good answer to it. It's just an ego thing.
It is an ego thing. And it's that with everybody. With fucking Jake Lloyd, with Patrick Casey, with everybody.
Nothing, by the way. Everyone's like, you put out that statement and you started all this. Like I was talking to some streamers on Cozy and they're like, just so you started this. It's like, oh, that would have been made public and he would have been like, I fired Jaden, which again, not even truth, but that's what it always is.
But he fired you from what? You weren't even being paid.
Does he even have the authority to fire you? Because is he on the foundation paperwork? Is like
I mean, he's the
president
president, so
he is the president.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I wasn't sure if he actually put his own name on the foundation paperwork, or if it was just you guys were totally the fall guys for it.
No, he was the president and he was handling stuff. But I mean, not an important detail, but yeah, just to clear that up, I wasn't bullshitting. This guy's like he lies about everything. By the way, just throwing this out there, Jim, because I know we brought it up in your debate. The 500K, he's had that for almost a year. Okay, he's had that back from the feds for almost a year, and he's just been using that to raise money.
So it was total bullshit. Total bullshit.
Yeah, it was used for a few months, and he's been using that to raise money and throw like a.
It was
pity
return in
party.
the summer.
Hey, 16-year-olds, give me.
Are you
$3.
fucking serious?
No, I'm dead serious. He bought a $70,000 car right afterwards. So
Whoa.
it's not like a big, yeah. So
What a
he's total
grifting
liar.
piece of shit.
Yeah,
look
yeah,
at me.
exactly.
I'm so oppressed. Oh my God. Guys, I'm the martyr out here.
Yeah,
They took my 500K. Oh, no, I got it back. I can't use a bank. Oops. Yes, I can. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
and not to go, tinfoil hat here, but I hit on that point. I mean, okay, we're on the no-fly list. Now we're not. Oh, the feds took my money. Oh, now they gave it back. It's like, okay, that would be one thing, but I haven't heard about too many right-wing political dissidents who, when the feds come down on them, they just pull back and leave them alone unless certain things happen. And it's kind of interesting that, as myself and these other people started to leave in November, December, Milo Yiannopoulos started to kind of come in and become way more of a voice in Nick's ear. Somebody who's an admitted federal informant who was given express notice of January 6th. Milo warned people on January 5th what was going to happen on January 6th. A literal federal informant is now advising this guy. It's, I don't know, if I was the federal government, I wouldn't, and Nick is really trying to take down, Joe Biden and the State Department and DHS. I wouldn't give him his money back. I mean, if I have this unilateral control, I wouldn't, take him off the no-fly list if I thought he was a legit threat. But I don't know. Maybe I would if I had people in his ear.
Also, do you guys know if Bake took the plea deal or not with the feds?
I have no idea.
We'll find out on the 11th when he has to go into court. Yeah.
Right.
He said he would though on the Milo interview. Remember?
Yeah, because he doesn't want a bench trial because he knows his justification is the bench trial. The judge will murder me. But to get it dropped from whatever the counts were down to a misdemeanor is a little suspect. It feels like there's a lot of suspect stuff going on. That 500K thing is kind of a big fucking bombshell. I got to be honest with you.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that's I've known that, and I didn't ever feel comfortable. And I don't know I've heard some rumors. I'm not going to get into it for legal reasons of things that he's done with that. I don't know, but yeah, I saw when he keeps bringing it up with you on the debate, and he brought it up a few nights ago to when he's throwing his pity party as he always does. Oh, it's so hard. My life's so hard. Everything's so difficult. It's half the shit is just bullshit. It's just lies. And go ahead.
Yeah, let's talk about that, Jaden. That's the thing that makes me sick and makes me want to come on this show. And this is what I want people to hear. When he's talking about Jaden or he's talking about these other people, he talks about the New York situations, and we'll go into later. He says, in 2021 was the hardest year of my life. 2021 was so difficult. I was the most persecuted man in America. I was put on the no-fly list. I had my money taken away and got it back. And, I had, he had somebody in his family that got, his parents got sick. Somebody in his family passed away, and that is incredibly sad. And I do pray for those, for his family on all of that. However, he will talk about that, and then we'll say, and then I realize that I am great, and I will conquer, and I will destroy my enemies, and and then he'll say in private too, and I had the worst year financially. I actually had to know what it was like to live paycheck to paycheck. And then on the other hand, he'll say, I'm a millionaire. I have the most money in the world. In 2021, I made less than $20,000. It was either exactly 20,000, a little above, a little bit below, working full time for this guy with a wife and 2 children, right?
And overtime too, right?
And overtime, and paying a lot of times for my own travel.
Is America first? Have you ever heard of the term black company? They use it in Japan, where they just run their employees to the ringer. It's overtime, unpaid. You're basically driven to the point of quitting or suicide. Is America First organization a black company?
It might be. I mean,
think of Charlotte. Charlotte died on amphetamines, working fucking 20 hours a day for Nick.
That's
the
not
truth.
that's.
I don't know anything
Nah,
about that.
it was
To be
pretty.
fair.
I saw him on D Live like a few days before
That
he
was
died.
he wasn't working for Nick. That wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know
not
about that. I mean, it was very tragic when Shallow
Of
passed away,
course.
but he was not like an
He
employee.
had
or
prior
anything
health
like that.
conditions before
Yeah.
that. But
Okay.
Yeah, God rest his soul. But with the year, that I had, it's like, it's the day of my son's birth. I'm working almost the entire day. I'm calling all the interns. I'm calling up everybody, trying to get this event together. And of course, the event was still a failure because it was a rush job. I mean, he literally decided to do the event 12 hours before the event was supposed to go on, and you can't do that. You know what I mean? With and expect everything to go perfectly, especially without your creative director there. And you go through, we have the birth, and then it's Springfield, which was the Vax Watch event where he gave that speech in Springfield, Illinois, outside of the I think the governor or the Capitol building or whatever. That was the week where I had two members of my family who were incredibly close to me die of suicide.
Oof, sorry to hear
At the same time, and it was the week of my birthday,
which he made
as well.
fun of. He thought that it was funny. He's
What?
like, how do they commit a double suicide? What does that even mean? Do they shoot each other? Do they?
Did he do this publicly or privately?
No, he just was joking.
That's
Like,
still fucked.
Yeah.
That's
Like
still
it's
fucked.
just nothing matters to him. Nothing, dude. Like nothing cares. He doesn't think about anyone but himself. I know that's like no shit, but it's just example after example after example.
Can I ask this too? Because I just want to make sure, like, everybody knows this, right? Like, this isn't like something where Beardson or Baked or the others could be like, oh, I never knew Nick was like this. Like, everybody has to know that he acts like this, right?
They know certain parts.
On a certain, I mean, yeah, some level, because it's not like I don't know how close they are really behind the scenes, because I think Nick's kind of like a loner, and that's why he's like, Jaden was my only friend, because I was in the basement and I saw him, once every 2 to 3 weeks maybe. So it was like, okay, this guy's like, we're
Is this
close
why this
now.
dude gave me so much shit about my saying that real life friends are different than
Yeah,
online
you're totally
friends?
vindicated on that, especially after all these faggots are coming after me now. When I
Okay,
had no problem with them and they didn't even
Yeah.
know the drama. They've all been like, oh yeah, it's because he
So you're his best
friend.
friend because you see him once a month.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
because again, the last year he's been like he's been pushing me out. I was talking to Jake Lloyd about it. It's been like a constant thing. The last 6 months, I've talked to him maybe 5 times, and that was me going up there trying to squash it. It was like trying to squash it, talk like adults, and it was always, oh, I don't think you want to be my friend anymore. And it's like, dude, we got like there's problems here that we need to talk about. And he's like, you just don't like me. And it's like let's talk about this stuff. I don't know. There's a lot of examples there.
What was the truth about the no-fly list? Was he actually on the no-fly list? Do you guys know?
I mean, to my knowledge, I also know that he was. I don't think he was like trying to fly frequently, but I don't really know. I know that he filed the lawsuit, so I'm assuming it's true. But...
I assume it's true as well. I remember he was calling me and his assistant the morning of we were supposed to do an event April 27th, 2021 for I think it was the free speech bill in Florida, and he was supposed to come there, and that was when. Right. Yeah, no, I do remember that whole exchange. We talked to Nick that day. He was definitely under the legitimate impression he was on the no-fly list. I do believe that, at least for his knowledge and what we know, that is correct. So
which goes to show, I don't know, Patrick Casey, he beat me to it. How did he know that both his account was frozen and the no-fly list thing was real? If that's like, I don't know.
Well, let's really quickly talk about Patrick for a second. If Patrick's watching this, which he probably is, he might remember me and him had a beef for a long time. Like, me and him would kind of go at each other, and it was silly. You know what I mean? It was stupid. And when he betrayed Nick, I sent him a mean message, which I apologize right now for. But the thing with Patrick is, whatever, if you think what he did was right or wrong or whatever, after that point, Nick tells me and Jaden after AFPAC 2, I think we were at like a McDonald's or something, and he's gloating about how he 4D chessed Patrick, how he manipulated and had like Beardson and other people, push Patrick, because he wanted him out of there for months, right? He wanted this guy out of there, and he wanted to basically have an excuse to cut him off completely from the movement. So he asked other people or encouraged other people to attack this guy. So then Patrick feels like he's pushed out, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess if I'm being pushed out of this thing, I might as well attack Nick. And then Nick kind of is able to play the card of like, oh, I'm the good guy. I had no idea that he was going to do this to me. And this is his tactic too. I mean, you look at Jaden, you had these people like UX Groiper and others on Twitter attacking Jaden for the last couple of weeks. Nick's attacking Jaden on his like private Twitter account or whatever.
Months,
months, whatever. And then he does 7 days of streaming about Jaden. Jaden says, hey, I'm going to go on a stream to defend myself, tell my side of the story. And, Nick's like, I'm going to sue you. You're going to be $100,000 poorer. All these people on Twitter are saying, rape this guy, kill this guy, et cetera, et cetera. This is, his card, but it gets a little bit darker, with Patrick specifically. And I don't know if this is the first time Patrick is hearing this, but Nick told me and Jaden at AFPAC 2 in that McDonald's parking lot, that he had acquired video footage of Patrick. Let's just say in a situation that would not be good for him legally if that was released. And I'm not going to describe it because obviously I don't want to screw Patrick over here. And he said, oh, if Patrick does anything against me, if he does anything else, if he wants to, whatever, wouldn't it be really funny if this got leaked, if this got put out to the public, implying like, oh, if this made its way to the public and federal agents saw this, that Patrick would be
again with the federal. How is it this guy is crying constantly about being persecuted by the fucking federal government? No fly list. They're freezing my bitcoins. Oh, look at me. I'm the little martyr. And then he's telling Jaden, I'm going to involve the feds. He's telling you, in regards to Casey, oh, well, this would be real bad if this information gets leaked, all law enforcement. He's on a stream with me saying criminality's based. Right. I love, fuck the law. The law cucks, fuck the law. Oh, I'm Hitler 34. It's this hot topic fucking eternal teenager shit. And then this kid runs out there and he's like, I'm going to get the feds. It's literally he's a fucking hall monitor. Nick Fuentes is the eternal fucking hall monitor running to the teacher to tattle when shit gets tough and, crying when it happens to him. It's fucking unreal.
The worst part about it is certain things that Nick says are true. We are in the most precarious situation that we've ever been in politically as far as the government is concerned. I mean, the Biden administration has waged a war on Trump supporters and on political dissidents in the last, 18 months or however long since he was installed into the government. I mean, arguably, when the alt-right was doxing and snitching on people to the feds, that was a horrible thing. And that was treated as, rightfully so, as like breaking the first commandment of right-wing politics. You do not snitch on your fellow right-wing activists to the feds. But that was under Trump. That was when the government wasn't actively looking for people like this. The Biden administration's already put tons of people in jail in connection with January 6th and various other things with Stop the Steal. So then you have a guy who's running ostensibly one of the biggest right-wing political activist organizations as far as like member list, et cetera, who is threatened in front of multiple people who work for him to go to the federal government on people he doesn't like. I hope that we don't have to spell it out for you here, but if anyone's listening to this, please do not join this organization. Do not associate with these people politically, because the moment that you are perceived as a threat or as doing something wrong to Nick or any of these people, you might be getting a knock on your door from the federal government. And
to Nick,
honestly,
to Nick. That's it. It's to Nick. Like that's the person.
Yeah.
And he'll throw any one of you under the bus. Like he doesn't.
I wanted to ask, because there are Groipers that are in solitary confinement right now because of January 6th, right? What is Nick's vibe about that? Like, how does he feel about it? Is he really concerned? Has he been making an effort to try and get these guys
free? I'm sure he's losing
funds?
sleep over it. I'm sure he's real fucked up over it.
Well, I'll say this, people,
I've never heard him mention it.
Yeah. I'll say this: if there were Groipers who were there and they did anything bad against Nick, hope that you never let any other Groiper know that. If you ever said anything against Nick and you were there, like, just fucking disappear. By the way, I just want to give that message very clearly. If you were anywhere near the Capitol, just do not mention it to anybody, because are these people above talking about stuff like that? No, absolutely not.
So update. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so this is one of the main reasons I came on here, because they've been threatening me and threatening people close to me. They just posted Ultros, my donor. Black Swan's retweeting Tom AF, all people close to Nick. Black Swan, actual confirmed homosexual, by the way, who's like the number 2 guy in the foundation. is retweeting doxes of people who support me. So
Absolutely
there you have
pathetic.
it.
Absolutely
Yeah,
pathetic.
there you have
Heading
it.
to the
You know, like,
feds, doxing, fucking
I
not
mean,
paying your people, ego trip,
he wants
fucking.
to cry. He's gonna cry and play the game. Oh, hey, I didn't do it. It was just my guy right underneath me. Hey, I disavow it. I disavow
Yeah.
doxing. But also, here's this guy, this person, that person.
It kind of smells like Sargon, but more mask off. Isn't it?
No, I'd like to interject on that. I feel like I owe Sargon a bit of an apology. You know, he did a lot of cuntish things and he ran his political thing badly. But he wasn't this much of an asshole.
No.
And to be fair, at least he had the balls to use a hard R rather than a soft A like little bitch Fuentes. Okay, I just want to put that out there. Sargon didn't shy away from it. Didn't need to wear a Kanye mask.
We're sorry, Sargon. We didn't know what manner of faggotry would come after you, Sargon.
Oh yes, Sargon, you've been redeemed.
No,
Sargon
redeemed. Sargon, we're sorry.
Yeah, and by the way, I'll just put this message out there, Alex. It is not a good idea to dox people. Okay, and you know who you are. Okay, let's just say that I'm not going to dox anyone. No one I know is going to dox anyone. But would somebody like that you've doxed counter dox you? Maybe. I'm not going to encourage it. Please don't.
This is the game you get into.
Yeah, but this is a very dangerous game
with like the dissident right forever. So exactly.
People are playing swatting tag now, doxing tag. Like this is something.
And I put out 2 Telegram posts. I wanted to walk away from this. I didn't want it to escalate to this point. But Nick's like, mutually assured destruction. I'll fucking kill you. I don't care if you cut off my arm.
I want to say this real quick to all the groypers, because I know there's a bunch of groypers who DM me all the time, who are on the fence, who have been on the fence, watch our show, still watch Nick, and are like, you're making some points there. Look, you all have to leave now at the same time. What are they gonna do? Dox everyone all at the exact same time? It's gonna be a bunch of random names. No one will care. Everyone had, if you're on the fence, this is the eye opener. He is a fucking Fed. Let's just be fucking frank here.
I want to ask one question from our donations. This has now been put out publicly. He asked, Simon, since you were in the Discord, do you remember Nickaboo32 /Tran Egoist Cat Girl? He was the trap that Nick was friends with, even privately DM'd, whom Nick's mods used to run cover for and pretend wasn't trans. What did you think of him?
Well, so when I first ran into that guy, I assumed... So one pattern that you guys might be starting to pick up on is I give people the benefit of the doubt to a fault in a lot of situations, and I'm trying not to do that anymore. So I didn't think that guy was being serious when I first saw him in the Discord, so I didn't really think much of it. And I saw some of his joke posts on Twitter. He's joking about gay stuff. Back then it's I'm going and meeting my girlfriend and doing all this stuff, thinking about getting married. I'm thinking oh yeah, these other guys are just like that. They're making jokes about this sort of thing. They're not actually, interested in that sort of stuff in a serious sexual manner. And if they were or whatever, that just really wouldn't make sense. So I don't know, I don't know the full story with that guy. I think I might have talked to him in the Discord once or twice, thinking that he was just a troll, but to the person's question, I honestly don't know if he was close with Nick or not.
Real fast update. Someone just told me that apparently when Ralph heard about the doxing, he started dancing on his stream. So he's watching.
Were all 4 of his tits jiggling? Yeah, were they all just jiggling as he was doing it? I thought he maybe get excited when you started talking about the number 2 guy in the organization. Number 2 and Ralph, he might get hungry. I don't know.
These are the good people, though. These are the righteous Christian people that are restoring the soul of America. Ethan, Ralph dancing, celebrating a doxing. Just remember, groypers at home, you're in a fucking cult. You're in a fucking cult. You're going to get down on your hands and knees and lick Ethan Ralph's dirty fucking gun crease for Nick Fuentes. Are you guys for fucking real?
So sorry, I was just going to add on to that. There are good people in this organization. I've met some of them who are normal, who have families. You know what I mean? It's look, if you are an adult, somebody who is serious, please leave this thing. I mean, this is the reason I'm going on here and I'm taking a serious risk. I'm not too worried about the legal stuff, to be fair, but it's going to be a shit show regardless.
Sure.
you guys have the opportunity to leave. There are good people in this thing, met a lot of very, very good people at these events, and that's the saddest thing. And this is why I feel so compelled to see this organization burn to the ground, is there are good Christian men and women who have supported this thing, who've come out to these events, who've treated these people as like their close friends, who look up to Nick as like a real leader, a Christian leader and a political leader. And they think that there's a hope and a future there. And there's not. You look at every move that Nick has made in the past 5 months since I and the other key interns stepped down, he's burned every single political bridge. So if you're saying, well, maybe he's a bad guy, maybe he doxes and swats people, but he's our only political hope, who else could we go to? I have to break it to you. Nick has used the internship to try and attack Joe Kent, this guy who is ostensibly the most right-wing candidate in America, at the moment. And I don't know, maybe there's some fringe guy somewhere else, but most right-wing successful candidate in America. What is Nick's response to that? Oh, let's destroy him. Let's make sure he doesn't win his primary, that sort of thing.
Because he doesn't kiss Nick's ring.
Right. And
he
JD
loved
Vance.
him before that. He loved him before that.
Yeah.
And then he's
he wanted us to work for Joe Kent.
And by the way, go on, Jim.
I was going to say, so I get this right. He wants to attack Joe Kent, but Cawthorn face fucking his cousin.
That's awesome,
based as shit.
Yeah.
Fucking red pill.
With the bros. Come on.
Yeah.
And by the way, Nick is so influential. His clout is so powerful. Remember, he said he got Gosar elected, shit like this. But somehow he couldn't stop Joe Kent from winning the primary. So, his
or JD Vance. JD Vance just won.
Or JD Vance.
Thing.
Yeah, JD Vance won as well. So Nick has no real power, and Gosar will be reelected despite Nick's best attempts to slander him.
Gosar's saying the same thing we are. He says Nick can't shut his fucking mouth, and it's killing him politically, and it's true. It's true.
Do you guys know if it's true that Beardson was the one that fucked up the Gosar thing? Is that actually true, or
I
is
don't
that
know.
just
No, I don't. I think it was just Nick. I mean, you look at this guy, and Paul Gosar, God bless him, went out on a limb for him last year. And last year there was something that looked serious. There are parts of it you could poke fun of with that too, but it was visually, coherent. You had like a beautiful stage. You had all of these different moving pieces. You had speakers where the speeches led into each other and they made sense. You had Steve King, who was a legitimate person, who'd done real things for, our interests. And you had Paul Gosar, and people loved him. They treated him with respect. There was like an air of like, after he got off stage, like, hey, don't say anything stupid to Paul Gosar. This guy is doing us a huge favor. This guy is risking his political career to help people like us. And, how does Nick repay that sort of thing? How does Nick repay one of the most right-wing congressmen in America going out on a limb? Instead of trying to make sure that his message is like becoming more and more like in line with like what conservatives as a base would find appealing, trying to make sure that like what Paul Gosar just associated with isn't like fucking repulsive to most like boomer conservatives. Instead, he starts like, oh, you know what? I feel like I'm going to start saying the N-word every night now. I'm just going to start saying the N-word every night. I'm going to, start counter signaling every like major mainstream conservative talking point. Like if you look at, again, Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're touting this as like this huge win for the Groypers. Oh, she showed up on stage. She didn't know where the hell she was. You know what I mean? And after the Marjorie Taylor Greene appearance, the very next day, oh, I don't know who Nick Fuentes is. That's his views. Oh, I hate that. I don't want anything to do with that. And then to bring it back to Paul Gosar, at AFPAC 3, he wouldn't go there because he knew that Nick was a fuck up, that Nick couldn't keep his mouth shut. He couldn't stop himself from saying the N-word or comparing himself to Hitler, things that a serious political person would not associate with, right? You know what I mean?
Imagine being at a dinner party with this guy, you know what I mean? He like sitting down having a steak, and he just won't shut the fuck. I'm Adolf Hitler, and I'm going to rule the world.
Well, it's actually Joseph Stalin. It's actually Joseph Stalin.
Stalin.
He doesn't even idolize Hitler. It's fucking Stalin.
I'm going to send the Groypers to the gulags. Okay,
I got to ask, because we're talking about optics and all this shit.
We're all going to the gulag.
What was the internal feeling about Baked Alaska being made a part of the movement?
Oh, yeah.
I think Nick started like a free Yoba chant at AFPAC during the keynote address, did he not? What was the thought there?
Well,
I mean,
go ahead, Jade.
I mean, I don't, I personally, I know Baked probably, you already know where he's going to stand. He's going to stand against me, whatever. But unlike Beardson, I haven't seen anything where he's taken a strong stance against me. But it's the same thing with all these people. Like, I don't have a personal thing against him per se, but it's like, if this is a serious political thing, I mean, you could even question me in some ways, like the gaming stream. Granted, I did other things and I was political, like at one point and behind the scenes, whatever. But like him and Beardson and Ralph and like a lot of these people, it's like in the new people, even like now we have the Minecraft VTuber. It's like, is this a serious political thing?
What?
Or is it
Minecraft
UX growth?
Oh,
Minecraft
that's UX?
VTuber.
Okay,
But
okay.
it's like, Baked. I've been friends with him for years, but it is questionable as to what are the goals of this thing, and is this a politically effective connection to have? And
Listen, the way you reach kids is by having Catholic Minecraft sessions where you build crosses. I
I believe
all the
that
time.
at one point, I believe that like the gaming streams could reach, and I still do to a certain extent, like not necessarily
I
agree with that.
I think he used your guys' religion as a crutch, as a prop.
No, I agree with that. I agree with
And
that.
I think he drew in a lot of you guys who were actually pious or devout, or maybe just semi-religious or whatever. And that was the honey, right? For the honey trap. It's like, oh, hey, come be a part of the organization,
Sure.
Christian nationalism, whatever. And then you hang out with him and he doesn't want to do prayer circles. He laughs about it. He doesn't go to church. He's mocking religion, mocking people dying, wanting to hurt people's kids, has blackmail, talking about going to the feds, lies about his money, treats you, Jaden, like a fucking house sitter, and then throws your ass in the street after paying you a nickel. Like, what about this guy? There's nothing good. I haven't heard one good fucking thing.
I mean, yeah, he's charismatic and he brings people in because of that. But like, no, eventually you can see through the bullshit. Hopefully, ideally, like if you're if you're a real human being, you can see through the bullshit.
The problem with this is that he preys upon children, people who are underage or don't know better.
People. I was 19.
I don't really think there's anyone over the age of 25 who's fooled at this point, which is why he's doubling down on like young incel men, the most vulnerable people, to providing them this black-pilled bullshit doomsday cult worldview. That's what this is.
That's what cults do. I mean, I know you guys have thrown that out there, but it really does tick the boxes. What do? You find a vulnerable population that feels isolated and antagonistic towards the world. You separate them from it. You make them dependent on you. And then you put the fear of God into them because you're now their God. So, hey, I took you out of this bad situation. Look how fucked up the world is. And if you turn your back on me, I'm going to fucking bury you and nobody's coming to save you.
And let's think about it, because when you join the Groypers, a lot of your family are going to turn on you. A lot of your friends are going to abandon you. So the only friends that you have, the only family that you have are the other Groypers.
The group chat.
Isolation.
Who Nick controls completely. So he has the ability, if you say something he doesn't like, to completely take away your entire social group, completely ostracize you, and break you. And he's done this to other people. Didn't he do it to, what was his name? The Groyper that got kicked out of AFPAC 3. What was his name? That was like with Ralph.
Oh,
not Lowell.
Zoomer?
What was his name? Fuck it, doesn't matter. But there's other examples of it. I mean, this week we watched Smiley got dragged up into a humiliation ritual.
For a tweet. It was a struggle session.
He liked the tweet.
For one tweet, a 5-hour struggle session because the dude liked to tweet.
Yeah, that was like some Scientology shit, wasn't it? It was like...
And if anyone knows Smiley, it's like people in AF would make fun of Smiley because of how obsessed he was with Nick. Like he was always like, "Oh, Nick, I want to be right close to you. I want to be, I want to be your best friend. I want to be, like I remember at White Boy Summer, he was like, "Oh, Simon, bring me to the Nick house. Wherever Nick is, I want to go hang out with them." And I had to, tell him like, "Oh, well, Nick doesn't really want to hang out with you." I had to make up an excuse. And it's like this guy, okay, so he's obsessed with Nick. He's loyal to Nick. He wants to like move away from what he's doing with his family or whatever to go like be a part of Nick's thing through Baked Alaska. And what does he do wrong? He likes one tweet making fun of Nick. That's all it takes. You can like be obsessed with this guy for a year.
I heard also, you know how we were making that joke? We were watching the Yoba RV. Me, Metokur, and Ash.
No, first off, that wasn't a joke. Okay, listen, this dude, I don't know what kind of anatomical anomaly he's packing.
His giant cock.
That was so funny.
Smiley, I'm telling you, bro.
There's
it's
a reason
ridiculous.
he's always smiling. You know what I mean? There's a reason.
He needs
for
to take that big dick energy and just go do his own thing and become fucking
Yeah.
popular. Smiley, you can do it, bro. We have
He
faith in you.
can.
And some of
He's
his
a great-
IRLs
he's a good
recently
yeah,
have
he-
been pretty
He's
fucking
a good content creator. He's funny. He's actually
like
funny.
Smiley.
unlike
And high
most people
energy,
on this
too.
thing. Yeah,
And-
exactly.
Well, apparently, yeah, he had seen the clip. Either of us three watching the big dick a clip, and he was laughing. And apparently, Nick went off on him, like, "Why would
How
you
dare
laugh?
he?"
Why would you laugh at Kino Casino?" And what they're like, it was funny, like So yeah, Smiley's on the outs, I suppose, or maybe he's trying to get back in.
Well, and so
he
is
apologized,
Wuza.
right?
Wuza's been thrown out of the Yoba mansion too.
Wait.
Wuza's out on his fucking ass too.
Wuza
'cause he
said
watched
he was
our show.
anti-Jaden gang because of all this. I don't know. I guess that wasn't enough. I guess that
Whoa.
wasn't enough.
It
The-
wasn't enough. I'm
That's what
telling you,
people need to learn. I was saying this. Nick was saying this on the Sweat, and it is true. Like I was always like, those aren't my friends. Like these are your friends. These people, the ones that constantly are sucking your dick, not my friends. Don't associate, because I always said if it ever came down to, hey, fuck Jaden, disavow Jaden, I knew that the knives would be out. And I said the same thing about Beardson. And, I hope I'm wrong, but I'm probably the same thing with Baked, that it's already confirmed with Beardson. The second Nick says, fuck him, knives are out. Same thing with the group chats. Like it goes all the way up the rank of AF.
Well, if
you
I could
speak out, you're
elaborate
done. Your
on that,
friends
yeah.
hate you.
Yeah, your friends hate you. That's exactly what it is. From
Friends.
the wedding that I had in 2019, I think there's only two friends that I invited to it who I'm still friends with today. I won't name them because they'll get fucking destroyed apparently. But like everyone else, it was all like AF people who were at that, who I invited to my wedding. It was Nick. It was people like Black Swan. He was, for all this stuff that he's doing now, he was a close friend back then. You know what I mean? It was, hiding. A lot of these people who are now part of the Sussy Squad intelligence crew, we were all like, this close back in 2019. And those people, and this is exactly what will happen to you as well. When I said that I didn't like what Nick was doing, they were in their group chats with Nick. They were saying all these things, and they never once reached out to me and were like, hey, Simon, I want to hear your side of the story. I want to know what's really going on. How many people reached out to you from Nick's circle who said they were your friends, Jaden, and wanted to hear your side of the story?
One, and I'm not, well, two technically, but I'm obviously not going to say who that is. But yeah, I was actually kind of surprised with the people who did and the people who didn't, because it shows who has character.
I actually have one of the members of the Sussy Squad, Black Swan himself, pictured in front of a pride flag. Have you guys seen this picture? Do you want to just pull that up on screen, Andy? This is Black Swan of the Sussy Squad in front of a gay pride flag. This is Nick's right-hand hatchet man in the Sussy Squad.
Yeah, Ashton, I think you're kind of right about the Scientology comparison, because it sounds like you're declared like an SP once you're thrown out.
Yes.
And like, if anybody that was associated with you can't ever talk to you again, or they're SPs. Oh, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Look at this guy.
Look
at this guy, Jim. Look at him. Look at his stash. Look at how fucking feeble it is. Like he's trying to grow the pedo.
Is that even real, Simon?
That looks. I don't want to dox him. I don't know if that's him or not. I'll give him an out on that because I don't.
It's him.
Well, I'm not saying that.
It's him. I'm saying it is. That's Black Swan. That is the Sussy Squad in action. Holy fuck, man.
Does he huff paint? What am I looking at? Is like aerosol cleaners or what?
Yeah. Well,
that's fucking amazing. That guy is fucked. I really want to see the other members of this fucking Sussy Squad. I really do.
Well, I'll just say I disavow bringing up any of their pictures, even though they're doxing everyone we know. It's just I don't want the argument to go both ways.
It's public now. This is it's been public for a while.
My hands with it.
It's been public for a while.
Well.
It's like you, Sussy Squad.
Yeah, it's been public for a while. It's like whatever. It's all over the place. I know what you're saying, but come on.
Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna dox people and try and get them reported to the feds, it's okay, well that.
And it's public now too, so whatever. It's not like we hacked into his phone.
The physiognomy.
It's all over Twitter and everything. Yeah.
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 So why does Nick complain about?
Fuck.
I've heard him talk about toxicity, right? Like people are being toxic and all this shit. Why is it? Sounds like he's the one with the issue, going after
Oh,
people,
100%.
life,
Yeah.
life ruination shit.
Ladies and
I don't-
gentlemen, we need to find a new meeting now. When
no.
I opened it up, it showed the link for a second. It went into the middle of the
Oh,
screen.
fuck.
God damn it.
Bruh.
All right, guys.
All
Just
right,
give me a second there.
All right.
Shit. All right. We'll be back in a sec.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Fuck.
Fuck. Sorry. Yo, I shrunk the screen. I did everything I could. I tried my best. Now I'm just going to delete the entire screen. It's going to be black. It's going to be blackness while I hate Google. Like, meats suck. Yeah, put the link right there. Why? It's retarded. All right, let me send this to everyone. Fuck. Oh yeah, by the way, everyone, I'm going to thank you everyone for the super chats. We promise we will be reading all the super chats soon. I really don't want to interrupt or whatever. I know people will lose their mind, but we really, really, really fucking appreciate it. Where's that? There it is. Who's this? Hello? Hello? That? Oh, wait. Oh, my God. End call for everyone. There we go. I went into the previous call. There we go. There we go. Okay. Don't share the screen. All right, Ashton, you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, we're getting everyone back in. I'm just gonna put the screen black if I ever have to share anything. This thing just like literally puts it in the middle of the fucking screen. Like, I don't know why it does that. It's so stupid, but whatever. All right, we are back. Yeah.
So I'm getting word now. That the big drop. So the big drop, confirmed drop. As you know, as I've said, I was like dating a girl, and then we broke up. And then I talked to girls, and then I talked to more. And then Nick's like, "Oh, he's all of a sudden a big step, whatever." I guess Beardson's big drop. He's always a shit talking faggot. First of all, last night you were saying he's like, we're cool. He's telling Simon we're like little brother. I'm like his little brother. Never done anything to this guy. I guess he's bringing on one girl, which was the big drop. The big massive drop is that I'm not proud of this. It was a mistake. But there was a girl that I kissed during White Boy Summer.
Base!
I kissed her.
Wait a minute.
I will say it was a mistake. I talked to her for a few weeks.
You don't have to
we
explain
kissed,
yourself.
And she was an e-girl. I disavow.
How can she be an e-girl when you kissed her in real life?
You know what I mean?
This is what I don't understand.
She had a big TikTok. I'm just saying. I'm going on the record right now. I'm going on the record right now to say I realized that it was dumb. I blocked her. Never talked to her again.
Was this the time that Nick begged you to watch him play Civ 5 and you went to the party instead?
No, this was that's a different thing. Yeah, so that would be he freaked out about a more recent girl because there were a few of us that were planning to hang out on New Year's, and everyone bailed but Nick and myself. And I'm like, hey, Nick, even though like we had our falling out in November, but this was like kind of like a let's hang out because we haven't seen each other and let's like make up sort of thing. And I was like, hey dude, you still want to hang out, just you and I, because everyone else canceled? And he's like, no. And I'm like, are you sure? Because like I don't have any other plans, and like I'll make other plans if you don't want to hang out, but we should hang out. Let's squash this. And he's like, no, I just want to play Civ 5. I'm like, are you sure? Because I know how he reacts about this stuff. I know how he gets about this stuff. I'm like, are you sure that you don't want to hang out? Because I will make other plans. He's like, no, dude, I don't give a fuck. I'm like, okay. So I made other plans. On New Year's, I went out with a girl on a date, and then I come back because he quits talking to me, which he always does. He always ghosts, does this whole like petty woman thing. And I'm like, what's the problem now? Why are we fighting again? And he's like, you ditched me for a girl. And it's like, that's not true. I asked you 3 fucking times to hang out. And I even
Come on.
I swear on everything.
Tell
this
them what's the
is real.
story of where he was in the sports car. He was like, you could have been.
Oh
cool.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Walking back, coming back. We're coming back from being downtown for New Year's, whatever, and coming back to my apartment, and we're walking into the door, and Nick pulls up in his brand new $70,000 car, and I'm, he can go in the garage, whatever. By the time I'm inside, there's no awkward interaction there. But instead he floors it, flies out of the alley. And I talked to him after the fact. I'm like, you didn't have to do that. Like, there wouldn't have been a weird interaction, because I get it. Like, you don't want to talk to some random girl. That makes sense. Fair enough. And he's like, no, I did that because I wanted you to be jealous that instead of hanging out with me, I'm in my cool car, you were with a girl.
Wow. Imagine.
But
I've got to ask a question. No. There's too much to unpack. Two questions.
Sure.
First off, since this is Beardson's big drop, will you now tell us how fucking tall he is?
Yeah, probably like 5'4". Probably like 5'5".
Why he's taller
if
than
I'm
Ethan
being
Ralph?
generous.
Wow.
If I'm being generous, probably like 5'5".
I think
And
he's taller than Ethan Ralph. Yeah.
My second question, based off his reaction to anybody interacting with a woman, have you guys ever seen him with a woman?
Well, tell the story of he was holding hands with the girl at the,
Oh,
at the
yeah.
dance.
No,
right?
that was Nick.
I meant Nick.
Nick. Yeah, tell the story.
yeah.
So
I mean,
the girl
Nick's-
comes up to him.
That's when so at this party that we were at, the girl came up. He's told this story on the show, and was like being very flirtatious with him. And at the time, he knew I Snapchatted this girl for a couple of weeks, and it was like a big ordeal between us, because he's like, she's an e-girl, and like, fair enough. It was hypocritical, and to his credit, I cut that off for that reason, and others. But at this party, he was like with this chick, she's like all up on him, whatever. And that's kind of what led me to go with this other girl. But what we found out, because he was like driving her around in his car and like hanging out with her, she was all over. She's like, hey, I don't believe in the Holocaust either. And he's like, flirting back and forth. But it turns out, woman coming on to Nick. This is very odd. This is rare. It turns out that it was actually Lance Video's ex-girlfriend, and he was at the party, and she was just like trying to make him jealous or whatever.
So Kino, it's so sad.
Lance actually told me and a couple of other interns that exact story, so I do know that story.
It's 100% true.
So he's
100%
driving around in his car with a chick that's just using him for giggles, and they're
Well, it
talking
turns
about
out
the
Lance was in
Holocaust.
the back of the car, actually.
Yeah.
Lance got in the car with them. So that's why I was alone. Like, I told him, I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, e-girls cringe. I'm not going to interact with this girl. But he's like, you ride with her, and then I'm going to go with this girl and Lance, who's in the back of the car.
So he had to be chaperoned. He couldn't be around a female alone.
By her ex-boyfriend, yeah.
No. But I'm saying, was it really the ex-boyfriend's choice, or was Nick like, let's bring your ex-boyfriend along because I don't?
I mean, I was open to come. I was like, dude, like, because I knew that this other girl like had a thing for me, and I was like, I'll come with you, just So, and he's like, no, you go.
It's just it's so weird. Like,
and it was like maybe a 10-minute drive. So it's
how long did it take you to, and not just like the maliciousness, but how long did it take you guys to pick up on just the weirdness of this shit?
I mean, he's always been weird. It's especially when I moved to Chicago. It was like I was watching the narcissist video that was posted on Kiwi Farms, and I think RPG shared it, and it was like described my situation perfectly. Like the whole being around him was like a chore because he's so fucking weird and impossible to talk to and be around, and the whole thing. Like, yeah, he's a weird guy. I tried to avoid contact, and then he's like, "Oh, it's the girl." It's like, dude, I've avoided contact with you for over a year, like since I've basically been in Chicago.
Didn't you take care of him? Isn't there a story when he was sick that you took care of him?
He said he took care of me, and he just ordered me Uber Eats one time.
Yeah. He really took care of Jake.
What a sweetheart.
Aww.
So that's a big, I'm the best friend in the whole wide world.
Oh, Jake, I want you to, we got to get this in. This was the funniest thing. So when you left, right, when he kicked you out because you left the door unlocked or whatever,
right?
You left the couch, And
Yeah, I left the couch. I left my couch in my bed because I had to move by myself, and he was like, be out by May 1st. Fair enough. I waited, and I was waiting to move initially because like we were supposed to all move to Florida. But then he got mad at me after November, and he's like, "You need to get out or pay me." And it's like, okay, well, I've been here because I was supposed to have a job, and then I was waiting because we were supposed to go to Florida, and he had like family issues and things. So I was trying to stick around and be like a good friend. I wasn't just gonna be like, "Fuck Chicago, I hate it here, I'm out." But he's like, "You need to start paying me, whatever." I'm like, okay, fair enough. May 1st, I'll be out. I wanted to get out as soon as possible anyways to get the fuck away from him. But I left my couch and I left my bed just because I can't haul that in my car. And it's like an 8-hour drive. So and I didn't want to rent a U-Haul. But he's telling all of his buddies that he got a black light because he wanted to go see if there was any cum on my couch or my bed. He's like, that was some sort of own.
No. Okay, hold on. He's cum hunting?
Yes,
cum hunting?
He was licking the spots.
I don't know about that. But
no, come on. Little
licking-
Nick Fuentes prancing around like a cat,
that
licking
was
up
the
cum.
big.
He's got a
that was the big.
Like I told you.
He's licking cum.
That's so. Do you think like he cut out the patches where there was some semen and he like sniffs it as like a remembrance thing, like a memento?
That's fucking weird. I don't know.
It's the truth. It's the truth, brother.
Oh,
it's the
no. Was there cum on the
boy.
couch? Was there cum on the couch, Jaden? You can tell us.
No, I don't.
Okay.
You leave a little batter behind as a memento for him. Come on, Jim.
No, I don't think so. He claimed I left all this trash behind, but I have the video. Like I
Jaden,
left.
are you going to tell the
Totally
underwear story, Jaden, or are we going to
Oh
save
fuck!
that
Is there
one?
more?
No,
Please tell
he
that
just-
story.
he just
Please tell that
made
story.
up. There's no story.
You're killing me, Jaden. You're killing me. You know, that's how you know Jaden's
there's no
truthful.
story.
He won't tell the story. What a
There's no
fucker.
story.
You know, that's how you can tell these truths. But, you know, that's so
Oh
funny.
my God.
That's the thing. I will say that though, Ashton. I will say that like I have no reason to hold back against this fucking faggot. And I could just like say whatever I want to, just get fan service from your audience, whatever, and just like totally decimate this guy. But I'm being 100% truthful. And tomorrow, again, like this is the big drop. I have a girlfriend, and I kissed a girl 9 months ago. That was on TikTok one time, and then blocked her.
Yeah, chat.
I'm interested to see what he makes up, and I don't know where I go from here. If I'm
everyone, his big drop on Jaden is he kissed a girl. Like that is like pedophile, rapist, all this horrible things. He kissed
Which
a
was
girl.
fine for like Trey and stuff. That's fine. He's a pedophile. He asks trannies for dick pics or whatever. Leaked, all real, all true. Hangs out with Ollie Alexander. Everyone knows that guy's past.
Because I remember
Nick thought he was awesome. But
Jaden, it's just so funny to me because last night you were like, "All right, guys, I'll admit it. I kissed a girl," and I'm like, "Sick! Like it's awesome. What the fuck? Like you were telling us like we're gonna be like, what?" Like I like that. I'm happy for you. Congrats.
Well, I was being a hypocrite, and I disavow, and I've like realized. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like not the end of the world if we're being honest. Like if that's what Nick's gonna spurt out for seven days.
Who cares?
Yeah, I agree.
If anything, it should be considered a good thing. You know what I mean? Like, again, if we're talking about a political, religious movement that says that white people aren't having enough children, wouldn't the obvious thing be to push people to meet women and marry them, have sex, and then have children? You know, it's like, and I know exactly what Jaden's talking about. I would be embarrassed to like say positive things about my wife in the group back then because it was like, persona non grata to be, involved with women anyway. If you weren't saying, oh, women are disgusting whores or whatever, it's like, look at this simp over here. Look at this piece of shit. Oh man, he's a fake cell. And
right.
It's, and I don't want to like pivot off of the hilarious, the big drop, the kiss too much here, but it's funny that that's their big drop when I think that what we're bringing on the show tonight is something of actual substance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
we are talking
feds, doxing people, trying to ruin everyone's lives.
Well, let's just remember, we talked about this at the beginning of the show. I don't think we went into it enough. 2x multiplier on Nick's viewership number. I helped build America First Live. I was not the main developer. The main developer, again, is a good guy. If there are any of these Kiwi Farms people listening, like there are good people working there. There are decent individuals, talented individuals. Like you guys have seen Cozy. That was essentially built by a very small handful of people. And I do hope that they get the hell away from this thing after this. However, I know with certainty since day one, and I saw the numbers, we had the ability to display live viewers on the show. Remember, Nick was talking about on his show all throughout last year, before they showed the live numbers, the watching count before, below Nick's video, he would say, well, we really haven't been able to implement that feature yet. We have too many other things we're working on. We're working on getting emojis in the chat or whatever. And the reason we didn't implement that live feature is because it would have told a very, very bad story. We started off at the beginning of 2021 with roughly 5,000 legitimate viewers on America First Live, going from DLive averaging around 8,000 a night. We started at around 5,000 the first time Nick went live after January 6th. After that point, we were dropping into the 4,000s. We kind of went a little bit back up to 5,000 during AFPAC 2, and then it was just a slow decline to the point we were always in 3,000 or less by the time that Cozy was set to come out. So they were faced with a choice. Do we admit that, last time people saw us have legitimate viewership numbers, they were around 8,000, 7,000, etc. And now they're at 3,000, which would be an admission that our movement has shrunken, that interest has dropped off in what we're doing? Or do we apply a 2x multiplier in the code to Nick's channel specifically? At the time when I was there, I didn't see them applying that multiplier to any of the other channels. I don't know if they do that now. It wouldn't be hard to do. But they decided to apply a 2x multiplier in Nick's viewership number. And again, that is a multiplier that can be adjusted up or down. They could, make it 1.8. They could make it 2.5. And, when Nick says, at least when I was working there, when it would say 7,000 on the site, we could see the back panel and it would say 3,500. When it would say 5,000, it'd be 2,500.
So what was the justification for this? Was it that he wanted to present fake it till you make it? Or is this the feeling I get when it comes to Cozy TV and his whole political ambition is I think that he knows that he's burnt too much capital and too many people with the politics stuff. And so he's looking for something he can package as a, alternative media site, drive up, interest and popularity in it, show good numbers, and then maybe later down the road, sell it off. Kind of similar to what was it, Xander with Bitwave did with Library and Odyssey?
I don't think that's the angle at all. We talked about would we allow public funding or investing into the site? And back when I was there, at the very least, that was not something that was discussed or entertained by Nick. I don't think the intention is to take Cozy and make it a mainstream platform. If that was the intention, I think they'd be doing things very, very differently. And again, it was something that was kind of morphing throughout the year as we were building America First Live. Taking that and turning it into Cozy.tv, the decision of okay, is this going to be something like I mentioned earlier, that is a political place for political content that's centered around the America First message, or is this a general platform for anybody who makes content who isn't breaking the law, like a free speech platform like an Odyssey? And ultimately, I think we got the worst of both worlds, where it's no longer, what I and other people were pushing for, it'd be a platform for Nick to, advance his show. Instead, it became something that is okay, it's Nick's platform. If you disagree with Nick, you're off, and Nick only brings you on if he likes you. But we're going to bring on people who are, doing horrible things that most Catholics wouldn't approve of.
What did you think of the DMCA features only being implemented once Jim said something? What do you think of that?
Well, see, here's the thing with the development of the things that we did. This is an almost entirely volunteer staff. I was one of the only paid employees, so it wasn't like they had a big team working on Cozy who was thinking about oh yeah, we got to bring.
Well, yeah, don't take it wrong either. I mean, we're not shitting on the developers. I mean, it sounds like you guys got fucked. It sounds like streamers got fucked. And if Nick wants to be the head of the organization and making all the shots and calling all the calls, then that's shit he should have had buttoned down, with legal advice. When it comes to terms of service, privacy policy, DMCA registered agents, he can't expect that you guys are going to work overtime on Walmart wages and do every fucking single thing for him.
Right.
It'd be ridiculous to expect that.
No, you're 100% right. And, And like I think like again they probably did have an oh shit moment, like, oh yeah, I guess we forgot to put that in, or maybe it was on the docket. Like I was not part of any of the goings on since December, so I don't know. But I mean, I think it's the way that we operated was kind of like, we would just, because we were putting everything together with an incredibly small team, we would really like, things were not happening in parallel, they were more happening in serial. So when a new feature comes out, that's like, all that was being worked on for a period of time. So it was kind of like we're implementing things as we go. So I assume that is because you brought up a very good point. And honestly, the people at Cozy should thank you for bringing that up, because it's probably going to help their legal situation if they get into any trouble.
Well, it would pull their ass out of the fire if they had a legitimate fucking claim come in, and then they're good. Because that report button, from what I understand, was in response to the UX raid on eThoughts, and it was kind of a joke, like, it goes nowhere. So when I was looking for like DMCA stuff, and I was looking for 230 stuff, it just wasn't anywhere. So I was like, that can't. Nobody's that dumb. I mean, they have to have it somewhere buried in there.
Does this site make money in any way? Like, who the hell is paying for this shit?
Nick, I believe
Nick with his $500,000 in cryptocurrency he fucking lied about. Yeah,
I guess that's where it's coming from. It's just
well, it's a platform for Nick first. So when he makes all this money on the platform through super chats, I don't know if he has agreements with other streamers. That was never something that was discussed with me, but I know at least he personally.
No, not to my knowledge. He's talked about implementing a feature like lemons on DLive. Where he would take a cut
that's
of it.
Gonna go well.
Credit
card info. I mean, he hasn't been able to do that yet, and
well, you guys need to stop being so negative. I mean, this guy's making big dollars. I watched him talk for 20 minutes for $3 about fucking monkeys. So obviously, that cash flow is coming in hard and fast for Nick.
Yeah, well, it was coming in hard and fast for Nick. I mean, one thing that people have to understand about Nick, and I don't want this to get into doxing territory, obviously, but Nick is supported mainly, like the majority of his money is coming from small handfuls of individuals, rather than like he's a millionaire off of like a million people giving him $1. It's more like 5 people giving him, whatever, like a fifth of $1 million. Not exactly like those numbers, but that's so like with the super chats, because the viewership is down so low, it only makes sense that the super chats decrease. But I do think Nick is doing quite fine financially outside of the show.
Sure.
So was I wrong about anything in my fucking debate with this guy? So I called him on the 500,000. I called him on the bank account. I called him on Cozy's DMCA and privacy policy, the online friendship shit, the in real life friendship shit, freedom of speech shit. He's tried to tell me that because, and I noticed this when you both were talking about your relationship with him, kind of how you interacted with him. He likes to present it where it's like, he doesn't start shit. He's only responding to it, even though he's totally starting shit.
Yeah, that's what he's been doing to me for the last few months. It's funny because I actually learned from the Patrick Casey thing of how he does it. Like, he's obviously behind the scenes. He sent Beardson to go attack Patrick, and Patrick responded knowing it's from Nick, and he's ruining. Nick's trying to ruin my life, and Nick's like, I didn't do anything. What are you talking about? And that's how he acts with all these people. And I know when I've been talking about like the UX people, UX and the Sussy Squad, and these people who have been coming after me. I know exactly who's sending these characters after me. They didn't just appear out of thin blue sky. And I think that's why Nick had a breakdown on Twitter and was like, Jaden, and I'm gonna also, you need to come sign this, and all like because it was really over weeks and months, like escalating behind closed doors, because he was thinking that I would be like, Nick's sending these people, it's obviously Nick, but I'd sound like I'm insane if I said that, even though like I know that that's what's happening. Everyone behind the scenes knows what's happening, but if you say that, you sound like a crazy person. So then,
Jaden, I wish you could have told the cum hunting story like a year or two ago when Murdoch still existed, so we'd have a fucking episode of that. I'm imagining a cartoon of Fuentes hunting through apartments for semen, and I can't get the image out of my fucking head now.
Yeah, it's what a weird thing to say.
I wanted to
he
ask
left
about...
his couch. I'm gonna take a black light to it. Like, what first thing you think of? I'm gonna go look for that. Kind of odd.
A bit sus. I wanted to ask about a sussy character in and of himself, Milo Yiannopoulos. Nick had said on stream, and I've used this clip a lot, that Milo was involved in the back end, that he had helped with development, running the merch store. Is that true? Is that the case?
Definitely in the back end. I don't know about the merch store though.
Yeah, Jane, you said he wasn't in the back end, right?
No, I mean he's the reason like MTG and crew's there.
Well, right. But as
But
far
when
as
it
like,
comes to the internship and stuff or the merch
Like
store,
the
I don't
like
believe
payment
that's,
processing
I don't
and
believe
stuff
that's
like
true.
this.
No.
no, I don't think so. Milo kind of came into the fold as like a serious advisor to Nick. You know, like
Yeah,
Nick,
pretty
the
much.
people that were close to Nick that worked for him would oftentimes suggest him ideas, and he would shoot them down. But then he would come to us and be like, "Oh, well, I was on the phone with Milo all night last time. He told me this and he told me that." And so Milo, in my from when I was there, acted as like Nick's like political advisor. So
His tard wrangler. That's what Milo's now going to be. Milo's the last tard wrangler left.
Yeah, I mean,
son of a bitch.
he was always
Right.
checking his phone because he's like, Milo's shitting on me right now. He's making fun of me. I need to change something. It was Milo's texts and Kiwi Farms that were constantly in this guy's brain. Like he would be scrolling his Kiwi Farms and like Milo's texts. And
Jay, didn't Fuentes attack? Like, didn't he talk to you about a particular Kiwi Farms user by name?
I know that he's always talking about gay stoner, and he's like, I'm gonna go get this disgusting meal just so gay stoner posts about me. On Kiwi Farms. He's like, this guy's obsessed with me, and his name's literally Gay Stoner. Like, what a fucking loser, dude. So yeah, definitely.
It's like you're
I have a question.
Can I ask
sorry.
oh shit. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just thought of this. Does he do the knife thing in private? Like, will he be having a conversation?
Actually, he did get brass knuckles one time, and he was sitting there like doing this. But that was the only time that he's ever done that. But, yeah.
Oh, I want to ask you about the multiplier on Cozy, right? So there's a multiplier that anyone on the back end can add 2.5 times, which is crazy to me, right? Does he do that for any other streamer? Or does he say like, hey, if you, keep supporting me, I'll throw on an extra 1.5 or whatever? Like, how does that work?
While I was there, that was not the case at the time. So, but it very easily could be implemented. I mean, it's literally like changing one variable. And I saw somebody in the chat said something like, oh, well, if it's a 2x multiplier, why aren't Nick's numbers always even? It's like, the developers aren't idiots. If they're doing something like that, it's going to be like 2.10, blah, 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 random string of numbers. So it doesn't, have like an even or it's always odd or whatever. Like there are ways to do that in code if you guys weren't aware. But I don't know if he's doing that. I did want to say I was forgetting with the whole Milo and MTG thing, like not to, redirect the conversation too much back there. But it's funny because when it comes to like the political future of America First, they had Paul Gosar. He came out and said what I guess me and Jaden are saying right now, that this guy can't shut his mouth, which I think everyone who's watching the stream would agree with. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who they think they still have an in with because Milo is like working for her, when she said everywhere publicly, I don't like this guy, I don't want to support this guy, this is weird, this is a turnoff to my voter base. And if you have like the most right-wing candidates in America, from Joe Kent to JD Vance to Paul Gosar to MTG, and I think Lauren Bobart or whatever was also attacking them. Like you've pissed all these people off. There's literally no political future for you. I was thinking about it when you brought up Milo. I don't think I made it clear enough earlier, and I think this is something that needs to be repeated. There is no political future when you have no candidates. You appeal to an extremely small number of people to the point where you have to lie about the number of people who are actually watching your show to not demoralize the people who are in your cult or whatever. Like this is a political movement that's imploding, Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know why he can't. I mean, I guess I do know because then the donos dry up from the backers if they don't believe that it's not a serious thing. But like, he had an entertaining show. He has an audience. Like, just drop the bullshit. He's been going after me for 7 days straight. He's going to continue to go after me every day. I mean, is this to our political goals to go after me? Would Joseph Stalin consistently go after me? It probably would have been dealt with privately. Maybe I would have been killed. I don't know. But to constantly go like, oh, well, guess what? I'm going on Beards and Beardley's stream, and I'm going to fucking own this guy with a bunch of drama and rumors. It's just like, this isn't serious. This isn't serious. Get a fucking grip, people. Like, if you love the drama, that's fine. That's great. Everyone watches the Kino Casino for that reason.
Let's go.
But why do we have to LARP as a serious political movement? It's not. If you want that, go watch John Doyle or something. But this is a fucking joke.
Yeah, it's funny.
Can either of you give me any insight into, because didn't Torba and Gab give like 20 grand to Nick for one of his dinners? Do you think Torba, do you think he's regretting that right about now? Because I noticed once they thought they could get back on Twitter, they were all like, fuck Gab, it's boomers. And they call me Little Nicky over there. And he seemed like he was really excited to get back on Twitter the second he thought he could.
Yeah.
I remember Nick ran a chat that I was in. It was something like the Gab heads, and Torba was in there. And like the minute, like, you know, Nick, like Torba has done so much for Nick. I won't even go into some of it because I don't want to embarrass Torba, because I do think that he's probably a very good guy who's really been screwed over here. But let's just say Torba's done a lot to help Nick with political stuff behind the scenes. And you know, Nick gets on Gab and literally is like, oh, hey, Torba, your main audience, like the boomers who are on your platform, screw all boomers. Boomers are horrible. Hey, Ilhan Omar, like one of the most liberal candidates or Congress people in the entire country, she's based because she said the Jews suck. And then it's like all these boomers are attacking Nick. And he goes in this chat and he's like, oh, yeah, Gab is for effing retards. Gab's a piece of shit platform. You know, go on and on and on. And Torba was like, hey, Nick, what are you doing here, man? Like, what? Like, I'm trying to help you. And I feel bad for Torba because now he had all these groypers start attacking him or whatever and trying to kind of bully him, saying, you know what, I was wrong. You know, I think I understand Nick's points. And then Torba goes out of his way to help Nick again by sponsoring AFPAC 3, donating money to his political foundation. And then the moment that, you know, Nick thinks he can escape the terrible platform of Gab, it's again like, oh yeah, F this shitty platform. This platform sucks. It's all filled with cringe boomers, millennials, wignats, etc. I mean, the story of Torba's relationship with Nick is just the story of anyone's relationship with Nick if you give it enough time, which is you help him, you give him the benefit of the doubt, you attack him, or excuse me, he attacks you, you give him the benefit of the doubt, and as soon as you're not useful to him, it's like, oh yeah, well fuck you, I didn't need you anyways. So
how much did he give for the AFPAC 3?
20K.
I think it was 20K.
20K.
Yeah.
Damn.
Because it wasn't a per table, it was like 20K. You could reserve a VIP table, and I think he bought one of those packages.
I think it was something like that. Yeah.
Went to the donor dinner that Nick was 2.5 hours late for, and everyone had finished eating by the time.
So just like his regular streams, where he shows up
exactly.
5 hours late.
People who are sending tens of thousands of dollars to eat at this dinner, 2.5 hours late. His assistant hiding, didn't even have the tables figured out. Like there were more people there than there were seats. It was a total disaster. Again goes to show how this guy has it all figured out.
So what did they eat there? Was it like Uber Eats? Was that the specialty dinner for your 20K fucking meal?
Yeah, McDonald's.
Oh fuck. Well, Jaden, I gotta ask because it goes to the professional. I mean, 2.5 hours late for this. He's late to his show constantly. I believe it was you who exposed him for the 2-hour shower that he takes like every day. Like, what is this guy's sleep schedule? What is his sleep schedule like? And what is his showering habit there?
The only reason I know about that is because I was on vacation, or not vacation. We were on the White Boy Summer thing, and every day that was a thing because we couldn't leave. But yeah,
2 hours, really though?
Yeah, that's real.
What is he doing in there for 2 hours?
I don't know. See,
is he licking himself clean like a cat?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Why is he coughing up little Fuentes hairballs?
Don't ask me.
2 hours. What the fuck?
No.
But like, does he like wake up? Because he says he like wakes up at like 6 in the evening most days.
Yeah, that's real.
Is that true? That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I started the whole thing. He streamed during my time slot. What the fuck? It's like I started streaming like an hour. I started streaming around like 7 or 8 o'clock Central. I used to go live after a show every night. I started streaming before that because he was like going live at like midnight, and I'm like, I'm not streaming at 4 a.m. I'm just not gonna do that. And I didn't know that was a slight. I didn't know that was against the rules. That my like 200 viewers was really, I guess, any real viewers that he can get is like crucial. But yeah, I didn't think my 200 viewers really mattered all that much. But he took it pretty.
Does he get jealous? Like even if it's a small viewership that's even close to competing with his time slot?
Oh.
I mean, I
Is it
didn't
really
know that
troubling?
that was a problem because he was crying about it on the Weekly Sweat. I don't know if you saw that, along with me not complimenting him enough.
Well,
I
that's a
took him
crazy
out.
thing. All the shit
Yeah.
I've seen of this guy, I've been watching now for like the last. I mean, Kino Casino covers like the AF stuff,
Sure.
but like I've been actually going to Cozy to watch shit,
Hmm.
and it really is cry fest. Like
Yeah.
that whole
Yes.
Smiley shit for 5 hours. He's been shit talking you for 2 hours. Who is it? Is it Jake Lloyd, or who's the guy you showed his video earlier at the start of the stream?
John Doyle.
John
John
Doyle.
Doyle.
Fuck yeah, John
Yes.
Doyle. Like he complained about him for like an hour too. It's really weird. It's constant
Well,
bitching.
And if I could praise John Doyle for a second, I this is a terrible story, but we went to APU, the event over the summer, SAS 2021, to kind of investigate and see, hey, what are these other guys who sound a lot like us doing? Like, are they trying to steal Nick's thing? That was kind of the thought. And it's like, oh, John Doyle, he's stealing Nick's talking points. So we got to go there and see if they're trying to subvert Nick and the movement. And so we go out to this event, and I actually see John Doyle before he goes up on stage, and I talk with him, and I tell him who I am. I tell him I'm working with Nick and whatever. And he's completely in private. It's just the two of us. And you know what he says? Nothing but nice things about Nick. The entire time. He's like, you know what? I don't always agree with Nick, but I really respect him. And what you guys did with Halfback 2 was like a freaking miracle. Like, I was watching that, and you guys, it was a class act. It was incredible. And then we go to Nick, and we're like, hey, John Doyle said these nice things about you, and it's like, it really doesn't change how much Nick is going to talk shit about this guy behind the scenes and now publicly. And I don't know. It's in that whole APU thing too. All those APU guys, incredibly nice. They knew that we were from AF to check on them, see if they were subverting the movement. And they were totally cool about it. I think the worst thing that one of them said was made a joke about the Catboy thing. Like, you know what, you guys are doing a good job at what you're doing.
May I just interrupt for a second? Apparently, Eggy, he's like a big streamer or something. He wants to phone in. People are DMing me.
Does he
about
have relevance to this, guys? Or
Eggy's
yeah.
a good guy. I don't know if he's involved with Nick and AF. I hope not. He was also
I've
at
never
my
talked to
wedding
the guy.
I also invited him to my wedding back then. He was used to be on the Weekly Sweat a ton. He was very, very funny. He has incredible music. So
I
don't know.
just don't know if he's really relevant to this discussion at this point. I don't.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? I mean, do we want to bring him on? I don't really know.
Simon, you said he was at the same wedding.
Yeah. He actually, because he was a musician, we had him do do a little musical performance at the after party or whatever. And I don't know if you've heard his song Alex Manassian, where he's screaming about running over women. It was he was very funny.
I know him as the incel king. Eventually.
Well, yeah, but he's the guy. Who also when we would talk to him, he was totally getting bitches or whatever, getting girls all the time. He the incel thing. I don't know, because I haven't talked to him in years. I was perceiving it at the time as oh, this is funny. This is a silly thing. We're talking about it in such a way that kind of shows it's ridiculous, but it's getting at a truth. And part of the irony of it is oh, we're incels, yet we have girlfriends. We are popular with women or whatever. And I kind of perceived Eggy in that way.
It's your call, Ashton. Your show.
I had a bunch of DMs from a bunch of people, and then he donated as well, just to ask to come on. But Eggy.
Well, let's see what he has to say. I mean, bring him on.
If I could, I mean, I do love Eggy, but I do think that this is specifically about America First. I'd love to talk to Eggy, if you're listening. I'd love to talk to you sometime after the stream or whatever. But I do worry that some people might start kind of forgetting about the fact that Nick got his money back from the feds and is snitching to the feds, etc.
Well, I thought it would be in relation, because if he was there at the wedding, maybe he had some insight into maybe Nick took him on a cum hunt, and he's like, hey, I never told anybody about this, but this guy is really weird, and he wanted to go cum hunt at the wedding. So I don't know.
I got the black lights. Get your black lights. Let's go searching. What the fuck, man?
That's a good point.
And apparently, the best man of your wedding is DMing me now. His name was Shariah LaBouffe.
Oh yes, he was the other one there. Sharia LaBouffe is a good guy. Yeah, what's he saying?
He's a real groomsman along with Nick. And he goes, I have tons of info if you would like to let me on.
I mean, I'm down to give Aggie 5 minutes or that guy 5 minutes and see where it goes. But if it's just like some boring shit or
Well,
you
yeah,
know, like
I'm getting like a million DMs about this stuff. I don't want to interrupt. We could keep talking, and whenever we want to bring people in, I could send them the invite after. I don't like,
Yeah, because I'm enjoying
Yeah.
Jaden and Simon going over this shit.
yeah.
I'm just letting everyone know. So when we're like, there are more people who would be down to hop on if you guys want to keep moving and going. But yeah.
So is there anything specifically, Jaden or Simon, that like that you wanted to talk about that hasn't been talked about yet? I mean, it feels like we've gone over a good amount, but like, is there specific things you're like, I have to fucking talk about this?
Jaden, do you want to go first, or
No, you can go first. I need to think about that. I don't.
Okay.
Oh, now you're digging deep in the vault for the fucked
I'm
up
trying
shit.
to think. Like, I mean, they're definitely, like he's going under. He's trying to come at me hard with like this stupid bullshit. I mean, there definitely is other stuff there, and I wanted to hold myself back and be like presentable to the Groypers, like on the side, and not be like, oh, he's just attacking him because like this guy's done a lot of fucked up stuff to me, and I've tried to be like amicable on stream and whatnot. So I don't know. I just want to. I don't. You go, Simon.
It's hard because like me and Jaden know too many fucking embarrassing stories about this guy.
A lot.
It's like,
a lot.
But
It's
it's
not
like,
being aired out.
Yeah, because they're gonna do because they have nothing on Jaden or myself that like could be damning in any sort of capacity. They're gonna like try and go below the belt. They'll make up stuff about Jaden and say, "Oh, Jaden's dating a stripper." The people were saying that or whatever.
How is that?
But
okay. Oh my God, Jaden's getting pussy. Quick, fucking call the cops. Oh, Jaden punched the girl's vagina. Oh, it's the end of Jaden.
Yeah, apparently it's not just a death cult; it's like a homosexual death cult. Which I guess with like the AIDS or whatever, it'll work itself out one way or another. But I'm trying to not go below the belt. But trust me, it'd be very fucking easy to do that. I did want to if we do go in that direction. Before we get into that, I did want to say about the political stuff. Nick, when we had the internship, I don't think we've really discussed because this has not been very publicly well known what the interns actually were doing. We had whole swaths of interns that were serious political actors who were creating like a political train that we had the idea that Nick was going to be able to ride into some sort of like platform, into some sort of campaigns or influencing candidates. Like there was a legitimate plan here. When people talk about like, some people will say that that there was like no plan, like, and I don't know if Nick necessarily had the plan, but there were people around him who were planning on serious things. And these people, and I watched them get, we opened up an AF Candidates website, if anybody remembers that. And we were flooded with applications. We had people go for days and days and days, again, unpaid college-age kids, go through all of these applications. These guys, the people on this, on the political team, on the other intern teams, the data teams, whatever, would go through and like, look at, okay, in this district, what's the D+17? Okay, they're not going to be able to run there. Okay, what are the other Republican candidates look like? There was like legitimate political research that, when we talked to some people who were actually from DC and from the political sphere, they took a look at what we were doing. It's like, okay, this is like what $1 million operation in DC would look like, if it was being run by college kids. But regardless, it was, starting to approach that level. Somewhere along, like towards the middle of the year, though, I don't know if you guys remember this or how closely you were following. The whole thing about AF candidates kind of just fell apart. Like nobody talked about it anymore. Nick stopped talking about it. Like there was really no like big efforts to run candidates, etc. And we tried to hand Nick like on a silver platter, like a political platform here, a political platform here. Here's an agenda. Here's a thing that you can tangibly do to affect political change. And always, the response we would get when we run it up the chain to Nick was like, not interested. We can't do that right now. We can go on a 17-day white boy summer road trip to embarrass ourselves.
So you do all this data interpolation and analysis. You start vetting things. You start looking at demographics. You put together a platform and a plank. You start looking at candidates. You put together this dossier of how you can expand this as a political movement. And he's like, "Nah, I want to get in my BMW and go look at cum stains."
Well, it's funny with the BMW, or I think it was actually like, what was it, Dodge Challenger? Was it like a reference to James Field who ran through all those people at Charlottesville? It's like, okay, first of all,
is his license plate say Hitler 2, 3, and 4 on the back?
That would be a good one. Somebody should reserve that. But
Oh,
no, it's funny because during the White Boy Summer there was a donor event, and if you watch the White Boy Summer movie that we put together, you can kind of see where he's like addressing like this fancy room of like donors or whatever. I don't know the timeline exactly, but at that donor event, I know that from talking to a lot of Groypers went there, not just political donors, but I remember Groypers talking about, oh yeah, Nick got his money taken from the feds. And so, like, we have like these legitimate political goals that can't be accomplished, that we're doing, harsh data analysis. We're doing like these comparisons and talking to people in DC, sending people out to campaigns. But instead of doing any of that, we do this road trip. And then when we go to like talk to donors, we lie to them. We say, oh, yeah, my money's taken away. Oh, woe is me. I'm so poor. And like, just even take the morality out of it. You don't need to lie. Like, as a Christian, I think it's terrible to take people's money based on a lie, obviously. However, you don't even need to lie, Nick. That's the thing. It's like those people probably would have supported you even if you didn't lie to them. But now, I don't know how many donors are going to come back.
Doesn't he detest them? I mean, I could have sworn I saw a clip of, I think it was Nick and Beardson talking about like doxing some guy. And it wasn't really that they were doxing him, but one of the comments they made was like, oh, he's a blue collar worker. He's poor. What a piece of shit. And it's just weird to me that he'll take, because you said at this donor event there are Groypers there and stuff, and he's got Groypers that financially support him either on stream or otherwise. But it feels like there's no appreciation for it. You know what I mean? Like that he just looks down on them.
He deserves it because he's saving the white race. It's like, you're not giving me enough money in super chats. I'm saving. You should be gracious. I'm your benevolent king.
It reminds me of the Richard Spencer call. I don't know if you guys ever heard the leaked Richard Spencer call.
I was talking about earlier. What I said, it sounds like everybody's got a Spencer fucking recording that they just, Milo, Fuentes, they just got it on their phone somewhere.
Well, no, I'm referencing when Spencer was like on that leaked phone call where he's like, "Do you know who the fuck I am?" And like, "I'm the greatest. I'm the best. Like, why are you?"
Holy shit! Yeah, it's exactly like that.
Well, and just thinking about it for a second, I mean, Milo, who's apparently Nick's closest confidant, he has the vault. You ever seen his hard drive? He says he has all these secrets on people. So who knows
and
what he has on
Milo
Nick?
got warned by the feds about January 6th. I don't know. Right. I mean, Nick has talked. I believe he said that on stream. So, and this is his go-to guy now because really
he's the only person with
any political
that Milo Yiannopoulos, that the feds would warn Milo Yiannopoulos, like, dude, you don't understand how retarded this guy is. You need to stay away from Nicholas Fuentes for your own safety. Trust me.
One thing I've been getting a lot of, we get donations and messages about is the America First Students thing, James.
Yes,
sure.
You were in charge of organizing that.
Yeah.
What happened with that? I remember last night you were saying like Nick like self-sabotaged you, or I don't want to.
Yeah, so I mean, there was a mixture of things there because it happened like that was getting started right as COVID kicked up and school like was out after one meeting and for however long, and I got kicked out of school because I was tweeting edgy things, whatever. But yeah, that whole thing. So that was like my bread and butter. And it's like kind of cringe because it's whatever. It's campus politics. But Turning Point USA, I was like one of the top guys in a very short amount of time. And I was pretty good at organizing. And Elijah Schaefer and Fleckus Talks, like I did a big event for them, and they offered me an internship right after. And that's how I got Nick connected to Elijah. And there's definitely there's something there. And for whatever reason, the AF students thing, Nick like gave me a call one day and he's like, "Are you like trying to fuck with me? Like, is this a joke? Like, are you trying to test my power?" And it's like, "No, dude, like I'm just a fan I'm just like a fan." And I had been talking to him briefly, but he's like, "Are you trying to make this thing your thing?" It's like, "No, like I'm 100%, behind you. Like I'm not trying to do my own thing here." And then like for no reason at all, I was still in school. I still had my club. Basically he was bringing other people into the fold, and he said it's because my face was involved and he didn't want me involved with things because I had been doxxed and I was like associated with him. So he brought other people into the fold to kind of handle it, but nothing has happened with that. And everyone's like, "Jaden did nothing with this. He totally shit the bed." And it's like, well, I got kicked out of college. And also Nick was like, "You're not really involved anymore." And now they have their whole thing. But nothing has happened. And Nick's been talking about doing the college tour since 2019. So and
Yeah.
nothing's ever happened. So
What about the Airbnb? Like, why did you get
Oh.
blacklisted from Airbnb? A lot
yeah,
of
I'm
people
glad you
ask
brought
about
that up. So yeah, funny enough, so through all of this, by the way, all the personal stuff, I've been trying to distance for months, but I still was the treasurer of the foundation, and I had to do certain stuff for AFPAC. And for whatever reason, one of the things he gave me was the Airbnb situation, and he wanted me to use my account instead of like any other random account, which is retarded. But he had me use my account, and the day before, like all the Airbnbs for the interns got canceled and there were no other Airbnbs in Florida. So I was on the phone for like 5 hours with Airbnb, and a ton of people in chat can attest to this because I was with them and I had to like work all night. I was on the phone with the Airbnb. I was on the phone with the owners of the Airbnb trying to like work a deal out because Airbnb like banned me. Trying to work a deal out for people to stay because they had nowhere to go. And I got my account banned. Ton of work went into it, ton of time, and I was nothing but cool with Nick. Like, I want to make it clear that I tried to squash this. He's like, he wouldn't pick up the phone. I tried to squash this 5 times in person. Like, I went up to his apartment, knock, knock, knock. You know, like, let's just squash this because I don't want a public feud. I know how he is. I know he's insane. But yeah, the Airbnb thing happened. I was trying to be cordial with him with that. He didn't even say, you know, thank you, anything, which I didn't expect. But yeah, that was basically that story. Nothing too crazy, but just kind of goes.
One more
What
thing
about
to
the-
start.
Mhm.
Yeah, go back.
Oh, I was going to say on the AF students thing, real quick. Like, Jane, were you involved in? Like, I honestly didn't know this. I don't know the answer to this. Were you involved with the CRPC thing with AF students, or was that completely
Is
out
that
of your
is
hands?
that what they're? Yeah. That's I wasn't like I was
Mhm.
sort of behind the scenes, but it was more of a transition thing. So he gave it to the other person.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
They transitioned from the AF students to the College Republican Patriot Coalition, which is kind of funny because their AF students, like, you know, big effort is like has to pretend like it has nothing to do with Nick Fuentes because Nick has made himself so radioactive to other people. So I didn't know that was something that was already discussed, but yeah, that's the new AF students is College Republican Patriot Coalition, and it's funny too because they know. I think they know that, like, if they came out and said, "Yeah, we're the AF," you know, we're the Nick Fuentes organization, like they would be kicked out of every college. So I don't. By the way, anyone who's in that, I don't want them to get kicked out of college. You know, just to be clear. But it's like, you know, if this is who you're going to form a group around and kind of make your leader, it's like, you know what you're signing up for at that point.
I just want to circle back around to something that Jaden had said earlier about like the social security number.
Sure.
Did Nick directly tell you that he would leak your social security number, or did you hear this from a groiper or what? Because that sounds like fucking extortion to me. It sounds like a
Yeah,
literal
no,
fraud.
I haven't heard it directly from him. I've just heard from other sources. And on top of that, he's just insane. And I've heard him threaten to take his assistant to the feds. I've heard him threaten to take Patrick Casey to the feds. I've heard him, you know, he's already, like we've said, Simon and myself threatened to sue us. So I'm not saying that. I just am like clarifying why I put that statement out publicly and didn't. One, I wanted to go out on my own terms. And again, I want to reiterate that text message that he put out proves exactly what I was saying. Like, he asked me to come sign something. And I had this resignation letter already done and over. Like, I already had it prepared because I was planning to leave once I moved. He said that. I didn't know what the fuck he wanted me to sign, but I just sent him that resignation, and that was my response. He wasn't asking me for that. Not that it matters, but, you know, just throwing it out there that was just another like slight lie, because that's what it's all about, is this fucking ego. I'm in charge. You're my bitch. Oh, you do this on your own terms. Oh, well, now you're the bad guy, and I'm going to slander you for 7 days straight.
We did the same thing to the interns who left too. You know, when me and others, you know, told Nick, you know, we talked about some of us talked about wanting to resign ahead of time. You know, we were like you, Jaden, we were planning our resignation, trying to be careful because we knew Nick's a fucking psychopath. You know what I mean? He will fuck people if they leave. And one of those people, UX Groiper, heard about this and ran and told Nick, you know. And so Nick, you know, he gets us into a call, and he won't even stay on the phone with us because he's so mad. You know what I mean? He has to send us a voicemail because he can't even talk to us. but it's like, you know what, I was going to fire you anyways. I've been wanting to fire you for months and blah blah blah. It's like, and then he tells everyone, oh yeah, I fired them because they're imbeciles, and it's like, nigga, come on, like you got advanced information that we were planning on
Just an ego
resigning. It's
thing.
like, that's what it is.
Simon, did you ever reach out to any of the donors and said to them, you've been lied to about what Nick did? Did you ever?
Well, me personally, no, and I don't think anyone else has, because of the, with the whole NDA thing. And I do want to bring that back up. That's actually a good point. With the legal threats, I wasn't sure if knowing the names of the donors would be in violation of the NDA. I don't think it is now. I do think the NDA is complete crap, but at the time I was a little bit worried, like if I, message these people, which, not going to say the donors here, and God bless them, by the way. I do hope that they get the hell away from this thing as fast as possible. I mean, some of these people, man, it's like they're hard working.
What's his play even here then? I guess I'm trying to imagine I'm Nick Fuentes right now, and this stream just happened. And people have come out and they've disclosed this kind of information. If he seeks to pursue this legally, right, he's going to look like the world's biggest cunt. Who's going to rally around that? Like, oh, he's following through with this thread. Yeah, but I don't think he's going to get as much of a backing as he's imagining, based on the things that you guys have been talking about.
You'd be surprised. I mean, I think he'll still have his core, and which is all you can really
his core of half the numbers he presents.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, do you know what the current strategy is? Baked Alaska is saying he's going to press you IRL and kick your ass, Jaden. So this is the current strategy, is to send Yoba as the hitman.
Hey, Jaden, boxing, you versus Baked. Let's fucking go.
That would be interesting. Baked Alaska's going to come mace me.
Yeah, it's
and
funny.
I held back on the guy. You heard it. I was.
Didn't
you were very diplomatic.
Didn't you say there was a bunch of sussy people at Bake's party? Do you want to get into that?
And during White Boy Summer, it was the sussy squad was all out in force. Again, because I don't want to be involved with doxing, I won't name them who they were there or whatever. But I mean, like these are the type of guys who they call themselves the sussy squad. One of them is an actual homosexual. The other one is a sexual degenerate of like another breed, which I don't even want to go into. And these fucking faggots would constantly be like all over each other, like grab at each other. Like, one of them would always have his shirt off in front of them, and they would like tackle him and start tickling him. And I don't know if that's what Nick means when he's talking about being sussy with the bros, but like I think about like all.
So that sort of sussy gay behavior was going down at Bake's pool.
So you're telling me that at Baked Alaska's house they just have random half-naked tickle parties?
On occasion.
What the fuck?
Maybe just
I don't
for the
know.
4th of
I
July,
fell asleep drunk on the couch, but they all took pictures of me.
Did you wake up sore?
No, I didn't.
Thank God.
Just for the record.
Yeah.
But I passed out on the couch, and they all took photos with me, which is odd.
Real quick, as we were talking about the Nick's recourse, so I don't think it'd be any surprise that me and Jaden know some people who are still in the internship in various different departments and various different teams. And Nick's people, and this is in the last 2 or 3 days, have demanded that they sign new work for hire forms and new NDAs. I don't know if maybe Nick somehow lost the old ones, or they need to like reword them so they can fuck people even harder. And this is one of the big, we're talking about the bombshell. Jaden kissed a girl. Here's a bombshell. They are trying to get any interns who are still left in there to sign new legal documents, signing over their lives to Nick Fuentes. If any of you people are watching the stream, please don't fucking do it. Put a fake name and then run away. I mean, it's this, like they're doing this right now. And I think they're demanding the new NDAs probably before the end of the week, maybe into next week. So you have a couple of days,
Well, I remember Jaden saying that John Miller in particular was sussy. Is there any reason that John Miller was sussy at Bake's party, or?
All I remember about John Miller at Bake's party is I felt very fucking bad for him. He got drunk, which is what it is. And I know Jaden, him and you were like fighting or whatever. And everybody was in the pool, which by the way, because we were recording footage for the White Boy Summer movie, Nick said, absolutely do not record anything that goes on in the pool. I don't want them to see my hairy groiper belly, that sort of thing. But we're all in the pool. And I guess like Nick was on a power trip, or he had just had enough. And excuse the language here, but he goes up to John Miller and he just starts screaming at him. And I can't remember everything he said, but I vividly remember this. He looks at him straight in the face and he said, and you fucking nigger, as loud as possible.
Whoa.
You can hear a pin drop. And Jaden, you remember this. I think anyone
I
who's there
thought I was
remember it.
just like, I don't know if we're on YouTube. If you can say that.
Well, sorry.
Well, if you're quoting,
all right, brother.
If you're
It was a
quoting,
quote,
fair
but,
enough.
yeah.
if you're
That's
quoting,
what I was
you
worried
aren't-
about there.
and
Yeah,
you aren't
yeah.
saying it to a black person.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah. No, and I was shocked at the time. And everybody there was shocked. And it was dead silence. And everyone looked around at each other. And then a couple of people there were just like, start like kind of fake laughing. That everyone starts kind of laughing. And it was so funny because John Miller came up to Nick later that evening, was like, "Hey, man, I really don't appreciate what you did to me back there." And Nick's like, "Well, yeah, well, you kind of deserved it. You were acting like." And he was just like, "Look, man, I
That
just
kind of
want an
makes him
apology."
sound cool, though.
I don't know if that's exactly cool. Like, yeah,
I don't know. Like, this is supposed to be an integral member of his
It's like, and
organization.
again, John Miller
Well,
is a great guy. Like, I don't know about the sussy stuff with him. That's not my thing. I didn't ever experience that with John Miller. But John Miller is a guy who came from the Blaze, who had a real political career, like Jaden. He's a black guy, trying to give his life, sacrifice his career to speak at AFPAC too.
John's black.
Oh, you didn't know this?
That makes the
Yeah.
story crazier.
Yeah. This is a black conservative
Oh
who
my
decided
God.
to screw his political, put his political career
Oh my-
in jeopardy, in harm's way for Nick to legitimize Nick's event.
Holy.
And he goes to hang out with Nick IRL, and this is what happens.
Oh, I thought it was just some white guy that he was calling the N-word.
No. That wouldn't really be a big deal. But the fact that it was specifically at the only black guy there.
Nick.
Not to mention any names, but do you guys know if there was a gay hookup at Bake's house, or
Not to
I
my
don't.
knowledge.
not to your knowledge? There was.
Let's read between the lines of half-naked tickle fights.
Yeah,
Well,
we have to.
I
just-
was staying at a
airport.
hotel
I was
far
at the
away from that.
airport. I see. This is another example
didn't-
of just how insane this guy is. I went with Baked Alaska. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to pick up Lowell's from the airport." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go with." And me, him, Jimbo, and Trey were going to the airport. And Nick was pissed off, and he's. I guess I didn't invite him. I didn't invite him to go in Bake's car, and this was like a big issue. And he even aired it out on stream. Nick, Jaden didn't invite me to go to the airport to pick up Lowell's. I'm like, I didn't know I had to do that. He's like, if you're my friend, you should want me to go with you. It's like, dude, just speak up. So I must have been at the airport when the tickle fights were going on, because
I wasn't in the house, guys. Listen.
I had nothing to do with that. Yeah.
You give me enough dumper rumper jokes. I wasn't around for the tickle fights.
Sure. Yeah, the dumper rumper jokes from the outside, the inside is Jaden talks to girls. I just can't win.
You get nailed from both sides on that shit.
Dude, what the
Oh, wow.
fuck?
All right.
Yeah, Bake does want to fight you for sure. Like I'll send some screens.
I don't think I'm in his weight class.
Like, who even care? Like, Bake's like fucking 215
Yeah,
pounds.
I think he would have to lose some weight for like a proper fight, and I don't think Mace is allowed. So I don't know.
Well, let's
He's
be
such a
realistic.
shit
Where are you going to
talker.
fight him? Leavenworth? I mean, May 11th is coming up, so I don't know where that fight's going to be fucking
Well,
scheduled.
he'll just throw all the American Patriots under the bus they recorded allegedly, and for his plea deal or whatever. If he wants to fucking
Well,
come
is
after
Nick's
me,
move to just come out as gay to own you, Jaden, and say he pumped your dumper?
it wouldn't surprise me at this point. Seems like
So
when
that's the power move,
any of
yeah.
these guys got
Yeah.
going, which isn't really surprising because the political movement's dead. They're just spiteful towards me, which again, none of them even knew me and Nick had problems until like a week ago, and we haven't talked for like
Don't you
6
love
months.
that too? Like, everyone would suck up to you because you're close to Nick. Everyone would suck up to me because I was close to Nick at the time, because they want to be close to Nick and they say, "Oh, you're the best, you're the best." And Nick
Right.
throws you the bus. They're like, "Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
piss
how
on
it
his
works.
corpse. I hope
Weird.
he chokes
I
and
said
dies in his
Baked
next
Alaska.
meal."
Yeah, I said Baked Alaska and Beardson weren't my friends, that they were Nick's friends, and then here they are not talking to me and instead coming after me for no reason at all. Whoa, it's almost like they were never my friends at all. That's crazy. It's almost
Yeah.
like the whole internet thing's real. You're totally vindicated on that.
One thing I wanted you guys to expand on is the New York City rally. It seems like that was a big point of where
Sure.
you guys became disillusioned. What was the problem with the New York City rally?
Oh,
Well,
I mean,
do you want to go on this one, Jaden?
I mean, I can start. You can fill in. I mean,
Mhm.
initially, so we were there for like 9 days, I think. And it started off very rough. Um, we were going there because we were supposed to make all this crazy anti-mask content, and I pitched this idea to Nick because I'm like, a way that maybe you could go viral, possibly on, I don't know, TikTok or something, is like to do the sort of baked Alaska, pressing people in public about the mask stuff without like macing them or getting in fights with like black people, but like going in there and causing some mayhem about that. That's initially why we went out there, but he somehow along the way they decided to do a Staten Island rally, which is 2 hours outside New York, on a Wednesday at noon. And you guys saw it. There's like 50 people that showed up, and they kind of just caged us in. And Nick did his chants with the megaphone, and then left. And he was pissed. He was pissed because no one showed up. Which, common sense. Big political brain guy here. Noon on a Wednesday, 2 hours outside of a major city.
Well, you're forgetting one detail, Jake.
Sure, go ahead.
No, this my favorite part is when we were going to this event, because we had put it out publicly that where the event was going to be held, we started getting reports that Michael Hayden and the SPLC were in attendance at the event and they were taking pictures of people. I remember myself and other people, or maybe, I forget who said it first, but somebody said it first in the chat or in the car or whatever, wherever we were at the time. It's like, maybe we should decide to hold the political event somewhere else. Like maybe we should call it off. You know what I mean? Because, first of all, is this really going to be such a political win? Is this going to be such a political success that it's worth Michael Hayden taking pictures of like 20, 30, 40 people? Like that's a question you have to ask yourself. And I remember at the time, like going along with it, and afterwards, I felt very bad about it. And Nick was so angry about how the event was such a huge failure. And I was thinking, like, you know what? I think Nick's right. It was a failure because Michael Hayden doxed all those people. And then we brought it up to Nick. Yeah.
They're caged like animals, and Michael Hayden just walking around taking pictures of every person. We're like, that kind of sucks. He's like, who gives a fuck about them? It's like my image of us looking like retards in a cage and no one's showing up.
You want to talk about the image? Like, so we're supposed to be like the most anti-mask, anti-vax group in America. Yeah, we hate the mask. We would never wear a mask. If they ask you to wear a mask at McDonald's, you rip it off and say, I will not comply. And if anyone's been with Nick, you ever go anywhere with him, he's always was wearing a mask. We would be on the Long Island Railroad. Every single person on there, myself, all the interns, no mask, ever. Puts on the mask immediately. We kind of like nag him for it or whatever. And, like, I don't want to be seen. It's like, it's obviously you, man. It's like it's a blue piece of paper. It's not going to hide much. And so we're trying to get the content. Like I prepared for weeks for this New York thing. I went and learned all of these different broadcasting solutions in case we need to do like mobile on the go, like multi-camera broadcasting of like an impromptu rally. I learned, all of the different techniques. I set up, I talked to all the interns, got them ready to ingest footage in a timely manner because I thought we were going to be going like hard, like into each store, getting an hour of footage, get it to them, get them to edit it into the right formats. We went over how to do it for TikTok, Twitter, everything you would need to go viral. And we get there and it's like, oh, I don't feel like it today. I don't really feel like it.
Let's walk around Brooklyn. And not do anything at all.
Yeah, not do anything.
Like, hey, let's like go into a store. Shut the fuck up. Like, no, fuck you. Simon, stop recording.
Yeah. Like, they would tell me to stop recording. I'm like, well, Nick, I'm sure there's something in here, that we can make into like a funny video. And there's a reason no videos came out from that, by the way. But we go to Times Square and there's actually a leftist rally going on there. Like, how lucky. We're trying to find like angry leftists, conservatives, confronts libtard, type of content. And there's a pro-immigrant rally happening. And so we're like, okay, yeah, we got to go check this out. And, the whole crew, rolls up there and, some of us start debating them. I remember Tenrio, he was very funny in how he was pressing them, whatever. He was a funny guy, but we were there. And Nick starts like getting nervous because there's all these leftists, all of these immigrant people. And it's like, guys, we got to get out of here. Like, this is too dangerous, and he starts telling to the guys who are arguing with the pro-immigrant people, it's like, all right, let's calm this down. Stop recording. This is not the kind of content we want or whatever. And so we like move away from the crowd. And then there's some guy who's staring us down, like making faces at us, like yelling at us. And so one of us flicks him off, because you want interesting content, right? Like, we're out here, I get briefed that we're trying to do a confrontation, viral video. So We flick one guy off. Nick gets mad about it. He comes over there and he's like yelling, and I'm recording the whole thing. I thought it was hilarious. You know, you
long
remember,
story
Jaden.
short, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Long story short, it was just a total waste of time, and he was just a faggot the entire time.
My favorite part is he's yelling.
That's everything we did. Everything we did from Springfield to this. It's basically like him just treating everyone, all of his interns, and like shit, and like screaming at Simon, doing that. And really, it wasn't like one specific thing for me, anyways. It was just like the straw that broke the camel's back. It was like, I can't deal with this fucking person.
Well,
that's essentially what it was.
This guy is going to be like the new Hitler, the new Aryan, like master, savior of the white race. You know what I mean? Some Italian liberal comes over and starts yelling at us. He's turning to the interns like, "You're going to get us fucking killed. We need to get the fuck out of here right now." And there are literally 6 police officers right here. This is Times Square. If there's ever a place where you probably don't need to worry about getting shot, it is Times Square. And, it was all this like bitching. And the subsequent days of the trip, there was like no events. There was no events. I was always like, "Oh, we're going to get more content." No, we're going to sit in the hotel all day. We're going to get more content. No, I'm going to sit on TikTok all day. And so then we promised we were going to do a rally at the end of the week. And this is one of my favorite things because Nick talks about New York like this was the moment he flipped the switch. This is the moment when everyone around me was hurting me and I realized that I don't care about them because I'm great. He said on a show a little while ago. And if you guys want to know like a taste of what that greatness looks like, Nick is yelling at all of the interns who were there with him saying, "You guys are fuck ups. You guys are embarrassing me. My image is on the line," etc. And we say, "Okay, well, we still want to do the rally on Friday, right? Like this rally, or rather it was on Saturday. At the Pfizer
he called
building."
everybody. He called everybody, got them on the phone, ripped their ass, said the one on Wednesday was a total disaster. The one on Saturday, he's going to cancel it. He's going home. Fuck this. He's firing half of you. Like it's over. I'm like, dude, why don't you just do what you did at Stop the Steal? Just go out there, speak, do your thing, try to get the rumors over on your side.
We beg him,
He's like, he does that. Jaden, you saved the day. That's what he says to me, whatever. And rips them a new asshole. But even at that point, I was fucking over it. I was over him. And again, that's basically the story.
Well, no, I just love like we have to beg him to do his own event that hundreds of people flew out there to go attend. You know what I mean? And then when the event actually takes place, and we put in the hard work of like doing all the filming and the transport and booking the vehicles and all this kind of stuff. It's like, you know what? I turned that thing around. You guys were fucking it all up. And then I was great. It's like, bro, you wanted to cancel the whole thing. And all of us, we're begging you, please don't cancel it. You're going to embarrass yourself. We already wanted to quit at that point. Jaden already wanted to quit. All of us already wanted to quit. But we're like, man, we all came out here. Let's at least give these people who paid money to come out here to see you what they wanted,
Anyways, that's
I wanted to, one more thing about
Sorry to go off.
Because it was fantastic.
It was great. It was great.
When it comes to the vaccine, I mean, America First was so anti-vaccine.
Right.
Anyone did Nick take the vaccine? Did Tyler Russell take the vaccine? What about Baked? Anybody know?
Not to my knowledge.
No,
I don't know. Not to my knowledge.
No.
Okay.
I don't think he does.
Okay.
But
all right,
he wears a mask everywhere, but
he does wear the mask everywhere. That is real. But I don't know about the vax thing. I always gave him shit for the mask. And he's like, what if I'm noticed? So, anyways,
just to protect his identity. Well, do we want to? Is there anything left? I think we've gone over a lot of shit.
I think we've basically covered most. Of it. I mean,
the last.
I hope I can leave it at that. I just wanted to get that information out there about the doxing.
He's going to totally come after your ass.
I mean, he's already been coming after me.
And I just want to say this. Jaden's left a lot on the table. He told me there's a lot that left that he could say. Right. Simon, there's probably a lot left he could say. They're showing restraint. Nick.
I tried to not.
Maybe it's time to quit while you're going.
So
I'm gonna use the bathroom. Be right back.
Yeah.
And by the way, Ralph right now is encouraging everybody to flag the stream for hate speech. It's again the Groypers really pro free speech.
You piece of fucking shit.
So much for freedom of speech.
Yeah. He's being a fucking dick right now. I'm just gonna use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay, one final thing. Yeah, go on, Jim. Go on.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Ashton, just based off all this shit coming out, and I'm sure there are going to be other people that want to talk. Are you and Worski going to do, like, I have a feeling you're going to get flooded with people that want to talk about shit now from the inside of the organization. You guys are going to be doing streams probably fucking daily for weeks at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we already have, before all this dropped, weeks worth of content. And we also have other people from within that wanted to tell stories. We heard from Patrick Casey. Casey is actually, I think, recording something for us to show where he's, he doesn't want to go on live because he doesn't want to incriminate himself, but he wants to be sure to expose as much as he can. I'm sure we'll hear from other people as well, and we'll continue to cover the story. And I don't really think there's a fucking thing that Ralph or Nick can really do about it.
I just want to say, like, again, I want to remind everyone that's like all the groypers out there, everyone that's like, you were my favorite streamer and now I hate you or whatever. It's like, I tried to leave amicably. I did not want this to be what it had, but it had to, because Nick is what do you call him, Mexican child, like
the Mexican child leader of the white race.
Yeah,
Jade, we gotta get it in. What's the deep lore on the Dumper Pumper stream? Like, why did that happen? Do you think,
dude? It's all like you said with the SpongeBob shirt yesterday. It's just all like. I think most of it, he just wants to embarrass everyone, kind of belittle them. What was the terminology you used yesterday about the SpongeBob shirt? You know what I'm talking about?
I'm
asking you.
I'm more curious, because that was like a 10-minute
humiliation ritual. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's a humiliation ritual. Sorry, I'm retarded. I'm like have to piss so bad. That's all I can think about right now. But yeah, it's a humiliation ritual. Obviously, you watch the clip. I'm like, yeah, dude. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And I feel like most people feel that way when he does.
He said he was going to spank your dumper and put you to bed at a good time.
Weirdo, man.
The guy always used to talk about Patrick Casey's dumper, by the way.
Why?
Yeah.
I mean, now he talks about the same stuff. If you watch any of the Sussy Squad streams with him, Veda, and UX, I mean, they sit there and like talk about how, oh, your voice makes me bricked up, and there's a million clips out there.
Sussy.
Yeah, it's
Sussy.
Yeah.
Do we want to? Go on, Jade.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay. Do we want to try and slam through some of these super chats, guys? Because there are a lot of super chats.
There's like a ton.
Now, most things, like if you've been asked about it already,
sure,
you got to go. Well, go to the bathroom. Jade.
All right. Well, yeah. Let me go piss real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Well, if you do the super chats, try to hit the ones that for the guests, right? Like
that's what I'm looking for right now.
Questions, and then if you guys have already answered it, just say already answered.
Okay.
So we don't waste too much time.
All right, so I'll scroll through right now. And by the way, everyone, after we read more super chats, when everyone leaves, Ashton and I will be sticking around. We have a bunch of Nick Fuentes clips we're going to be watching. Still.
One.
Okay,
I think
we're
going to do one. We're going to do the one where Nick copes about how he doesn't go to the gym because he's too short, how he's a king and kings don't work out, kings aren't muscular. I don't know if Nick knows anything about history, judging by his Spartacus comment. I don't think he knows fucking jack shit. But I think most like ancient kings were warrior kings that were pretty fucking yoked. But anyway, Nick's like off in his own fucking fantasy land. He talks about how he wants to be thin, he wants to be a fat, and I think he says he wants to be dainty. This is the sort of shit that he's saying.
Yeah, and then twinkish. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, twinkish. Yeah. He wants to be twinkish. Yeah. And it's fucking crazy. But I will say, I mean, the stuff tonight, I mean, I talked to Jaden last night, and it was even more than what we talked about last night. It was fucking shocking, some of the things that you guys came out with, and it was very brave of you to do it.
It's a crazy stream, man. Crazy stream, and thank you. Like this is
nuts.
Yeah, and we hope for the groypers out there who are freaked out. Honestly, I've already had like 10 like message requests on Twitter, or like, all right, I'm done. Thank you for this stream. Like, thank you for that. Like, I appreciate it. Like 10 people just added me like privately. So it is
neither
working.
of
two Telegram posts. All it took.
Neither Jaden or Simon, when they talked about all this shit, took shots at the groypers. I mean, it was all, Nick did this shit or the generals did this shit, but it wasn't shitting on like the user base. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. It's just the stories are fucking wild. This like the Nick shit is so much deeper than I fucking imagined.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And I mean, there's still more stuff we can dive into, but I mean, when it comes to the stuff that people need to know, like for their safety and well-being, and just the fact, like
We'll
Dude
save
just
it
totally
for
scummed
part 2 next week when Nick
Well,
fucking,
Yeah.
goes after
Yeah.
you and your family, and then
Yeah, that's
we'll
Well,
reset from there.
I think before we get into the super chats, like before we go to the super chat questions, I just want to
Sure.
reiterate because you bring up a good point. Like, there's a reason that we haven't attacked any of the individual groypers, because I think a lot of these people flocked to this movement because they wanted something that was right wing, that was militant, and that was Christian. They wanted to see the things that we read about in the Bible. They wanted to see victories accomplished on earth for the kingdom of heaven. And with what everything that me and Jade have been talking about tonight, I want to make it abundantly clear: Nick is not accomplishing anything for the kingdom of heaven, nor will he ever in the capacity of doing what he's doing right now with America First. And if you care at all about the will of God and seeing the kingship of Christ actually realized on earth, it takes a lot more than just chanting Christ is king and then stabbing people in the back and going and snitching to the feds, etc. And so when you were considering whether or not you're going to fill out those work for hire forms, those NDAs, think about, I know this will sound gay, this will be played and made fun of, because Nick would always make fun of when I'd go on a Christian tangent, a religious tangent, or whatever. You think about truly, what would God want you to do? What would our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ want you to do? He wants you to sell your soul to somebody who would just as easily throw it away tomorrow? Or would he want you to live a good life, get married, find a woman, have actual joy, raise good children for, with the white race, we don't have very many children, as Nick's pointed out many times. It's either that or it's being a slave to this guy. Because if you've learned anything from me and Jaden tonight, Nick's going to go on his stream and say that he's had the hardest year. Everyone's betrayed him. Everyone's backstabbed him. But if a man is kicked out of 109 different friendship relationships, it's not about those people. Nick will take anyone who's close to him. People that will even suck up to him, even to this day. Like, I love, Beardson. I still don't want to say anything bad about him because I did, enjoy the friendship we once had. He'll take him and throw him under the bus when he's talking to me and Jaden. When he talks to me and someone else, he'll throw Jaden under the bus, and he's going to throw all of everybody who gets close to him under the bus in any context. Nobody is safe from Nick's fucking gay faggot wrath. Okay.
Amen, brother Simon.
Yeah.
Amen.
Hey, Simon,
well, an incredible righteous speech. I'm gonna go pee, and I'll be right back. All right.
It's so funny you say that.
It's
the exact same thing as Ralph, telling everyone, "Oh, everyone like backstabbed me this year."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure 29 people all like betrayed you for no reason, right?
Yeah.
You're the righteous one, buddy. You're the righteous one. I'm still collecting some of the questions here. Thank you everyone for the support. Holy fuck. The first question here from Al for 25. Thank you so much. Jaden, is Zimmerman still involved with Cozy in some way? And if so, how? And what about Rob Monster?
The Zimmerman thing, as far as I know, is just a big joke because he just hosts Epic hosting, right, Simon? I mean, you know better than I do.
So
he's not actually like.
No, Zimmerdev, right? Excuse me. So people would say Zimmerman is Zoomerdev. That's not true. Zoomerdev is totally different. Whatever. I see that on Kiwi Farms. Zimmerman was a guy who there was an SPLC article about that I was also included in, that were alleging that we were Zoomerdev. That's not true. Zimmerman had a small role, or he helped the construction of AF.Live in the early parts of the year, and then he kind of is doing his own thing at Epic. I don't think he's involved with America First in any capacity. And Rob Monster, he's the one who runs Epic, right? I don't think that he has any direct involvement with.
I think the reason people are curious about Rob Monster in particular is the last 7 to 8 months he's been going on a lot of public speaking tours talking about Web 3.0 and what he envisions. It's like a dot reality thing and VR. But one of the things he's really pushing hard, which lines up with what Nick is doing right now, is he said he absolutely loves drama and he absolutely loves shock jock radio. So when I saw Ralph kind of go onto that website, I thought that lines up really close with fucking what Monster's been talking about quite a bit for what he envisions as a new platform for video content.
Well, I don't think there, at least in my tenure at the organization until December 2021, there was no official reaching out to Rob Monster and collaboration there, as far as I'm aware. I mean, it does sound like something from what you're saying that he would enjoy, but I don't think there's anything official that's like a deal or anything like that that's been discussed.
Yeah, I just think that's where it's coming from, if I had to guess.
No, that's probably true.
All right, Metokur Masochist for 100, massive dono saying Metokur
go.
is literally how I found all of you guys. Jim, you have given me years of entertainment, and I hope you're able to give me many more years, man. That's just a nice one there for you, Jim.
Sure.
A Winston Fujimori, he was in my Discord, and we talked.
That was a groiper.
And he was, yeah, and he was my buddy, and he would always like hear both sides, but this is what he says. This stream is incredible. I have been wrong about AF for a long time and gave Nick and his people every last shred of doubt of belief that things would all work out, but this is the seal. This is the seal on this clusterfuck of a time bomb. I'm done with AF. No more. Winston Fujimori books
Sevens
it.
in chat.
There we go.
I remember talking to
Finally.
Winston about all this.
Yeah,
stuff, you know?
yeah. Oh, you had like a debate with him on our Discord, right? Yeah. Anonymous for 5. Jaden, what did Nick say about John Doyle behind the scenes? It's weird how he defended him despite him after felting Nick earlier.
He always was shit talking John. Not really a surprise. The second John is no longer useful, he'll get stabbed in the back as well. Yeah, the only reason he did that obviously is because he has to deal with me, and he's doing the whole APU thing. And if John is much bigger and more serious than me. I'm a fucking random game streamer. Like, John's an actual serious political person, and yeah, the second that's no longer useful, he wants nothing to do with him. He's not a big fan. I'll just say that.
All right. Big fat retard for 50. Thank you. Simon, since you were in the Discord, do you remember? Oh, you read this one about Nickaboo and
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Ashton brought it up. Anonymous for 15 saying, is Nick scared of someone like Curtis Yarvin, who is clearly smarter, more articulate, and able to break down complex political issues into layman's, and also has much better foresight? So is he?
He's scared of PPP. I don't know anything about that guy, but I mean, PPP has more political insight than Nick Fuentes. So, that's
a damning statement.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Holy fuck now.
We got Anonymous for 20. What happens to the people who bought AF merch from this lunatic? Will they be compromised as well, since Nick has most likely a federal, or he is most likely a federal informant? I heard the merch was delayed for a long while. ...
So I used to run the merch store for Nick. That was actually when I started working with him officially. We I took over the merch store in summer of 2019. So it's me personally, I don't have control over the merch store website anymore. I mean, for obvious reasons. So I don't know what Nick is doing with the data. I wouldn't trust him with it, frankly. But yes, when you order things on a merch website, there is, you put your address and all that stuff. And I don't know if Nick has a security team like clearing out the database of addresses and names, after a certain amount of time. And I recommend them to do that if they aren't doing that. They weren't doing that while I was there.
All right, we got Anonymous for 3.
I just gotta ask, do they talk about like the Kino casino privately a lot, or?
Yes. They are felted. They are 100% felted.
Oh, I have a question.
And it's funny because half of them watch it in secret and enjoy it. Like I told you, I've been watching this for months. And, secretly, I know some of them also watch and enjoy, but they just keep it on the down low. They don't say anything.
Oh,
it's like, yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah, I saw Wuzo was watching the stream. He watches all of our shows. I wanted to ask you, just from me, what is the plan? Say, trust the plan. What is the plan? Do you know?
Make Nick a lot of money and fuck over everyone in the meantime.
There you go.
Anonymous for 3. How much do you guys think Andrew Anglin influences Nick? Nick seems to have gone full incel around the same time that Andrew Anglin did. AA and NF seem to agree on anything and never criticize each other. Thoughts?
I'm always a big fan.
Yeah, I would say this about Andrew Anglin. I don't know if he's watching this right now, but I think Andrew Anglin is a great writer. I think that he's somebody that over the years, he did the brave thing in 2017. He had connections to the alt-right, and when he saw that they were like a fed honeypot, he made it as well known as possible to stay away from them. And I hugely respect that, and I appreciate him for doing that at the time. Like, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. Like, I was with Spencer, I was at Charlottesville, and Anglin, was somebody who was influential to me in being steered clear of a lot of that bad stuff that was happening at the time. I don't think him and Nick have like official contact or constantly talking. I honestly don't know. And I do hope that if Anglin sees the stream, he's somebody in my mind who's been like the most anti-doxing, anti-snitching to the feds type of person in the right wing. He was somebody who exposed a lot of that Fed snitching back then. I would hope that if he does have some form of relationship with Nick, that he does start to distance himself and asks his readers to kind of distance themselves from something that is this dangerous. So.
All right. Thank you for that. Anonymous for 20. Can we help Simon at all? What a whirlwind of a story of him being your best man and godfather to your child, then treating you like shit. I'm so sorry. Bless you, man. But how can we help?
Hey, I really appreciate that. I will I shut down all my social media accounts a while ago, but I will open one up in the background here on the stream, and I'll post information there on how people can help. But the best thing that you can do is to pray, pray for us, and also pray for the people who are trapped in that hellhole right now of an internship. So but I greatly appreciate it. God bless.
Hell yeah, man. Anonymous for 3. What if Nick's whole movement is just to get more Mexican cock? That's all that says there. I thought I'd add that in. From Black Santa, saying, I was completely unaware of this drama up to a month ago, and now I'm binging this drama. Doesn't it seem like genuine mental illness on Nick's part to any of you?
Yes. Again,
Yes.
2 Telegram posts. 2 Telegram posts. Nothing nasty at all was said, and he goes to literally. I say nothing. He goes to dox my donor and people close to me. So here we are. 2 Telegram. 2 few sentences, and we got a whole week of spurging.
Actually, it is kind of interesting because most men develop mental health issues like schizophrenia and stuff like that in their 20s. Just saying, Nick, you're kind of getting a little off kilter with some of the weird shit we're hearing here.
Yeah, if this whole AF thing doesn't work out, I might be actually concerned about him like hunting me down and trying to kill me or something.
Or your bodily fluids. Yeah.
Well, who knows?
And last one for you guys. It's just a statement. Poo Poo King for 20 for 20.
Yo!
He says, Jaden, you lost, nigga.
No! I know who that is. Damn, that sucks. Whatever. I know him and Nick are close. So
Yeah.
Sucks,
We threw $20, so he's on the list now.
Hey, that's a way better message than anything my all my close friends Beardson and Baked and crew are saying about me. So
Yeah.
fair enough.
We have a couple of add-ons here at the end. Porcelain, what's up, buddy? For 20, how do shirtless tickle parties help with the culture war?
Great question.
I think it's the reference to the famous Dave Riley question. How does
Yeah.
help us from the culture war? Yeah, they don't. They don't.
Kino E says, imagine trusting the plan after the stream. Here we go. Chris Storian X for 10. Simon and Jaden, between Telegram's connection to Cozy and Cozy itself, what data is being collected on any viewers or members of the site, and what does Nick have direct access to?
That's your question. I have no idea.
So when it came to his subscription platform and his merch platform, any payment details, those are possibly saved. Again, if you provided any shipping addresses and names with those shipping addresses, those are saved.
Is he doing merch's drop shipping, or is he going through a third party that handles it all?
So we did drop shipping with a third party. I won't dox the third party
fine.
here, but yeah. It was like a print on demand thing. So when somebody placed an order, so on and so forth. And for the hats and the flags, those were something where I had to kind of like help us actually package those up and send those out to people because those were like batch ordered.
Okay.
As far as Cozy TV, like IP addresses, any website that you connect to collects IP data. I don't know if they do it any differently over there. I would hope that they have security measures to where that information is wiped and anonymized, but I wasn't on that side of things.
The answer is allegedly they collect literally everything they possibly can. Allegedly.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
For legal reasons. Allegedly.
Uh,
I don't know.
A bro moment for 10. I have a question to ask. Nick always dodges and plays the question off, but is Nick actually homosexual, or do you believe he is? No.
Well, that's a long silence,
Well,
boys.
you know,
That's a
I
long
don't know.
silence.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
I haven't seen. There's been some things I've questioned, but there's no confirmation from me.
I
Any
think
surrounding
next
no
week's
confirmation.
next week's stream, we'll get into the confirmation. I
We'll
think.
get
Nothing
Once
but
Nick
dead
has
silence,
it-
and the eyes are wandering
Yeah.
everywhere. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you guys with the super chat, because people in the regular chat were talking about Waukesha. What did you guys think about Nick, saying the little white girls deserved it because they would have burned the coal?
Yeah, obviously that was fucked up. I don't know how. I don't know what his exact statement was on, because I remember the tweet, but I remember that people who were calling that out, he was calling simps. So.
Yeah. Well, look, Nick's gotten to a point like anything referencing like murdering women, even if they're children, is like funny, I guess, because they'll be whores. The person who made the tweet, I think I remember him somewhere saying that it was actually ironic and he was kind of baiting people. So I guess Nick fell for the bait. I have no idea though.
Yeah, because I heard that live stream. I mean, it wasn't just the tweet. It was he went on to like an hour-long live stream where he's arguing with people from Twitter, saying that like you don't get it. It's fucking based.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
bowling for kids and parades is based.
It's like like Jaden was saying earlier, it's like a contrarian thing. If the popular opinion is something that's sensible and reasonable, he's going to take the route that makes the least sense because it will piss people off. It's just, I think stuff like that is just being edgy to be edgy. But yeah, it's again serious political movement. You call yourself Hitler, white girls getting rant, like things are universally disliked on the right. Oh, actually, they're based.
Just two more questions here. Spring of Life for 20 saying, Jaden, I will drop $100 to your power chat right now if you apologize to Patrick Casey.
Oh, I've already talked to him behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, obviously, I'll put it out there. I know people were like questioning me in chat and whatnot. Like at the time, I 100% was behind Nick. I was the one pushing for AFAC too. So when he's talking about loyalty, I had his back more than anybody. But when it comes out, the no fly list thing happened, and the bank account freeze happened. I mean, that is true. Both of those things were true. He warned them of that. So, I mean, I know that that's like suicide because everyone's like, he's the biggest traitor. I mean, now I guess I'm the biggest traitor according to these groypers. But he was looking out for people's best interests, and he definitely got shafted in that. And honestly, it's shitty that I even contributed to that, because like him and I didn't get along personally, so it wasn't like I was like, oh, this sucks. And I was a part of that. So it's
all right.
I don't know. You live and learn. You grow up.
Yeah.
I've talked to him and told him as much, but
now publicly too. So Spring of Life, send him $100 right now. Go ahead.
And real quick on Patrick, I think this is important to bring up as far as his character versus Nick's. Like I had disagreements about the way he, reacted when he was pushed into that corner. I think it was wrong that they did that to him, but I think that maybe the way he handled it wasn't the best, and I'm sure he would agree with that. But I'll say this about Patrick. At AFPAC 1, there was a situation where there was a there was a girl, I know, right? There was a girl at AFPAC 1, but there was a girl who was being seriously sexually abused, and I'm not gonna talk about her identity or whatever. And I found out about this, she kind of admitted to my wife what was really going on, and I could tell that there was something serious there.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but abused by who?
Another groyper who I hope and I think is no longer a part of the movement. But I don't want to call attention to any event.
That's fine. That's kind of a heavy bomb to drop. All right. Yep.
Yeah. And at the time, like I was torn up about it. It was really heartbreaking to hear about, and some other good people, also, actual like Catholic people heard about this and were like disgusted. I remember one of them was like, yeah, next time I see this guy, I'm going to fucking kill him for what he did, which is not a threat, but, and, Patrick kind of wanted to know what was going on, and I told him about this whole thing, and he took it very, very seriously. And he kind of was like, you know what, like, please let me know what you're doing to help her, you know. And me and a couple of other Groypers organized to help her get out of that situation, you know, give her a way out, get her to a safe place to stay for a couple of months, etc. And Patrick was, you know, checking up on it the whole time, saying, you know, like, hey, if I can help in any way, like, let me know, at the event and afterwards, following up, you know, seeing if she was okay. I mentioned this thing to Nick and the other guys like later, and it was like, is you really going to believe this girl? You're really going to believe it? You know, she's a little crazy. Am I right? Doesn't she kind of come off like a little bit of a schizophrenic?
He did the shit when I debated him, when we were talking about Ralph and the Alice allegations. And then he's like, oh, you believe all women? You believe all women? And then he's like, he told me that rape should be a private matter between the rapist and the victim.
Well, you know,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was a very disappointing thing at the time. I just kind of wrote it off as like Nick being a little bit immature and like edgy. But I will say, like, Patrick was somebody who was like legitimately trying to look out for this girl's best interest.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to be called a simp, but
and seeing kind of experiencing the whole crew, all the people you think are your friends for years, turn on you and like try to push you out and like publicly, oh, I love the guy. Like I definitely feel for him, and I contributed to that, and I could see where I was wrong. And you know, Patrick, I've like I said, I've talked to him already, but yeah, that's that. If it wasn't for him with that whole situation, I probably wouldn't be here. Patrick walks so the rest of us could run the fuck away from America first.
And
07s for Patrick.
07s for Patrick.
07s.
And last one, and I think this is a beautiful final question. It's poetry here. Who from Mycroft? Who won the Groyper War?
Well,
I did.
Kino,
not me. I lost the Groyper War. I lost the Groyper War. We could have been sitting cozy, you know, with I don't know, Charlie Kirk or whatever, and here we are. Here we fucking are. So
yeah.
The real loser's me. I'm the loser.
Nah, dude. Man, I think you cut your story out well. You dropped some massive bombshells. I hope this woke up a lot of people. Everyone go sub to Jaden, man. Like, go sub to him and support him there.
I appreciate it.
And we'll stream some more times and shit in the future and stuff. Cause
for sure.
It was fun,
down.
dude. It was fun.
Hit me up whenever.
Yeah,
I appreciate you guys having
and Simon, you too, man.
Yeah, well, no, Simon said he was going to set up a social media thing if people wanted to reach out.
So I have that here. Thank you, Jim, by the way. It is on Telegram. It is t.me/Simon Dickerman. I'm going to drop that link to you guys in the chat here.
DICKERMAN.
Yes. SIMONDICKERMAN. No, I appreciate that. And I did want to say before I go, you know, Jim, I've actually been watching your shows since 2014. So it's kind of funny. You were actually the first right-wing content creator I ever saw. So it kind of comes full circle here.
Full circle, yeah. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Actually, Z for 50, thank you so much, saying send money to Simon on Cash App, and he puts your Cash App. Is it cool if I say it?
Sure.
It's money sign Simon Dickerman, the exact same thing. So if you do want to help him out after this fucking all the craziness we've just heard, on Cash App, money sign Simon Dickerman. What a stream! I mean, we're still gonna be sticking around and reading more super chats and watching some more clips, but gentlemen.
Hey, thank you guys for having me on. Thank you for giving me a platform to tell my side. Because again, he keeps slandering me, Spurg out. If you ask any Groyper what I did, I mean, I guess I got a girlfriend or something. I don't know. Hopefully I was able to kind of tell my side of things. People can kind of see where I'm coming from here, because it wasn't just out of the clear blue sky like he's been pretending. And he's going to probably come back with more.
I'd say it was a mistake what he did this week.
I mean, I tried multiple times to reach out to him. I've tried to handle it. Even before I put out that Telegram post, I texted him and said, like, can we talk like adults? And he's like, oh, maybe I'll get back to you on Monday. And it's like, okay, well then, like, fuck you. I'm out. I want nothing to do with this. I'm moving. I'm done. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank you
guys hearing me out. Thank you, chat. Thanks,
if
hey,
Nick
Jim.
if
Appreciate
Nick never
it.
went to the feds or said he was going to went to the feds, I wouldn't be on this show myself. So
Well,
you fucking
welcome.
played
you
yourself.
know.
Yeah, thank you guys
Appreciate
so
you.
much.
House always
Thank you,
wins.
Jim.
See you guys
Thank Andy.
later.
Thank
Hell
you.
House
yeah.
always
Bye-bye.
wins, bro.
God bless you
Appreciate you,
guys.
boys.
House
Bye.
always.
Thanks, gentlemen.
God bless.
All right, guys. Well, that was fucking wild. Thanks for having me on for this.
Yo, thanks,
no,
man. You asked
I really
awesome
appreciate
question.
you, Jim. You kept shit really focused, you know, and you were on point tonight, Jim. So I really appreciate what you did for us tonight.
You were excellent, man. You were excellent.
This was fucking phenomenal. This was really phenomenal, and you guys are gonna get flooded with people that want to talk. So I look forward to watching 800 streams in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Through the entire employment.
You'll get a lot of content, Jim. We really appreciate you coming on because it wouldn't have been the same without you. Same
Definitely.
viewership, same questions. You did a great job.
Hell yeah,
Appreciate
bud. Yeah, thanks.
All right. Well, you guys enjoy reading super chats now for the next 5 hours.
Well, you're going to be doing it tomorrow, aren't you? You're still. Are you still streaming tomorrow, or are you pushing it back a day?
There's so much fucking shit to condense. I thought, okay, there's no way this can get more retarded, right? Like I can finally play catch up and do Acer Thorn, and everything's gonna be okay. And like Ralph is, it's just Ralph himself is a fucking vortex, and now Nick come hunting. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna have to look at how I'm gonna put this together. Can somebody, my last thing before I leave here, please, for the love of God, if you're an animator or an artist, please draw me a picture of Nick Fuentes hunting cum.
Yeah, there's a lot of memes already. I've seen it. I've seen a lot. There's like 100 memes of him fucking.
I need those pictures and the naked tickle fights too. I just want Nick Fuentes being a faggot everywhere you can put him because these stories were just great.
He watches you. He binge watched Euphoria and forced Jaden to watch it. And there's dicks.
Oh my God.
I love
it.
I love that it felt like poor Jaden is living in the basement. It's like Nick is trying everything to be seductive, like taking 2-hour showers with the door probably wide open, prancing around on all fours, cum hunting. And Jaden's probably like, get me the fuck out of here. I like girls, leave me alone. What the hell's the matter with you? All right, guys, take it easy.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Yeah, peace, dude.